Congratulations to the host, Zhou Yuchen, for mastering Xingyi Quan at a master level, rewarded with 5 attribute points and a chance to draw a lottery. In a park in Sioux City, Zhou Yuchen, who was practicing the Xingyi Santi, was suddenly greeted by a long-lost voice. His muscles trembled, his bones itched, and his vital energy surged within him like a roaring river, a clear sign of his martial prowess blossoming. Zhou Yuchen was overwhelmed with excitement. 4 years. It had been 4 years since he crossed over from Earth to this parallel world, finally taking the first step out of the all-encompassing cultivation system. In his previous life, Zhou Yuchen was an exceptional programmer, serving as a project lead at a major gaming company. At the age of 35, he faced a company layoff, believing he would be exempt. However, due to his high salary, he was the first to be dismissed. After leaving the gaming company, Zhou Yuchen chose to embark on an entrepreneurial journey. He teamed up with several skilled friends to establish a new gaming company. After 5 years, they produced a large-scale life simulation game, the all-encompassing cultivation game, which achieved tremendous success in the market. Zhou Yuchen skyrocketed to prominence in the gaming industry, becoming a billionaire. Unfortunately, the extravagant lifestyle lasted only 2 years before his irregular living habits led to liver cancer, which was diagnosed at an advanced stage. In despair, Zhou Yuchen drank excessively at a bar, only to drown on his way home. Upon awakening, he found himself reborn as a young man in the Xiagua of Blue Star. This young man also bore the name Zhou Yuchen and was the top scorer in the college entrance examination in Xinjiang province. Rather than choosing prestigious universities like Huaqing or Yanda and Yindu, he opted for Yinhai University, which was conveniently closer to home. In his second year, to save his girlfriend Su Xiaoya, he ended up fighting a wealthy classmate, resulting in a minor injury as assessed by the hospital. What Zhou Yuchen did not anticipate was that Su Xiaoya would claim at the police station that her encounter with the rich heir was merely a playful dispute and that she had not been violated. This testimony plunged Zhou Yuchen into a bottomless abyss. He was expelled from Yunhai University and imprisoned for a year on charges of intentional injury. Due to good behavior, he was released 2 months early. From a favored son of heaven to a criminal, Zhou Yuchen felt too ashamed to face his family and took a job as a hotel attendant in Sioux City, just 100 kilometers from Yunhai City. In a tragic turn of events, he drowned while trying to save a young girl, and his soul was claimed by the Zhou Yuchen of Earth. Upon awakening, he was astonished to discover that the all-encompassing cultivation system he had created had followed him to this new world. Upon activation, the system presented him with a choice of skills. Given his tragic past, Zhou Yuchen unhesitatingly chose the martial art of Xingyi Quan. He believed that physical prowess was the foundation of any endeavor. Thus, it was imperative to first cultivate his body to avoid the fate of dying before the journey begins. However, not long after, Zhou Yuchen found himself regretting his choice immensely. The all-encompassing cultivation system had a stipulation. One must master a skill to a grandmaster level before being allowed to switch to another. Martial arts, unlike ordinary skills, required not only extensive knowledge, but also practical application. Even with the system's assistance, Zhou Yuchen found mastering Xingyi Quan 10 times easier than others, yet it still took him 4 years to reach the level of mastery. Finally, he had persevered through the clouds to see the moonlight. Player, Zhou Yuchen. Physique, 14, average person 10. Spirit, 10, average person 10. Attribute points, 5. Skill, Xingyi Quan, master level 1.2. Item, reward scroll. Gazing at the attribute panel before him, Zhou Yuchen took several deep breaths to calm his excitement before commencing the lottery draw. According to Zhou Yuchen's design from his previous life, skills were categorized into 4 levels: novice, proficient, master, and grandmaster. Aside from a novice level, achieving any of the other 3 levels granted players attribute point rewards and a chance to draw a lottery. When he reached the proficient level in Xingyi Quan, Zhou Yuchen's luck was exceptional, enabling him to draw a reward scroll that granted him 8 attribute points. He allocated all 8 attribute points to his physique. This was the reason he was able to master Xingyi Quan in merely 4 years. As Zhou Yuchen concentrated, a magnificent golden wheel appeared before him, spinning rapidly. Stop! The golden wheel came to a halt, and a beam of light flashed, revealing a scroll in Zhou Yuchen's item panel. A true scroll, 3 items. But in the game, the true scroll allowed players to verify the authenticity of an item, akin to the legendary fire-eyed golden vision. In other words, this reward could assist Zhou Yuchen in assessing the authenticity of 3 items. How splendid! It was as if his thoughts had manifested into reality. Zhou Yuchen couldn't help but feel a surge of joy. Today marked the second day of a temple fair in Sioux City's Antique Street, where yesterday he had spotted a large ceramic jar at a stall, believing it might have originated from the Song Dynasty's Ru kiln. However, the vendor was asking for $520,000, while Zhou Yuchen had only saved up $400,000 and, being only slightly knowledgeable about antiques, could not confidently assert the jar's provenance, leading him to forego the purchase. Now, armed with the true scroll, Zhou Yuchen could definitively ascertain the jar's authenticity. If it truly was from the Ru kiln, he would go to great lengths, even borrowing money, to acquire this treasure. That on his way home, Zhou Yuchen picked up breakfast. His residence was a somewhat dilapidated complex named Daequi Community, conveniently located just about 5 kilometers from the city center. He rented an apartment on the 6th floor of Building No. 2, which had an attic totaling approximately 120 square meters, with an annual rent of 28,000 yuan. The reason for renting such a place was to create a study in the attic. Zhou Yuchen knew all too well that with the all-encompassing cultivation system at his disposal, a bright future awaited him. However, to achieve the utmost success, he had to work harder than in his previous life. Over the past 4 years, Zhou Yuchen had read countless books across various fields, including finance, management, computer science, telecommunications, radio, semiconductors, and artificial intelligence. The goal was to ensure that once he mastered Xingyi Quan, he would fully activate the all-encompassing cultivation system and expedite the time required to reach mastery in his other skills. The more he learned, the higher his starting point would be, making the path to mastery smoother. Now, his bookshelf boasted over 300 books. Whether it is due to the blessings of his original self or the complete fusion of the two souls that has enhanced his mental acuity, Zhou Yuchen has inexplicably acquired the remarkable ability of photographic memory. If not for the profound complexity of many texts, which necessitate listening to instructional videos online, Zhou Yuchen's extraordinary speed in perusing these works could potentially increase the volume of his reading by 3 to 4 times. After completing his morning routine of breakfast, bathing, and dressing, Zhou Yuchen took his bank card and set forth on his beloved electric scooter towards the Antique Street. At the onset of May, the weather in Suzhou was pleasantly mild, with a gentle breeze caressing the face. Upon Zhou Yuchen's arrival at the Antique Street, a bustling crowd had already gathered. Stalls lined both sides of the lengthy street, stretching over 400 meters, showcasing an array of trinkets, each more captivating than the last. Zhou Yuchen secured his electric bike and eagerly approached the stall he had visited the previous day. Soon, he laid eyes once more on the coveted Ru kiln jar. The proprietor, a middle-aged man in his 40s with sun-kissed skin, appeared rather unassuming. His memory was impressive. After sizing up Zhou Yuchen, he remarked, "Young man, you seem to have visited my stall yesterday afternoon, am I correct?" Zhou Yuchen nodded, his gaze fixated on the jar as he replied, "Indeed." The owner took a puff from his cigarette and, with a jovial demeanor, inquired, "So, are you interested in this Ru kiln jar?" Zhou Yuchen disregarded the question and activated a genuine scroll, revealing several lines of text before him. Item: Imitation Ru kiln jar era. 1993 value. 520 yuan. Disappointment washed over Zhou Yuchen. Yet he maintained an impassive expression, stating, "The item is indeed exquisite, but regrettably, it is beyond my means." At that moment, a striking woman in her 30s approached, saying, "Hey there, handsome. Are you also intrigued by this jar?" Zhou Yuchen rose, nodded, and replied, "Yes, what a coincidence." The beautiful woman clapped her hands in delight, exclaiming, "I adore this jar too. However, this owner is asking too much. I can only offer 300,000 at most. Young man, do you have 220,000? Let us purchase it together, shall we?" Zhou Yuchen cast a glance at the alluring woman and then at the smoking proprietor, his suspicions aroused. He replied, I cannot even muster 10,000. Let alone 220. With that, he turned to leave. The woman seized his wrist, urging, "Don't go, let us negotiate further." Zhou Yuchen's arm quivered, shaking off her grasp, and he fixed a piercing gaze upon her. The intensity of his stare caused her to take a few steps back, her head turning away in trepidation. Zhou Yuchen coolly stated, "I have no taste for theatrics, nor do I enjoy playing a role. Can I take my leave now?" The proprietor promptly replied, "Of course." Zhou Yuchen nodded at him and strode away. "Brother, that young man's eyes are quite fearsome," the woman remarked once Zhou Yuchen had departed. She sighed with relief, having feared that Chuan Haoyu might harm her in front of the crowd. The proprietor's expression turned grave as he noted, "If I am not mistaken, this young man possesses formidable skills. We best not provoke him." The woman agreed, saying, "It seems he realized we were attempting to deceive him." The proprietor sighed, offering a wry smile. A poor start indeed. Unbeknownst to them, Zhou Yuqin also felt the weight of a disheartening beginning. He had discerned the woman's ruse, aimed at swindling him out of money. Once they acquired the jar together, they could easily enlist an expert to declare it a counterfeit, rendering Zhou Yuqin's 220,000 a lost cause. Nevertheless, Zhou Yuqin was not overly concerned with their tactics. What truly irked him was that had the woman appeared earlier, he would not have had to expend a precious genuine scroll. Now he was left with only 2 opportunities, a significant loss. After perusing the antique street, Zhou Yuqin entered a small jadeite rough stone market located in the southeast corner. There were over 20 stalls, each displaying rough stones of various sizes and shapes. Many individuals crouched on the ground, scrutinizing the stones with flashlights. Zhou Yuqin, now a wealthy man, had acquired some knowledge about antiques, but he was entirely unfamiliar with gambling on stones. Approaching the most crowded stall, he glanced at the prices of the rough stones. To his astonishment, regardless of size, all of them were priced above 100,000. The most expensive was a roughly football-sized stone with a fissure revealing a hint of green, priced at an astounding 12 million. Despite this, several men engaged in animated discussions about it. Zhou Yuqin scanned the area and focused on 4 stones priced between 350,000 and 400,000. His choice of this price range stemmed from 2 reasons. First, his bank card contained exactly 400,000, which he could afford. Second, while he lacked expertise in rough stones, he understood that the pricier the stone, the higher the likelihood of jadeite within. With the genuine scroll in hand, if he discovered there was no jadeite, he could simply walk away without incurring any loss. After examining the stones twice, Zhou Yuqin directed a genuine scroll at the largest of the 4. Item, jadeite rough stone source, Myanmar old pit value, between 2.3 million and 3 million. Zhou Yuqin felt a jolt of excitement and, suppressing his joy, pointed at the oval stone, exclaiming, "Owner, I'll take the 26th rough stone." The stall owner, a man in his 40s, approached immediately upon hearing Zhou Yuqin's call, saying, "Sir, the price for the 26th rough stone is 370,000. I have a POS machine for card payments." Zhou Yuqin produced his bank card, replying, "No problem." Shortly thereafter, he completed the purchase of the rough stone for 370,000. "Owner, you can cut the stone here, right?" "Of course. I charge no fee for customers who cut stones at my stall." "Then let us proceed with the cutting." "Excellent." The owner seemed delighted and grabbed a microphone, announcing, "Live cutting of the 26th rough stone." The crowd, upon hearing this, set aside their own stones and gathered around. For them, nothing was more thrilling than the prospect of stone cutting. The owner placed Zhou Yuqin's stone on the table and activated the cutting machine. With a sharp sound, the first cut was made, removing a small portion of the rough stone. The owner sprinkled water on the cut, revealing a glimmer of green within. "Wow, it's green!" exclaimed the crowd. However, the size of the jadeite remained uncertain. The second cut was critical. The owner's face lit up with anticipation. This was the first rough stone sold today. Regardless of the jadeite's size, its existence would serve as excellent publicity. Taking a deep breath, he made another cut, revealing an enchanting green hue that sparkled under the sunlight. "It's jadeite. The stakes have risen, and it's a significant increase. Incredible, it's ice-type imperial green. This young man is exceptionally lucky." The crowd displayed more excitement than Zhou Yuqin himself, casting envious glances in his direction. Zhou Yuqin let out a subtle sigh of relief, a radiant smile spreading across his face. 10 minutes later, a fist-sized piece of ice-type imperial green jadeite was unveiled by the proprietor. Accepting the stone, which radiated an alluring glow, Zhou Yuqin examined it and inquired, "Owner, how much do you think it's worth?" The owner was momentarily taken aback, responding, "Are you looking to sell it?" Zhou Yuqin nodded and said, "I will sell it as long as the price is reasonable." The boss extended 2 fingers and declared, "I can offer 2 million. A middle-aged man with a plump waist sneered, "Boss Wu, to think you would wish to acquire such exquisite ice-grade jade for merely 2 million is rather greedy, don't you think?" "Young man, I offer 220,000. This jade can yield 2 bracelets. I am willing to bid 240,000. I shall raise my offer to 245,000. I will go to 248,000. The back and forth continued, with bids escalating to 258,000. The system had set the price range between 230,000 and 280,000, and 258,000 was considered a high price. Observing that no further bids were forthcoming, Zhou Yuqin decisively sold the jade for 258,000, netting a profit of 221,000. The buyer was a young, handsome man in his 20s, presumably a wealthy heir. He merely made a phone call, provided Zhou Yuqin's bank account number, and within 5 minutes, Zhou Yuqin received a text from the bank. After putting away the sales agreement, Zhou Yuqin chose not to continue gambling on stones, as he deemed the real scroll far too important. It remained uncertain whether he would have the opportunity to acquire this reward again. Thus he resolved to preserve this final chance believing it might serve a greater purpose in the future. Just as he exited the antique street, Zhou Yuchen's phone rang. Upon checking, he saw it was a call from Wang Jie. Wang Jie was the owner of the Longwei Fitness Center, and their relationship could be described as both mentor and friend. The girl Zhou Yuchen had saved in the water was Wang Jie's daughter, Wang Xiaoxiao. After Zhou Yuchen regained consciousness, Wang Jie invited him to join the Longwei Fitness Center, offering an exceptionally high salary of 12,000 a month. His choice to practice Xingyiquan was also influenced by Wang Jie, who was a master of the art. Zhou Yuchen had learned a great deal from him. Of course, Wang Jie was no longer Zhou Yuchen's equal, yet Zhou Yuchen continued to hold profound gratitude and respect for him. Jie Gu, what brings you to call? Zhou Yuchen inquired. Yuchen, in half an hour, Fei Gu is coming to our fitness center to practice boxing and has specifically requested you as his sparring partner. All right, I'll be there shortly. The Fei Gu referred to by Wang Jie was Wu Xiongfeng, who ostensibly owned a transportation company but was, in reality, a powerful underground gang leader in Sioux City, commanding at least 40 to 50 subordinates. Wu Xiongfeng was a regular at the Longwei Fitness Center and had once engaged Zhou Yuchen in a match after witnessing his Xingyiquan. Zhou Yuchen had adopted a defensive stance, using his superior strength and speed to withstand Wu Xiongfeng's relentless attacks for an impressive 5 minutes. Since that day, Zhou Yuchen had become Wu Xiongfeng's dedicated sparring partner, receiving a generous 2,000 yuan tip for each session. Mounting his electric scooter, Zhou Yuchen navigated through bustling streets until he arrived at the Longwei Fitness Center. Located on the 16th floor of the Longwei Business Building, the center was expansive, featuring a gym, martial arts hall, boxing ring, swimming pool, and yoga studio. Equipped with a full array of fitness apparatuses, attracting countless young men and women. The membership alone boasted over 1,000 individuals. Upon entering the martial arts hall, Zhou Yuchen spotted Wang Jie conversing with Wu Xiongfeng. Wang Jie, 35 years old, possessed a robust physique and rugged features, with a straightforward personality. He was the son of the renowned Xingyiquan master, Wang Rongdong. Initially, Wang Rongdong had established a boxing studio, but his interest dwindled among young learners. The tuition fees failed to cover the rent. Disheartened, he entrusted the management of the studio to Wang Jie. Wang Jie, astute and perceptive, conducted thorough research and opted to establish a fitness center, leasing the entire 16th floor of the Longwei Business Building. Consequently, the Longwei Fitness Center rapidly ascended to become the premier establishment in Sioux City, and Wang Jie reaped substantial profits. Beside him, Wu Xiongfeng, 2 years Wang Jie's senior, bore a piercing gaze and an imposing presence. He had trained under Wang Rongdong, albeit without formal apprenticeship, and considered himself a disciple, maintaining a strong relationship with Wang Jie. In the early days of the Longwei Fitness Center, Wang Jie had even borrowed money from him. Alongside the two men were 3 of Wu Xiongfeng's subordinates and several martial arts instructors. Jie Gu, Fei Gu, my apologies for keeping you waiting. Zhou Yuchen approached with a smile. Wu Xiongfeng rose and said, enough with the small talk. Hurry and change into your gear. I am itching to throw some punches. Zhou Yuchen nodded. Give me 5 minutes. 5 minutes later, clad in a white training outfit, helmet, and boxing gloves, Zhou Yuchen ascended to the ring. Wu Xiongfeng had been waiting, announcing, are you ready? Zhou Yuchen lowered his stance. Let us begin. Huh. Wu Xiongfeng shouted, swiftly advancing towards Zhou Yuchen, delivering a powerful punch aimed at his chest. The sound of the punch whistled through the air, immense in force. The audience erupted in applause. Wu Xiongfeng's martial arts repertoire was diverse. Alongside Xingyiquan, he practiced Hunggar, Taekwondo, and Sanda, excelling particularly in Muay Thai. His prowess allowed him to dominate in Sioux City. However, his adversary had undergone significant transformation. Zhou Yuchen, now a master, possessed strength, speed, and reflexes that had multiplied 2- or 3-fold compared to before. While Wu Xiongfeng's speed appeared astonishing to others, it seemed remarkably slow to Zhou Yuchen. In a true life-or-death scenario, Zhou Yuchen was confident he could easily overpower him. With a resounding thud, Zhou Yuchen's punch met Wu Xiongfeng's fist. Wu Xiongfeng then swept his leg towards Zhou Yuchen's waist. Zhou Yuchen evaded the strike and retaliated with a punch. The two engaged in a fierce exchange, the audience cheering continuously. After nearly 10 minutes of intense sparring, Wu Xiongfeng, drenched in sweat and exhausted, declared, I can't continue. Zhou Yuchen smiled slightly, offering a bottle of mineral water to Wu Xiongfeng. Fei Gu, are you all right? Wu Xiongfeng accepted the water, gazing at Zhou Yuchen, who showed no signs of fatigue, and remarked, I feel as though you've improved significantly since our last bout. Honestly, how much effort did you exert? Zhou Yuchen replied without hesitation, of course, I went all out. Nonsense, Wu Xiongfeng retorted, taking a sip from the bottle. Do you think I'm a fool? No matter how fast or powerful my punches are, you can effortlessly block them. If you were unaware of the vast disparity in our skills, That would be quite peculiar. Zhou Yuchen countered. Fei Ge, does it truly matter whether I used my full strength? Wu Xiongfeng responded earnestly, it certainly does. Zhou Yuchen shrugged. Well, to be honest, I'm not even certain how much effort I exerted. Wu Xiongfeng raised an eyebrow. This is simple. Since we are still in our protective gear, let us have a match where you give it your all. Zhou Yuchen wore a perplexed expression. Are you sure you want me to go all out? Wu Xiongfeng impatiently urged. Enough with the chatter, let us get on with it. Zhou Yuchen replied. Then you'd best be cautious. Soon, they both positioned themselves, facing each other. Wu Xiongfeng intoned gravely, begin. No sooner had he finished speaking than a figure swiftly flashed past. Wu Xiongfei was momentarily dazzled. A gust of wind swept past, and Zhou Yuchen's fist halted mere centimeters from his face. Wow, that is fast. The crowd gasped in astonishment. The two were nearly 7 meters apart, yet Zhou Yuchen seemed to appear in an instant, akin to a mythical tale of instantaneous travel, showcasing the sheer magnitude of his explosive power. As Zhou Yuchen retracted his fist, Wu Xiongfei, still in a daze, managed a wry smile and remarked, Brother, did you feel particularly constrained when we sparred before? Zhou Yuchen chuckled, Not at all. I only recently made a breakthrough in my Xingyi Quan. Wang Jie, from the sidelines, felt a stir of intrigue and asked, Yuchen, have you reached the legendary level of Huajin? Zhou Yuchen nodded, it seems so. Wang Jie praised. In just 4 short years, you have transformed from a novice into a master of Xingyi. It's truly astounding. Zhou Yuchen humbly replied, it's merely luck. After descending from the ring, Wang Jie led Wu Xiongfei and Zhou Yuchen to his office for tea. Wu Xiongfei clapped Zhou Yuchen on the shoulder and proposed, Brother, come work for my transport company. I'll offer you a monthly salary of 100,000 plus 10% equity. Zhou Yuchen sipped his tea and responded, Feech. I'm sorry, but I plan to start my own venture. Before Wu Xiongfei could respond, Wang Jie's expression shifted. You intend to leave? Zhou Yuchen affirmed, Jie Ge, I'm only 25 this year. If I don't venture out, I would feel quite unfulfilled. Wang Jie inquired about his destination, to which Zhou Yuchen's eyes gleamed as he solemnly declared, Yinhai City. 5 years ago, I fell there. 5 years later, I must rise from that place. Wang Jie nodded. I always knew you were not meant to remain stagnant. I merely expected your departure to come much later. Having spent 3 to 4 years together, Wang Jie was intimately familiar with Zhou Yuchen's character. The extensive collection of books in Zhou Yuchen's possession alone revealed ambitions far grander than Wang Jie had anticipated. Thus, when Zhou Yuchen chose to pursue entrepreneurship, Wang Jie was not taken aback. Wu Xiongfei interjected, Brother, starting a business requires capital. I can lend you 2 million to start. Zhou Yuchen was pleasantly surprised by Wu Xiongfei's generosity, feeling warmth in his heart as he replied, Thank you, Feech. I won't hesitate to repay you in the future if necessary. At this juncture, Zhou Yuchen paused and added, Feech. The future undoubtedly belongs to the era of intelligent internet. Continuing with the old ways of conflict and violence will surely be untenable. It would be wise for you to plan ahead. Wu Xiongfei sighed. It's not that I wish to step back, but rather that I cannot. Perhaps this is what they mean when they say one is trapped in the world of Jianghu. Since ancient times, there has always been light and darkness, righteousness and evil. Unlike the past, in today's world where surveillance is ubiquitous, the leaders of the underworld conceal themselves even more deeply. Take Wu Xiongfei, for example. It is well known that he commands a group of truck drivers, and in the pursuit of transport routes and business, he has clashed with other companies countless times, with fatalities not being unheard of. Yet, the police have been unable to find any incriminating evidence against him. In this regard, Wu Xiongfei is one of the few upright figures in the underworld, which is why Zhou Yuchen chose to befriend him. When I succeed, I will ensure you exit the Jianghu safely, Zhou Yuchen promised earnestly. I will await that day. Wu Xiongfei laughed heartily, though he did not take Zhou Yuchen's words too seriously. Just as the three were engaged in conversation over tea, Zhou Yuchen's phone rang unexpectedly. Upon checking, he saw it was an unfamiliar number. Hello, I am Zhou Yuchen. Who is this? My name is Xin Jingyun. The voice on the other end was melodious, clear, yet tinged with urgency. Xin Jingyun? I don't recall knowing anyone by that name. Do we know each other? Not personally, but we have a daughter named Yeya. She was hit by a car today and urgently needs a blood transfusion. Her blood type is a rare panda blood, which she seems to have inherited from you. I have no choice but to ask you to come to Yunhai First People's Hospital. Zhou Yuchen couldn't help but chuckle. Miss Shun, while it's true I have panda blood, it seems that direct relatives cannot transfuse blood among themselves. Also, can you come up with a more plausible story? We don't even know each other. How could we have a daughter? Before Xin Jingyun could respond, Zhou Yuchen abruptly hung up. Wang Jie shook his head, laughing. Scammers these days are terribly unprofessional. Their fabrications have too many holes. Indeed, just as he spoke, Zhou Yuchen's phone rang again. She is quite persistent, Zhou Yuchen said. Picking up the phone and answering tersely, "Ms. Shun, as a young woman, you should take better care of yourself." Shun Jingyun replied, "For years ago, you were a waiter at the Tianhai Hotel in Sioux City. I was schemed against, and you helped me." Zhou Yuchen's expression shifted. A beautiful face flashed through his mind, and he sprang to his feet. "Are you saying that after that night, you became pregnant?" For years ago, Zhou Yuchen had just crossed over into the body of his predecessor, who had drowned while attempting to save someone. He intended to start working at Wang Jia's dragon agent at Zhongxin immediately, but spent a week as a waiter at the Tianhai Hotel to receive that month's salary. During that time, he had rescued a drugged beauty, and when he awoke, she had vanished. He assumed it was merely an unforgettable encounter, unaware that she would now seek him out, claiming they had a daughter. "Yes, Zhou Yuchen. I implore you to come to Yunhai First People's Hospital to save little Yaya. Although transfusing blood between direct relatives is perilous, there is still a significant success rate. I have no other options left." Zhou Yuchen, with a grave tone, replied, "Say no more, I will come at once." After hanging up, Zhou Yuchen looked at Wang Jia, who stood up without hesitation. "I'll go with you. Let us go." He and Zhou Yuchen shared the same rare blood type, panda blood. 2 years prior, Wang Jia had been attacked by a rival and suffered 6 stab wounds, and it was Zhou Yuchen who had saved him by donating 1,000 milliliters of blood. If Zhou Yuchen truly had a daughter with the same blood type, Wang Jia would be the most suitable donor. In a race against time, Zhou Yuchen and Wang Jia bid farewell to Wu Xiongfei and hurried towards Yunhai First People's Hospital. An hour later, a Mercedes SUV pulled into the hospital parking lot. Zhou Yuchen and Wang Jia exited the vehicle and sprinted toward the surgical room on the 3rd floor of Building 1, following the location provided by Shin Jingyun. Outside the operating room, a stunningly beautiful woman, with a score of 98 or above in looks, was pacing the hallway. Her eyes, slightly swollen, frequently darted towards the operating room door. Beside her sat a composed middle-aged woman, equally anxious. The young beauty was none other than Shin Jingyun, the caller, while the middle-aged woman was her mother, Daiwan. This morning, Daiwan was playing outside the community with her granddaughter when they were struck by a motorcycle, leaving her injured and unconscious. The motorcycle owner fled the scene at an astonishing speed. Without hesitation, Daiwan rushed the child to the hospital. When Shun Jingyun arrived in haste, the child was already in surgery. An hour prior, the hospital had informed her that the child had lost a significant amount of blood and urgently required a transfusion. Unfortunately, her blood type was rare, and the hospital's blood bank had none available. In her desperation, Shun Jingyun had no choice but to call Zhou Yuchen. This number had been noted down after a fleeting night of passion, preserved in her phone for 4 years without ever being dialed or deleted. Initially intended to prevent her daughter from finding her father, it unexpectedly became useful today. At that moment, the operating room door swung open, and a nurse emerged. Shin Jingyun and Daiwan hurried to meet her. "The child's condition is grave. A transfusion is imperative," the nurse stated. Shin Jingyun quickly took out her phone to call Zhou Yuchen again. A long series of rings echoed in the corridor. Zhou Yuchen rushed up the stairs, followed closely by Wang Jia, who appeared slightly breathless. "Shin Jingyun," Zhou Yuchen called out loudly in the hallway. Overjoyed, Shin Jingyun waved her hand and replied, "I'm here." Zhou Yuchen approached her and inquired, "Where is the child?" "In the operating room. Yeye's condition is critical. You must go in and donate blood," Shin Jingyun urged. The nurse asked, "Are you the child's father?" Zhou Yuchen scrutinized Shin Jingyun, confirming she was indeed the woman from that fateful night, and replied, "Yes." "Are you Rh negative?" "Yes," he affirmed. "This gentleman, Mr. Wang Jia, is also Rh negative and has no blood relation to the child," the nurse added excitedly. "Wonderful. Mr. Wang, would you be willing to donate blood?" Without hesitation, Wang Jia responded, "I came here to save the child." "Then please follow me inside," the nurse instructed. Wang Jia nodded, saying, "All right." Zhou Yuchen exhaled in relief and said, "Jia go, thank you." Wang Jia waved his hand dismissively. "You saved my daughter's life years ago, and later donated blood to save mine. I owe you 2 lives. Today, I will repay 1. With that, Wang Jia followed the nurse into the operating room. Zhou Yuchen turned his gaze to Shun Jingyun's extraordinary beauty, recalling the phrase of beauty that could topple kingdoms. Shun Jingyun's eyebrows were as delicate as willow leaves, and her eyes resembled a crystal-clear pool. With her charming nose and full lips, she resembled a captivating painting, a true goddess descended to earth. In contrast, Zhou Yuchen felt somewhat lacking. Standing at 185 meters, his appearance was merely average, yet his demeanor added considerable allure. Years of martial arts training imbued him with a robust masculinity, while his love for literature softened his presence, creating a unique charisma that set him apart. "Miss Shun, if it weren't for the child's accident, would you have never disclosed her existence to me?" Zhou Yuchen inquired, his tone laced with palpable dissatisfaction. showing no favoritism despite Shen Jingyun's stunning beauty. Having encountered numerous beauties in his past, especially after amassing wealth, he had cycled through countless relationships over 3 years of indulgence, rendering him unimpressed by mere appearances. Thus, regardless of Shen Jingyun's allure, he would not indulge her whims. Wiping away the tears from her cheeks, Shen Jingyun replied, "Yes." Zhou Yuqin frowned, impressed. "Why?" Shen Jingyun candidly confessed, "I looked into your background. You've served time and have ties to some unsavory characters. Does having a criminal record equate to being a villain? Might one not be wrongfully accused?" Zhou Yuqin countered. Shen Jingyun opened her mouth, momentarily silenced by his rebuttal. Observing the exchange, Daiwan interjected, "Zhou Yuqin, you were a student at Yunhai University, correct?" Zhou Yuqin bowed slightly to her, showing respect. "Professor Dai? It's been 5 years. I'm surprised you remember me." Daiwan was a professor in the Department of Literature at Yunhai University, renowned for her teaching prowess and several published novels. During his university days, Zhou Yuqin had attended many of her lectures. Shen Jingyun, taken aback, asked, "Mother, you know him?" Although she had researched Zhou Yuqin, she only knew of his prison stint, not the intricacies of his past. Daiwan nodded. He was the top scorer in the college entrance examination in Xinjiang province 6 years ago, but chose to study finance at our Yunhai University instead of going to Yindu. In just over a year, he completed the 4-year finance curriculum and was hailed as a genius. Unfortunately, he was imprisoned for causing minor injuries. Shen Jingyun was astounded by Zhou Yuqin's impressive history, her gaze filled with astonishment. Zhou Yuqin looked earnestly at Daiwan and asked, "Professor Dai, do you believe I was wrongfully accused?" After a moment of silence, Daiwan sighed deeply. "Even if you are innocent, what difference does it make? You can only blame your poor judgment in choosing the wrong people." Zhou Yuqin's face broke into a radiant smile. "Thank you for believing in me, Professor Dai." Adjusting her glasses, Daiwan remarked, "Whether I believe you or not is inconsequential. What matters is how you came to be the father of little Yaya." Zhou Yuqin glanced at Shen Jingyun, whose face was slightly flushed. "I think it would be better if your daughter explained that to you." Shen Jingyun pursed her lips. "Let us discuss it after Yaya is out of danger." Daiwan glanced at the operating room. "Very well." Half an hour later, the surgical lights above the operating room dimmed. A middle-aged doctor in a white coat and mask, along with 2 nurses, emerged. Daiwan immediately inquired, "Dr. Chu, how is the child?" The doctor, named Chu Xingfeng, was the top internist at Yunhai First People's Hospital, renowned in the medical field. Securing his expertise for the child was largely thanks to Shen Jingyun's father's connections. Removing his mask, Dr. Chu revealed a gentle expression, "Professor Dai, the child is out of danger." A wave of relief washed over Daiwan, who joyfully replied, "That is wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Chu." Dr. Chu waved his hand. "You should thank the gentleman who donated blood. Without him, it would have been uncertain whether the little one would have survived." Daiwan nodded. "We will certainly express our gratitude to him." Just then, the operating room door opened once more. A nurse gently grasped Wang Jie's arm. "Mr. Wang, you just donated 800 milliliters of blood and must rest for a day." Wang Jie halted, pointing at Zhou Yuqin. "Do you see this guy? 2 years ago, he donated 1,000 milliliters of blood and still managed to train and study without a hitch. As a martial artist, my vitality is robust. 800 milliliters is nothing." Zhou Yuqin reassured the nurse. "Miss Nurse, you need not worry. He will be fine." The nurse looked to Dr. Chu, awaiting his directive. Chu Shigfeng observed Wang Jie closely and noted that the latter's complexion remained rosy and his voice robust. He gestured to the nurse, who promptly understood and departed. Shen Jingyun approached Wang Jie, bowing deeply as she expressed her heartfelt gratitude, saying, "Mr. Wang, I am the child's mother, and I cannot thank you enough for saving her life." Wang Jie chuckled, "No need for thanks. To be honest, it's fortunate that the little one resembles you. Had she taken after her father, it would have been unfortunate." Zhou Yuqin interjected, "Jie, you do have a tendency to ramble. Shall I escort you back?" "There's no need for that. You stay here and watch over the child." "I'll take my leave," Wang Jie replied, waving his hand as he strode purposefully towards the exit. Zhou Yuqin promptly followed him, escorting him out of the surgical building. Just before getting into the car, Wang Jie paused and asked, "Do you know who the little one's grandfather is?" Zhou Yuqin raised an eyebrow. "Who?" Wang Jie replied solemnly, "I overheard a nurse mention that the child's grandfather is Shun Chenggang, the deputy mayor and director of public security of Yunhai City. Brother, if you wish for a reunion between father and daughter, the challenge may be quite formidable." Upon hearing the name Shun Chenggang, Zhou Yuqin could not help but feel his heart race. He had long been aware of this man, renowned as a nemesis of criminals in Yunhai City. Having dedicated 30 years to the police force, Shun Chenggang had apprehended countless criminals, earning numerous accolades, and had risen to the position of director of public security. It is noteworthy that Yunhai City holds a status comparable to Yindu City. making the deputy mayor and director of public security equivalent to a vice governor in an ordinary province. This underscores Shen Qinggong's formidable influence. Once it is confirmed that the little one is indeed my daughter, not even Shen Qinggang, nor the consul of Xia Nation, could impede our reunion, Zhou Yuqin declared with resolute confidence and determination. Wang Jie gave him a thumbs up and drove away. Gazing at the time, Zhou Yuqin noted it was nearly 1 o'clock. He did not return immediately, instead stopping by a toy store adjacent to the hospital to purchase a plush doll. He then visited a relatively clean fast food restaurant to buy 3 boxed meals before returning to the hospital. The operating room was now empty. He called Shen Jingyun and learned they were in the 6th Special Care Ward, prompting him to hurry there. Upon entering the ward, Zhou Yuqin discovered that, in addition to Dai Wan and Shen Jingyun, there was another middle-aged man in police uniform. This man, around 50 years of age, possessed a towering stature and a sharp visage, exuding an aura of authority that rendered him an immovable presence. It was evident that he was Shen Jingyun's father, Shen Qinggang. Hearing the commotion, Shen Qinggang turned to Zhou Yuqin, his eyes filled with scrutiny. Most would have faltered under the weight of his righteous and commanding gaze. Yet Zhou Yuqin met it with unwavering fortitude, his presence even more imposing than Shen Qinggang's. As the saying goes, to practice martial arts, one must first cultivate courage. Those who excel in martial arts seldom possess timid dispositions, while the timid cannot master the art. Zhou Yuqin, a master of Xingyiquan, possessed a piercing gaze akin to blades, rendering him unafraid of Shen Qinggang. Shen Qinggang narrowed his eyes slightly and stated, "You are Zhou Yuqin, the biological father of Yaya?" Given his high-ranking position and years of unwavering service, even the most ruthless criminals would harbor fear upon encountering him. Yet Zhou Yuqin stood before him, calm and steadfast, which significantly elevated Shen Qinggang's regard for him. Zhou Yuqin set down the meal boxes and turned to the pallid little girl on the bed, her head bandaged. An overwhelming sense of kinship surged within him as he said, "I believe she is indeed my daughter. I can feel it." Shen Qinggang's expression darkened as he responded, "Let us step outside to discuss this." Zhou Yuqin nodded, placing the plush doll beside the child's pillow. He addressed Shen Jingyun. "This is the boxed meal I bought. You and Teacher Dai can share it." Shen Jingyun seemed taken aback by Zhou Yuqin's thoughtfulness and expressed her gratitude. After casting a gentle glance at the little one, Zhou Yuqin followed Shen Qinggang out of the ward, with Dai Wan trailing behind, her concern evident. In a secluded corner, Shen Qinggang halted and said, "We are all immensely grateful that you managed to save Yaya." Zhou Yuqin furrowed his brow and replied, "Yaya is my daughter. Saving her is my responsibility." Director Shen, please speak plainly. Shen Qinggang, foregoing pleasantries, stated directly, "I do not wish for you to reunite with little Yaya." Zhou Yuqin's expression soured immediately. "Why not?" Shen Qinggang replied, "Upon learning that you are little Yaya's father, I had my colleagues investigate your background. You have a criminal record for intentional injury." Zhou Yuqin inquired, "And so?" Shen Qinggang's voice intensified. "What would little Yaya think if she learned her father has been incarcerated?" Zhou Yuqin felt a surge of anger and retorted, "The wrongful conviction by your police force not only imprisoned me for 10 months, but also threatens to sever my bond with my daughter for life." Director Shen, do you find that acceptable? The police operate on evidence. Because you cannot find any, you disregard the truth, forsaking humanity to prevent a father from reuniting with his daughter? Shen Qinggang was momentarily rendered speechless by Zhou Yuqin's fervent words. Taking a deep breath to regain his composure, Zhou Yuqin solemnly continued, "I recognize my past may adversely affect the child's future prospects, possibly hindering her entry into government service. Therefore, until I can provide her with protection, I will not establish a legal father-daughter relationship. However, in private, no one can prevent me from reuniting with my child. That is my bottom line." At this juncture, Zhou Yuqin paused and locked eyes with Shen Qinggang, asserting, "In fact, I believe she should live with me. You, as the director of public security, have too many adversaries, most of whom are dangerous. Should they seek revenge, this child will be perpetually at risk. What occurred today could easily happen again. Director Shen, can you truly protect her?" Zhou Yuqin's challenge ignited a fire in Shen Qinggang's eyes. He pointed at himself, laughing ironically. "You believe I cannot protect the child? How amusing. This is the most ridiculous joke I've heard this year. It seems we have nothing further to discuss." "There was never anything to discuss," Zhou Yuqin declared, turning on his heel and departing with decisive clarity, leaving no room for hesitation. Shen Qinggang's face flushed with anger as he muttered, "What a scoundrel." Observing Shen Qinggang's furious demeanor, Dai Wan, who had remained silent, could not help but laugh, teasing, "See, this is our brilliant student from Yunhai University. Impressive, isn't he?" Shen Qinggang retorted irritably, "What do you mean by that? Do you support letting little Yaya reunite with him?" Dai Wan countered, "If I oppose it, can you truly prevent it?" Shen Qinggang replied, "If pushed to the edge, I will have him arrested." Daiwan stated. If little Yaya learns that her beloved grandfather imprisoned her biological father to thwart their reunion, how will she reconcile that? Sighing, Shen Qinggang asked. What do you think we should do? Daiwan did not respond directly, but instead inquired, what is your opinion of Zhou Yuchen? Shen Qinggang fell silent for a moment before uttering 3 words, a true man. A young man who had once been incarcerated stood resolutely before the high-ranking police commissioner. Exhibiting neither fear nor trepidation, instead, he engaged in sharp verbal sparring. Although Shen Qinggang felt a twinge of displeasure, he could not help but acknowledge the young man's audacity. If the roles were reversed, he doubted he could muster the same courage. From the moment his daughter called Zhou Yuchen, an inescapable connection was forged between their families. To compel him to avoid acknowledging Xiaoya was, in essence, an evasion that could not address the underlying issues. Daiwan adjusted her glasses. A glimmer of insight flashing in her eyes as she continued. My counsel is to observe his words and actions, responding to the unchanging with adaptability. Only through prolonged acquaintance can one discern a person's true nature. Should it be proven that Zhou Yuchen is not a commendable father, we can then devise a means to intervene. Even if Xiaoya learns of it in the future, understanding will surely follow. Shen Qinggang inquired. What if it is demonstrated that he is a good father? Daiwan replied. Is it not a boon to have another who cherishes your granddaughter? Very well. Let us observe his conduct. With that, Shen Qinggang clasped his hands behind his back and strolled toward the hospital room. As he regarded his retreating figure, Daiwan suddenly realized something and muttered softly, what a cunning old fox. Simultaneously, Zhou Yuchen's omnipotent nurturing system stirred to life in his mind. System tasks. Players must earn the recognition of daughter Shen Xinyue within 1 year. System tasks. Players must earn the recognition of Shen Xiuyun within 1 year. System tasks. Players must earn the recognition of Shen Qinggang and Dai Wan within 1 year. The consecutive trio of tasks ignited a spark in Zhou Yuchen's eyes. According to the design of the previous life's all-encompassing nurturing game, completing tasks would yield substantial rewards. Securing acceptance from Xiaoya and Shen Xiuyun seemed manageable. The challenge lay in winning over Shen Qinggang and Dai Wan, the former being excessively domineering and the latter displaying a blend of softness and strength. Both were formidable opponents. Yet, the stakes were inconsequential. As long as his child acknowledged him, the opinions of others mattered little. Upon entering the hospital room, Zhou Yuchen noticed that Shen Jingyun had not eaten. He picked up a meal box and handed it to her. Shen Jingyun glanced up at him, received the meal box, and said, Thank you. Zhou Yuchen shook his head, casting a gentle gaze toward the little girl in the hospital bed, stating, It is I who should express gratitude. Raising a child alone is no easy feat, is it? Shen Jingyun seemed taken aback by the strong-willed man's words, her heart warming as she replied, This is my own choice. Zhou Yuchen, Xiaoya has just encountered a crisis. We cannot conduct a paternity test in the short term. Zhou Yuchen responded. There is no need for a paternity test. The moment I laid eyes on Xiaoya, I sensed the blood ties between us. She is undoubtedly my daughter. Shen Jingyan queried. Have you always been this confident? Zhou Yuchen smiled. If you consistently ranked first in every examination throughout the county, city, and even province, you would share my confidence. Just then, Xin Shingang entered with a sardonic smile. If you were so confident, why did you end up in prison? Zhou Yuchen shrugged. Perhaps my brilliance necessitated some trials from the heavens. Xin Shingang chuckled. So, what is your current occupation, Zhou the genius? Zhou Yuchen replied. I am currently unemployed. Sun Shingang burst into laughter. I truly cannot fathom where this confidence of yours comes from. Undeterred by Ren Shinggang's jibe, Zhou Yuchen retorted. How can a sparrow comprehend the ambitions of a swan? Sun Shingang coldly remarked. From your words, it seems I am the sparrow. Very well. Do you dare to wager with me? What wager? Do you not consider yourself impressive? Let us see if you can earn 10 billion within a year. If you succeed, I will no longer oppose your recognition with Xiaoya. If you fail, you shall take your leave and never appear before us again. This wager is unfair to me. Regardless of your stance, I will claim my daughter Xiaoya. Are you afraid to take this bet? Not afraid, but I propose a modification. I will earn 10 billion within 6 months. If I succeed, Xiaoya shall bear my surname. If I do not, I will depart from Yunhai. Once I achieve success and can ensure Xiaoya's lifelong security, I shall return. The matter of her surname will never be mentioned again. Very well, I accept this wager. Xin Shinggong extended his hand, stating, a gentleman's word. Zhou Yuchen clasped his hand in agreement. A promise once made is hard to retract. A hint of a smile finally graced Xin Shinggong's face. Zhou Yuchen, while I may not favor you, I sincerely hope you prevail in this bet. 10 billion in 6 months would indicate that Zhou Yuchen was indeed a business prodigy. With such a wealthy father, Xiaoya would never want for anything, a prospect Sun Shinggong welcomed. Zhou Yuchen regarded him thoughtfully. Commissioner Shin, your provocation is rather transparent. As long as it serves its purpose. Sung Chungang shot him a triumphant glance before turning to Dai Wan and Shin Jingyun. I must take my leave. Do not forget to call me when the child awakens. Dai Wan replied, very well, you go on. As Skin Chingang was about to depart, Zhou Yuqin casually remarked, Commissioner Shin, I hope you can swiftly locate the motorcyclist who struck the child. He cannot escape justice. A cold glint flickered in Skin Chinggang's eyes as he opened the door and left. Zhou Yuqin picked up a meal box and handed it to Dai Wan. Teacher Dai, do have something to eat. Dai Wan expressed her gratitude and, while eating, asked, Young Zhou, 10 billion is no small sum. Do you have confidence in this endeavor? Zhou Yuqin smiled, indeed. In truth, at the very moment Shin Chingang proposed the wager, Zhou Yuqin discerned that the old fox was merely acting. He was fully aware that Zhou Yuqin would never abandon his child, yet he pressed him, likely intending to provoke him into anger. Subsequently, he introduced a bet, knowing that in a fit of rage, Zhou Yuqin would undoubtedly acquiesce without hesitation. Regardless of whether Zhou Yuqin could fulfill the bet, it would benefit Skin Chingang. This was a classic case of a double bind. However, Skin Chingang miscalculated one aspect. Though Zhou Yuqin appeared to be merely 25, he was in fact over 70, older than Skin Chingang himself, and would not fall for his schemes. Nevertheless, while the outcome diverged slightly from Skin Chinggang's plan, the wager Zhou Yuqin proposed was evidently more advantageous for Xiaoya. Thus, Skin Chingang readily acquiesced. Observing Zhou Yuqin's unwavering confidence, Dai Wan couldn't help but inquire, what are your future plans? Zhou Yuqin replied, as long as it remains lawful, I will pursue whatever profitable ventures I can. Once I have sufficient capital, I may establish an investment firm and a technology company. On the second day after his arrival, Zhou Yuqin had resolved to embark on an entrepreneurial journey. The current global landscape mirrored that of Earth. After decades of development, the Summer Kingdom had emerged as the world's third largest economy, trailing only behind the Lighthouse Nation and the Eastern Isles. However, in terms of technology, it lagged significantly behind the West. Zhou Yuqin harbors two ambitions for the future. First, to become the world's wealthiest individual. Second, to establish a high-tech conglomerate that dismantles foreign technological monopolies, akin to the former Huawei, thus propelling the nation's technological advancement. It is worth noting that Zhou Yuqin possesses a comprehensive understanding of future technologies and is equipped with an all-encompassing development system. If such a privileged beginning does not lead him to success, he might as well find a block of tofu to end it all. Regarding the wager of 1 billion within 6 months, Zhou Yuqin primarily seeks to gain Shin Chinggang's approval and fulfill the task assigned by the system, which is not particularly challenging. After dining, approximately an hour later, Xiao Ye finally awoke. Mama, where am I? She inquired, glancing around in confusion. Shin Jingyun's eyes reddened as she replied, this is the hospital. My dear, you scared your mother to death. Xiao Ye exclaimed, how did I end up in the hospital? Ah, I remember. A very fast car knocked me over. Dai Wan leaned closer to the little girl and said, my dear, I'm so sorry. It's all my fault for not protecting you. Xiao Ye shook her head and responded, no, Grandma, it was my fault for being too playful. If I had listened to you and come home earlier, I wouldn't have been hit by the car. Alas, I wouldn't be able to go to kindergarten for several more days. Zhou Yuqin, smiling, asked, do you really enjoy going to kindergarten? Only then did Xiao Ye notice his presence and exclaimed, Uncle, I think I've seen you before. Zhou Yuqin was taken aback and inquired, where have we met? Xiao Ye scrutinized him carefully and replied, in my dreams. You look just like my father in my dreams. Gazing at the adorably innocent little girl before him, Zhou Yuqin was suddenly overwhelmed by a profound sense of love. Having lived over 40 years in his past life, with numerous girlfriends, but never married or contemplated having children, he now felt the stirring of paternal emotions for the first time. This love was far more intense than that of a first romance. Zhou Yuqin's nose tinged with emotion as he gently grasped Xiao Ye's delicate hand, saying, my dear, you were not mistaken in your dream. I am your father. A radiant smile lit up Xiao Ye's pale face as she cheered, that's wonderful. Daddy, you're finally home. Mama, did Daddy come back because he knew I was hurt? Shin Jingyan nodded, saying, yes, Daddy flew back from far away. Xiao Ye pouted slightly, seemingly displeased. If only I had been hit by the car earlier, then I could have seen Daddy sooner. Upon hearing this, Shin Jingyun could not hold back her tears, and Dai Wan quickly turned her head away, both women realizing the significance of a father to the little girl. Zhou Yuqin felt a pang in his heart, saying, it's all my fault. I haven't come to see you for years. Do you blame me? The little girl replied, no. Mama said Daddy went away to earn money to buy good things for Yaya. But Daddy, can you stay with Yaya for a few more days? The kids at kindergarten say, I don't have a daddy. Zhou Yuqin placed the little girl's hand on his cheek and solemnly promised, I assure you, from this day forth, I will be with you every day, and I will never leave you. Her eyes sparkled with joy as she asked, Daddy, is that true? Indeed. He affirmed. Let us make a pinky promise. All right, she agreed. Pinky swear, for 100 years, it shall never change. The sweet, childish voice struck Zhou Yuchen's heart like a tear-jerking bomb, causing tears to flow down his cheeks. After completing the pinky promise, his face was streaked with tears. Daddy, why are you crying? Xiao Ye asked curiously. Zhou Yuchen quickly wiped his tears and replied, Daddy is just very happy, because I finally got to see you, Xiao Ye. She giggled, saying, then you should smile like me. Zhou Yuchen nodded. Yes, Daddy should smile. Ha. The father and daughter laughed together. Ding. Congratulations, player. You have completed the system task. Gain Shinshinyue's recognition within 1 year. Reward: 3 attribute points and a 10-day futures prediction scroll. The system's voice echoed in Zhou Yuchen's mind, but he was too absorbed in Xiao Ye to pay it any mind. After a while, Xiao Ye fell into a deep slumber once more, her little hands still tightly gripping Zhou Yuchen's, as though afraid he would disappear. Shen Jingyun witnessed the tender interaction between father and daughter and felt immense regret for having concealed the child's existence from Zhou Yuchen. Zhou Yuchen, we need to have a serious discussion, she said, taking a deep breath. Zhou Yuchen nodded. Has Xiao Ye started kindergarten? Yes, she is at Yunhai Elite Kindergarten. What is your occupation? How do you usually drop her off and pick her up? I work at the Yunhai Tax Bureau. Typically, I drop Ye off half an hour early and pick her up an hour after school ends. Is your residence far from the kindergarten? About 10 kilometers. Due to frequent traffic jams and my work schedule, I leave a bit earlier. If I need to work or study outside, my mother helps with the pickup and drop-off. After a moment of contemplation, Zhou Yuchen stated, since you both work and I am currently unoccupied, I will take over the responsibility of picking up and dropping off the child. Are you planning to move here from Sioux City? In the past, he might have been unaware of Xiao Ye's existence, but now that he knew, he was determined to embrace his responsibilities as a father. How about this? I will rent an apartment near your community and pick up Xiao Ye every morning, then bring her home in the afternoon. And you can come to my place after work. But aren't you starting a business? Won't that interfere with your work? Once I embark on this entrepreneurial journey, I will be the boss. I can come and go as I please, unaffected by anyone. Time will not be an issue, and if any unexpected circumstances arise, I will inform you promptly. The two discussed Xiao Ye's upbringing for a full hour. Dai Wan, sitting quietly beside them, listened attentively without interjecting, demonstrating her commendable composure. Upon hearing Zhou Yuchen's proposal to provide Shin Jingyun with 20,000 yuan monthly for living expenses, Dai Wan's gaze softened significantly towards him. This was not merely about the money. It was Zhou Yuchen's attitude that greatly pleased her. After a while, the attending physician, Chu Xingfeng, entered to examine Xiao Ye. After the examination, Chu Xingfeng smiled and said, it appears she is doing well. Dai Wan asked, when can we be discharged? After a moment's thought, Chu Xingfeng replied, since the little one sustained a head injury, it would be best for her to remain in the hospital for a week. After a week, we will conduct a follow-up examination to ensure there are no issues with her brain before discussing discharge. Dai Wan nodded. All right, Dr. Chu, thank you. It's my duty. Chu Xingfeng replied. By the way, who will handle the payment? I will. Zhou Yuchen and Shin Jingyun both stood up simultaneously. Chu Xingfeng chuckled. One will suffice. Zhou Yuchen looked at Shin Jingyun and said, I wish to do something for the child. Shin Jingyun pursed her lips and sat back down, saying, you go ahead. Chu Xingfeng sensed a peculiar dynamic between the two individuals, yet recognizing it as a personal matter, he refrained from inquiring further and escorted Zhou Yuchen outside. Upon Zhou Yuchen's departure, Dai Wan remarked, Xiao Zhou seems quite responsible. Shen Jingyun nodded in agreement, stating, he appears commendable at present. The crucial aspect lies in his consistency. Dai Wan added, the strength of a horse is known on a long journey, and a person's heart is revealed over time. I hope he becomes a good father. Jingyun, I shall return home now and prepare dinner to bring for you later. Shen Jingyun replied, Mom, the hospital has a cafeteria catering to various patients. I can simply purchase something. Given the considerable distance from home to the hospital, Shen Jingyun felt uneasy. Dai Wan furrowed her brow and insisted, how can that be? I will prepare some nourishing dishes for Xiao Ye. You need not worry. Shen Jingyun was about to argue further when Dai Wan had already departed. After completing the payment, Zhou Yuchen returned to the ward and, noticing Dai Wan's absence, inquired, has teacher Dai left? My mother has gone home to cook and will return shortly. How far is your home from here? Approximately 12 kilometers. In that case, the back and forth journey is quite troublesome. I advised her, but to no avail. She fears the hygiene of outside food. Zhou Yuchen contemplated for a moment and suggested, if teacher Dai insists on cooking, I shall hire a driver to deliver meals every morning, noon, and afternoon. What do you think? Shen Jingyun's eyes brightened as she replied, that is indeed a splendid idea. Zhou Yuchen rose, stating, we must not delay. I shall seek someone immediately. After Zhou Yuchen left, Shen Jingyun gazed at the sleeping child on the bed and softly murmured, "Darling, perhaps mother was truly mistaken." Each day, numerous taxis congregated at the hospital to transport patients. Zhou Yuqin selected a young driver from among a dozen, one who was neatly dressed and whose cab gleamed with polish, engaging him in conversation. The young driver, named Bao Yang, a local from Yunhai, was 23 years old and had been a taxi driver for 3 years. Zhou Yuqin explained the meal delivery arrangement, saying, "Brother, 3 meals a day. I will offer you 500. How does that sound?" 500? Bao Yang exclaimed. "That's quite excessive for merely 10 kilometers. Zhou Yuqin chuckled. "You are indeed straightforward. Let us exchange numbers and finalize our agreement. At 6 this evening, I will have the child's mother take you home to familiarize you with the route." Bao Yang nodded. "No problem." Upon returning to the special care ward, Zhou Yuqin relayed Bao Yang's contact information to Shen Jingyun. At 6 in the evening, Shen Jingyun took Bao Yang's car back home. Daiwan was highly satisfied with Zhou Yuqin's arrangement. After confirming the timing with Bao Yang, Shen Jingyun returned to the hospital with the meals. By then, Xiao Yiya had awakened, and Zhou Yuqin was engrossed in telling her a story. The little girl leaned against Zhou Yuqin, occasionally bursting into peals of melodious laughter. "Darling, what are you doing that brings you such joy?" Shen Jingyun inquired with a smile as she set down the thermos. "Daddy is telling me a story, and it's wonderful," Xiao Yiya replied. "As delightful as the story may be, we must first eat, correct?" Shen Jingyun stated. The little girl nodded. "Yes. My tummy is already quite hungry. Daddy, my hand hurts a bit. Could you feed me?" Zhou Yuqin replied, "Of course." Shen Jingyun feigned displeasure, saying, "Darling, are you abandoning your mother? That makes me very sad." The little girl exclaimed, "Mommy, please don't be sad. Yiya just wants Daddy to feed her once, as he has never done so before." Shen Jingyun felt a pang in her heart and acquiesced. "Very well, let Daddy feed you." Daiwan had prepared a nourishing black-bone chicken soup, enhanced with astragalus, jujubes, angelica, and cotinopsis, all known for their blood-enriching properties. Zhou Yuqin, inexperienced in feeding children, carefully held the bowl and gingerly brought the soup to Xiao Yiya's lips. Observing his serious and anxious expression, Shen Jingyun couldn't help but chuckle, her laughter illuminating the room like sunshine, adding a delightful hue to the ward. Zhou Yuqin was momentarily taken aback. Shen Jingyun's cheeks flushed, and she turned her head away. Regaining his composure, Zhou Yuqin felt a hint of embarrassment. After all, it was hard not to be captivated by Shen Jingyun's beauty. Once they finished their meal, Zhou Yuqin played with Xiao Yiya for a while and told her more stories. Gradually, the little girl closed her eyes and drifted off to sleep. Zhou Yuqin gestured toward the outside, and Shen Jingyun understood. Turning off the light as they stepped into the corridor, Zhou Yuqin proposed, "Shall we establish a schedule? You can rest at home at night, while I stay with Xiao Yiya. During the day, I must attend to moving and renting issues." Shen Jingyun countered, "You have no experience caring for children. I should remain here at night." Zhou Yuqin insisted, "At night, when the child sleeps, there is less to manage, and I can handle it. Moreover, I have no place to stay in Yunhai. If I do not accompany the child, I will have to find a hotel. Consider it a way to save me some money." Shen Jingyun smiled. "You have already hired a driver for meal deliveries. Do you still care about this little expense?" Zhou Yuqin shrugged. "Money should be spent wisely. Hiring a driver is an investment. Finding a hotel is a waste. Two entirely different matters." Upon hearing Zhou Yuqin's reasoning, Shen Jingyun chuckled. "I didn't realize you had such a humorous side. Very well, I shall return home to rest. If anything arises that you cannot manage, call me immediately." Zhou Yuqin nodded, "Absolutely." After Shen Jingyun departed, Zhou Yuqin returned to the ward, sitting by Xiao Yiya's bedside, gazing at her adorable, rosy face. His heart melting. Reflecting on the events of the day, he found them remarkably exhilarating. Not only had he become a master of Xingyi, fully unlocking the omnipotent cultivation system, but he had also gained a beautiful daughter. Zhou Yuqin realized that his life was likely to undergo a fundamental transformation starting from this day. As for whether this change would be positive or negative, he firmly believed it would be the former. Gently kissing Xiao Yiya's forehead, Zhou Yuqin lay down on the adjacent caregiver's bed. With a thought, the attributes panel of the omnipotent cultivation system appeared before him. Player: Zhou Yuqin. Physique: 14, normal person 10, spirit 10, normal person 10, attribute points 8. Skills: Xingyi, master level 12. Items: Futures Prediction Scroll, 10-day duration. True Scroll, 1 item. The Futures Prediction Scroll is a remarkably advantageous tool within the game. Once utilized, players can foresee future events. The so-called Futures Prediction Scroll, 10-day duration, allows players to predict the trends of a specific commodity over the next 10 days. This is precisely what Zhou Yuqin urgently needs at present. However, he was acutely aware that even with the prediction scroll, he could not act recklessly like protagonists in web novels, wildly amassing wealth in the market. for reality diverges greatly from fiction. For instance, if Zhou Yuqin were to suddenly invest 100 billion US dollars into a commodity, the market trends would undoubtedly shift dramatically. Not to mention, unlike the protagonist who could instantaneously earn hundreds of billions or even trillions, such outcomes were unattainable in reality. The conglomerates in reality are far from the foolish caricatures often depicted in novels. Their governments are not naive enough to remain passive while you profit. Certainly, trading in futures markets with sums in the tens of millions to billions is feasible, but unfortunately, Zhou Yuqin lacks such capital. Which futures should I select? Zhou Yuqin took out his phone to browse international news. In this 3G era, the internet speed is excruciatingly slow compared to his previous life. Yet Zhou Yuqin has grown accustomed to it. After half an hour, he decided on oil futures. Recently, two major oil-producing nations in the Asia-Pacific region have encountered significant tensions, amassing troops along their borders as if on the brink of war, resulting in considerable volatility in oil futures. Zhou Yuqin, known for his decisive nature, immediately inscribed the term crude oil on the prediction scroll. Instantly, a graphical representation of the future trajectory of crude oil futures for the next 10 days materialized in his mind. According to the chart, the price would surge from $38 per barrel to $68 within the first 6 days. However, in the subsequent 4 days, it would plummet back down to $42. Zhou Yuqin speculated that the two oil nations must be on the verge of a ceasefire, as such a sharp decline would not occur otherwise. To his delight, a line at the bottom of the chart indicated a maximum investment potential of $2 billion. This meant that, without altering the trajectory of crude oil futures, Zhou Yuqin could invest up to $2 billion. This prediction scroll could indeed be deemed a miraculous tool for profit, or rather, a device for cheating. How considerate. Throughout the night, apart from Zhou Yuqin taking little Yaya to the restroom, she remained peacefully asleep. Shen Jingyun arrived at 6 in the morning, clad in a light blue shirt paired with white wide-legged trousers, simple yet elegant, akin to a stunning springtime landscape. Even Zhou Yuqin had to concede that Shen Jingyun was the most beautiful woman he had ever encountered in both this life and the last, without exception. Noticing little Yaya sleeping soundly, Shen Jingyun gestured for Zhou Yuqin to step outside. Once in the hallway, she said, "You should rest. I'll look after little Yaya." Zhou Yuqin shook his head. "I wish to speak with her a few moments when she wakes up, lest she think I want to return." Shen Jingyun smiled. "You are quite thoughtful." Zhou Yuqin replied, "Children's feelings are delicate and sensitive, especially little girls. One must be attentive. By the way, I have important matters to attend to today, but I will definitely return tonight, though I cannot specify the exact time." Shen Jingyun said, "Tend to your business. If there are any issues, we can communicate by phone." Zhou Yuqin replied, "Very well." Half an hour later, little Yaya awoke. Seeing her father at the foot of the left side of the bed and her mother at the right, a radiant smile spread across her adorable face as she exclaimed, "Daddy, Mommy, I am so happy today." Shen Jingyun inquired, "Why is that?" Little Yaya replied, "Because both Daddy and Mommy are here with me." Zhou Yuqin took her tiny hand and rubbed it against his cheek, saying, "But Daddy has to go to work soon and won't return until evening. Can you forgive me, Yaya?" Little Yaya's expression changed, her eyes brimming with tears. "Daddy, you aren't going to work far away again, are you?" Zhou Yuqin hurriedly reassured her, "No, Daddy will work right here in Yunhai City and will pick you up from school every day." Little Yaya asked, "Really? Only dogs lie." Zhou Yuqin chuckled, "All right. If Daddy doesn't come back tonight, then I am indeed a dog." Hearing this, little Yaya's smile returned. After leaving the hospital, Zhou Yuqin randomly found a street vendor, eating while contemplating how to acquire funds. The oil futures market would open at 9 o'clock tonight. According to the prediction scroll, there would be a slight decline in the first hour, followed by a dramatic surge after 10 o'clock. Thus, Zhou Yuqin needed to transfer funds to the trading platform today. There are 4 major legitimate platforms for oil futures trading in the country: Xiaotai, Haifeng, Dongfang, and Xinjiao. Each can offer leverage of up to 50 times. But anything beyond 10 times requires an offline application. Who knows when that application would be approved? Zhou Yuqin did not have the luxury of time to wait. Upon checking the status of the 4 platforms, he discovered that Xiaotai futures had the fastest approval process. With 5 times leverage and a 10% margin, he could complete the process in less than 6 hours. Zhou Yuqin decided to opt for the Xiaotai futures platform. After finishing his meal, Zhou Yuqin found a cyber cafe and accessed the Xiaotai futures platform to open an account. In under half an hour, his account was successfully established. After linking his bank card, Zhou Yuqin transferred 2,200,000 yuan into the account and immediately applied for 5 times leverage. Once that was secured, he powered down his device and left. Not enough. That amount was far too little. To maximize his profits, Zhou Yuqin took out his phone and called Wu Xiongfei. The call connected swiftly. "Brother, I heard from Wang Jie that you truly have a daughter?" "Indeed. An unexpected incident blessed me with a daughter, whom I consider the best gift from the heavens. Ha ha, congratulations. What can I do for you? Brother, do you trust me? Of course. I would like to borrow money from you, as much as possible, and I'll repay you in half a month with 20% interest. 20%? Are you certain? Absolutely. However, I have nothing to offer as collateral. If I succeed, that's wonderful. If not, I will work to pay you back. All right. I can provide 5 million now. I'll give you an account number. Transfer the funds there. Once it's successful, I'll return you 6 million. Brother, could you tell me what business you plan to engage in? Zhou Yuqin did not hold back, stating, oil futures. Wu Xiongfei fell silent for a moment before asking, how confident are you? Zhou Yuqin replied without hesitation, 100%. I'll transfer the money to you right away. Zhou Yuqin felt immense gratitude, saying, brother, I will not betray your trust. Thank you. Wu Xiongfei generously responded, we are brothers. No need for such formality. Zhou Yuqin then inquired, do you know of any high-interest lenders in Yanhai? Wu Xiongfei exclaimed, what? You're considering high-interest loans? The more capital, the better. Brother, I have waited 4 years for this opportunity. If I seize it, I can soar to great heights. Wu Xiongfei chuckled, you intellectuals are even more ruthless than us gangsters. Very well, I'll send you a number shortly. Seek him out. After finishing his conversation with Wu Xiongfei, Zhou Yuqin contacted Wang Jie. Upon learning of Zhou Yuqin's financial needs, Wang Jie immediately transferred 2 million without hesitation. Consequently, combined with Wu Xiongfei's 5 million, Zhou Yuqin had amassed 7 million. Such loyalty is rare in a society where personal connections often feel thin. In this indifferent world, the trust bestowed upon him by Wu Xiongfei and Wang Jie moved Zhou Yuqin deeply. Once I achieve success in the future, I shall undoubtedly repay this immense favor with interest. Following the number provided by Wu Xiongfei, Zhou Yuqin made the call. An hour later, he arrived at the 28th floor of the Yunhai business building. There, he found a Muay Thai gym bustling with over 20 tattooed ruffians. In the ring, a muscular man, barely standing at 5 feet 7 inches, with a scarred face, was engaged in a fierce match against a robust opponent. The crowd below was fervently cheering, creating an electric atmosphere. Zhou Yuqin scanned the room, and his gaze settled on a middle-aged man seated in a chair, crossing his legs and puffing on a cigar. It was unmistakable. This was Jiang Hao, the notorious figure who had spoken to him an hour prior. Unlike the intentionally low-key Wu Xiongfei, Jiang Hao exuded a flamboyant demeanor, his eyes brimming with arrogance and swagger, as if he were emblazoned with the words I am formidable across his forehead. Their initial encounter left a rather unfavorable impression on Zhou Yuqin. Generally, such brazen gang leaders either face the death penalty or life imprisonment, rarely escaping a grim fate. Zhou Yuqin approached Jiang Hao, but was intercepted by a burly man with a bushy beard. Who are you? The man inquired. I am Zhou Yuqin. I have an appointment with Brother Hao, he replied. Jiang Hao, having heard the commotion, turned to Zhou Yuqin and commanded, Ashan, let him through. The bearded man obliged with a gesture for Zhou Yuqin to proceed. Brother Hao, Zhou Yuqin began, but Jiang Hao waved him off. Let us discuss matters after the match. Zhou Yuqin recognized this was a deliberate attempt to belittle him, a common tactic employed by filmic gangsters. Choosing silence, he stood beside Jiang Hao and began to observe the bout. Jiang Hao glanced at Zhou Yuqin, noting his calm demeanor and youthful composure that belied a profound gravity. He couldn't help but regard Zhou Yuqin with newfound respect. 2 minutes later, the scarred man delivered a powerful elbow strike to his opponent's face, sending him crashing to the ground. Excellent. The crowd erupted in applause and cheers. Jiang Hao stood, laughing heartily. Ahoo! I knew you could do it. The scarred fighter, Ahoo! Bowed slightly in acknowledgement, his expression remaining stoically grim. Suddenly, Jiang Hao turned his attention to Zhou Yuqin and asked, Are you seeking to borrow money? Yes. Zhou Yuqin replied. How much do you wish to borrow? Whatever you can lend, he answered. Jiang Hao chuckled, exhaling a smoke ring. I have 100 million. Would you dare to take it? Zhou Yuqin replied confidently. If you are willing to lend, I shall accept. Jiang Hao smirked. Do you believe you are worth 100 million? After a brief pause, Zhou Yuqin replied. Life and wealth are incomparable in the presence of such gang leaders. He understood the necessity of maintaining an air of confidence. Otherwise, he would be deemed insignificant, jeopardizing potential opportunities. Thus, he resolved to uphold a dignified stance. Jiang Hao said nonchalantly, For Wu Xiongfei's sake, I shall grant you an opportunity. What opportunity? Zhou Yuqin inquired. Jiang Hao gestured towards the scarred fighter. His name is Ahoo, a master of Muay Thai and my most trusted subordinate. Wu Xiongfei mentioned you are an exceptionally skilled martial artist. If you can defeat him, I will lend you 500,000, with a 1-month term and 10% interest. Should you lose, you will return whence you came. After contemplating, Zhou Yuqin proposed. If I can defeat him within 1 minute, would you lend me 1 million? with a half-month term and 5% interest? What do you think, Brother Hao? The audience gasped at his audacity. Defeating a who in a minute? What a preposterous jest. A who's expression turned dark with anger as he regarded Zhou Yuchen. Jiang Hao raised an approving thumb. Young man, you possess courage. No wonder Wu Xiongfei holds you in such high regard. Very well, I accept your terms. Regardless of the match's outcome, Jiang Hao stood to gain. Zhou Yuchen stepped into the ring, approached a who, and cupped his hands in greeting. I am Zhou Yuchen of Xingyi. I seek your guidance. A who, momentarily taken aback, reciprocated the gesture before assuming a fighting stance. Zhou Yuchen then realized that this formidable opponent was mute. Jiang Hao pressed the stopwatch, declaring, the match begins. As the words left his lips, Zhou Yuchen stepped forward and launched a punch directed at a who's chest. The air crackled with the sound of impact, reminiscent of a bowstring snapping. A who's expression shifted as he instinctively raised his leg to deliver a powerful kick. The collision of Zhou Yuchen's fist against a who's foot reverberated like thunder. A who felt an overwhelming force surging towards him, propelling him backward as if he were a leaf caught in a tempest. Zhou Yuchen had employed the half-step collapsing fist, exerting merely 70% of his strength, yet it was far beyond a who's capacity to withstand. Just as a who was about to be thrown from the ring, Zhou Yuchen darted forward like a gust of wind, grasping a who's leg and pinning him down. A who, rendered weak and astonished, sat on the ground. His eyes filled with disbelief as the gym fell into a hushed silence. With a single punch, Zhou Yuchen had decisively defeated their top fighter, a who. Had Zhou not intervened, a who might have sustained severe injuries. This outcome surpassed everyone's expectations. Jiang Hao tossed aside the stopwatch and led the applause. The gym erupted with cheers. Incredible. This young man is undoubtedly a top-tier martial artist. To defeat a who with one punch is simply astounding, murmured the crowd. I believe he utilized the half-step collapsing fist to send a who flying. Anyone who dares to claim that the martial arts of Xia country are inferior shall face my wrath. In the realm of the underworld, strength is revered. Zhou Yuchen had earned the respect of all present through his prowess. Are you all right? He asked, extending a hand to the seated a who. A who grasped his hand, leveraging it to rise, and gave Zhou Yuchen a thumbs up. Jiang Hao approached the ring, laughing heartily. Brother Zhou, would you be interested in working for me? Zhou Yuchen replied. Brother Hao, Brother Fei has also posed this question to me. Although he did not explicitly decline, his meaning was clear. Having not accepted Wu Xiongfei's offer, he would naturally not entertain Jiang Hao's proposition either. Jiang Hao sighed. It is truly a pity that you possess such remarkable skills, yet choose not to navigate the underworld. Zhou Yuchen responded, I practice martial arts solely for physical fitness, not for the sake of rivalry in the underworld. Brother Hao, I am in urgent need of funds. As for that 1 million, you shall have it immediately, Jiang Hao replied, waving his hand, summoning an associate bearing a loan document and a seal. Brother, this is the protocol of our lending company. Please don't take offense. It is as it should be. Zhou Yuchen took the loan confirmation and examined it meticulously. After ensuring everything was in order, he affixed his name and identification number before pressing his fingerprint. Jiang Hao made a phone call, and within 5 minutes, the Summer National Commercial Bank sent Zhou Yuchen a message confirming the receipt of 10 million Xia yuan. Thank you, Brother Hao, Zhou Yuchen expressed with a clasped fist. Jiang Hao, intrigued, inquired, Brother, may I ask what you intend to do with such a substantial amount of money? Zhou Yuchen replied, I plan to invest in crude oil futures. Upon hearing this, Jiang Hao immediately lost interest and cautioned, although I am not well versed in futures, I am aware that the risks are profound. Just a single piece of news can lead to ruin for countless individuals. Exercise caution, brother. Zhou Yuchen nodded, affirming, I understand. Brother Hao, I will enter the market tonight. I have much preparation to undertake, so I shall take my leave. Jiang Hao wished him success in his endeavors. Zhou Yuchen expressed his gratitude and turned to depart. Upon exiting the building, Zhou Yuchen inhaled deeply, a radiant smile illuminating his face. With Jiang Hao's contribution, he now possessed a total of 19.2 million in funds. After deducting the 1.92 million margin, his available capital stood at 17.28 million, with a five-fold leverage amounting to 86.4 million. Although the sum was somewhat modest, it was the largest amount he could possibly procure. Unlike the protagonists of web novels who effortlessly acquire billions with mere words, such scenarios are non-existent in reality. Zhou Yuchen dared not entertain such lofty aspirations. After securing the funds, he retreated to an internet cafe, transferring 17 million to the Xiaotai Futures platform account. The greater the funds, the stronger one's financial capability appears, thus accelerating the leverage application process on the futures platform. Indeed, merely 10 minutes later, Zhou Yuchen received a notification from Xiaotai Futures. His five-fold leverage application was approved, requiring a margin of 1.92 million to control 86.4 for million in funds. With everything settled, he left the internet cafe and grabbed a quick lunch at a fast food restaurant. Noticing it was still early, he rented a van and set off towards Sioux City to address some matters regarding his property. In the ward of Yunhai First Hospital, Xiaoyu lay cradling the doll Zhou Yuqing had gifted her, drifting into a deep slumber. Daiwan looked at her daughter, Shun Jingyun, and remarked, "Isn't Xiaoyu fond of plush toys? When did she develop a liking for dolls?" Shun Jingyun replied, "Because this doll was given to her by Zhou Yuqing. She hasn't let it go since breakfast." Daiwan sighed. It seems Xiaoyu has taken quite a liking to Zhou Yuqing. Last night, after leaving the hospital, Shun Jingyun did not return home, but stayed at her parents' house for the night. She recounted in detail how Zhou Yuqing had rescued her from a treacherous situation at the hotel. Upon hearing this, Shun Shingang nearly erupted with rage. For years, he had sought to uncover the identity of Xiaoyu's father, but Shun Jingyun had steadfastly refused to divulge. He had even investigated Shun Jingyun's former boyfriend, who had gone abroad. Little did he expect that Shun Jingyun had been ensnared by a minor bank leader and several small business owners. No wonder she had insisted on transferring from the bank for years ago. The root of the issue lay here. Daiwan was already in tears. The thought of her daughter nearly falling victim to a band of scoundrels filled her with dread. Thankfully, Zhou Yuqing had come to her aid. Otherwise, she might never have seen her daughter again. "Mom, a child cannot grow up without a father. For the past 3 years, I should not have deceived Xiaoyu. Now that they have recognized each other as father and daughter, let us allow them to bond," Shun Jingyun asserted. Daiwan asked, "And what about you?" Shun Jingyun paused. "What do you mean?" Daiwan inquired. "Do you think there is a possibility for your relationship with Zhou Yuqing to progress further?" Shun Jingyun shook her head. "I have no feelings for him." Daiwan frowned slightly. "Are you still unable to forget that scoundrel Zheng Shui?" Zheng Shui was Shun Jingyun's former boyfriend, the only one she had ever dated. Within a month of their relationship, he had become involved with the daughter of a wealthy man. Shun Jingyun was heartbroken and took a long time to recover. "Mom, what are you saying? How could I possibly be hung up on that scoundrel? If you think Zhou Yuqing is unsatisfactory, I can introduce you to some of our school's young, outstanding teachers." "Mom, not this again. I'm not interested." "Then what are you going to do in the future? Will you remain alone forever?" "As long as Xiaoyu is by my side, I shall never be lonely." Seeing her typically graceful and dignified mother truly exasperated, Shun Jingyun quickly added, "Mom, please don't worry. Perhaps my fate just hasn't arrived yet." Daiwan took a deep breath, adjusting her emotions. "Jingyun, we have witnessed how difficult and exhausting these years have been for you. We genuinely hope you can find someone to rely on, rather than shouldering everything alone." Shun Jingyun grasped Daiwan's hand. "Mom, I have grown up. I am no longer a child. If I truly cannot bear it, I still have you and Dad, don't I?" Daiwan retorted. "We invited you to live at home to help take care of the child. Did you listen?" Shun Jingyun pouted. "I don't want you to tire yourselves out." Daiwan stood up, exclaiming, "You are simply too stubborn and disobedient. Forget it. I won't argue with you. I have a class to teach this afternoon, and I'll prepare fish soup for you tonight." Shun Jingyun chuckled. "There is a saying that goes, only mothers are good in this world, and it rings true." Daiwan shot her a glance before turning to leave. Shun Jingyun hurriedly followed her into the elevator. Back in the ward, Shun Jingyun recalled her mother's words, and Zhou Yuqing's face surfaced in her mind. Was he truly a good choice? Gazing at the doll in Xiaoyu's hands, she found her thoughts in disarray. In Zhou Yuqing's rented apartment, apart from some personal belongings, there was merely a laptop and over 300 books. He loaded these items into the van and approached the landlord to terminate the lease. The landlord, somewhat miserly, initially sought to charge for cleaning, but, seeing that Zhou Yuqing left behind the bookshelf worth over 2,000 yuan and that half a month remained on the lease, refrained from further demands. The two parted amicably. By the time Zhou Yuqing returned to Yunhai in the van, it was already 7 in the evening. After enjoying a dinner out, he visited a bookstore to purchase a large stack of picture books suitable for a 3-year-old girl. As it neared 9 o'clock, Zhou Yuqing entered an internet cafe. In this 3G era, hospitals lacked internet capabilities. Although wireless cards were available, the speed was far from commendable. Zhou Yuqing's smartphone was even slower, taking half a minute to load a single web page. With no other option, he chose to visit the internet cafe. At exactly 9 o'clock, crude oil futures opened. Zhou Yuqing logged into the Xiaotai futures platform and discovered the price of a barrel of crude oil was 26,635 yuan. Without hesitation, he invested all his funds, purchasing over 300 barrels. Based on the crude oil futures curve in his mind and the current exchange rate, he anticipated that the price of oil would soar to 476 yuan. However, due to fluctuations in exchange rates and various other factors, there exists a considerable disparity between domestic and international crude oil prices. To ensure absolute security, Zhou Yuqing set the selling price at 43,035 yuan. Once everything was settled, He exited the Xiaotai Futures platform, shut down his computer, and hurriedly made his way to the hospital. Mom, does Dad not want Xiaoyu anymore? In the hospital room, Xiaoyu clutched the doll Zhou Yuqin had bought for her, asking pitifully. Shen Jingyan comforted her. How could Dad possibly not want Xiaoyu? He loves you so much. But it's so late. Why hasn't Dad come back yet? Mom, can I call Dad? Shen Jingyan took out her phone and smiled. Of course you can. Soon. The call connected. Hello, is this Dad? Zhou Yuqin, who was just ascending the stairs, teased her. Who are you? I'm Xiaoyu. Oh, what a coincidence. I have a daughter named Xiaoyu too. By the way, her full name is Shen Xinyue. Do you know her? I am Shen Xinyue. Dad, I miss you. When will you come back? Sweetheart, don't cry. Here's what you do. Close your eyes, count to 10, and I will appear before you. Really? Indeed. Okay, I'm counting. Xiaoyu closed her eyes and began counting into the phone. 10, 9, 8, 7. As she reached 5, Zhou Yuqin had already stealthily entered the room and stood before the little one. Shen Jingyan sat nearby, smiling as she watched Zhou Yuqin entertain the child. 3, 2, 1, 0. Xiaoyu opened her eyes and immediately saw Zhou Yuqin's beaming face, joyfully exclaiming, Dad. Zhou Yuqin laughed heartily. I told you, as long as you count to 10, Dad will appear before you. Xiaoyu looked at him with admiration. Dad, you're amazing. Zhou Yuqin placed a picture book on the table and asked, Did you listen to your mom today? Xiaoyu replied proudly, I was very obedient. Zhou Yuqin chuckled. Mom has worked hard all day. Shouldn't we let her rest early? But will you stay with me tonight? She inquired. Of course. But what if I miss Mom too? Mom will come over in the morning. Sweetheart, during your time in the hospital, Mom will be with you during the day and rest at night. I will rest during the day and be with you at night. This way, neither of us will get tired. Understand? Xiaoyu nodded. I understand. Mom, you should go home and rest. Having Dad with me is enough. All right. Shen Jingyun kissed her cheek and turned to Zhou Yuqin. Shall I bring you breakfast tomorrow morning? Zhou Yuqin waved his hand. No need. I went to Sioux City today and brought over some daily necessities. Tomorrow, I will go to rent an apartment. By the time the child is discharged, everything should be settled. Shen Jingyun asked, which community do you plan to rent in? Zhou Yuqin replied, Lijiang Garden. Shen Jingyun resided in Mingda community, which, while well located, had somewhat outdated buildings, the largest of which was less than 100 square meters, categorizing it as a mid-range community. Zhou Yuqin was not very satisfied with Mingda community. Last night, he searched online and discovered Lijiang Garden, located less than 200 meters away, featuring an elegant environment and apartments ranging from 170 to 360 square meters. Today, he even drove around Lijiang Garden and was very pleased with the community. Lijiang Garden? Shen Jingyun exclaimed in surprise. Do you know how expensive the rent is there? Lijiang Garden is considered one of the most upscale communities in Yunhai City, with an opening price of 100,000 per square meter, which is astonishing. Shen Jingyun had visited before. All the apartments were exquisitely decorated with the highest quality eco-friendly materials, and the community facilities were comprehensive, with a greenery rate of 55%. She had heard that the prices in Lijiang Garden were on the rise, with a tendency to rank among the top 3 in Yunhai. Zhou Yuqin wanted to rent there. Not to mention the availability, the annual rent would be at least 300,000 to 400,000, nearly equivalent to Shen Jingyun's 3-year salary. Zhou Yuqin smiled slightly. I made a bet with your father that I would earn 10 billion within 6 months. No matter how high the rent is at Lijiang Garden. It seems inconsequential for someone about to become a billionaire. Shen Jingyun was amused by Zhou Yuqin's words. Are you certain you can earn 10 billion? Zhou Yuqin pondered and replied, it should be more than that. Shen Jingyun slapped her forehead. I really don't know where you get your confidence. Zhou Yuqin said, you can wait and see. Looking into Zhou Yuqin's unwavering and confident eyes, Shen Jingyun suddenly felt that perhaps he really could achieve it. But then she reconsidered, doubting the possibility. A person with no background, no resources, and no capital attempting to earn 10 billion in 6 months seemed a bit far-fetched. After Shen Jingyun left, Zhou Yuqin spent some time looking at children's picture books with Xiaoyu. Before the 3rd story was finished, Xiaoyu had already fallen asleep in his arms. Zhou Yuqin carefully placed her on the bed, tucked her in with a light blanket, and softly said, Sweetheart, have sweet dreams. Turning off the light, Zhou Yuqin sat in a chair and silently recited a phrase, the omnipotent cultivation system. The system immediately appeared before his eyes, opening the skill tree. It was adorned with tens of thousands of skill fruits. Apart from the brilliant glow of the Xingyi Quan fruit, all other fruits were dim. Zhou Yuqin had long made up his mind and thought, next, I choose hacking skills. Instantly, the fruit associated with hacking skills glimmered slightly. In his past life, Zhou Yuqin was a game development leader and also an expert in hacking techniques. Although he was not considered a god due to his qualifications, the title of minor god was still well-deserved. With this foundation and the assistance of the omnipotent cultivation system, Becoming a god-level super hacker would undoubtedly be effortless. Even becoming the king of hackers was not out of reach. This way, he could quickly elevate his hacking skills to master level and then choose to learn other skills. Ding! After system verification, the player's hacking skills had reached proficiency level, earning 5 attribute points and 1 skill lottery opportunity. Zhou Yuchen was overjoyed and immediately called up the attribute panel. Player: Zhou Yuchen. Physique: 14, average person 10, spirit: 10, average person 10, attribute points: 13 skills, Xingyi Quan, master level 12. Hacking skills: proficient level 62, items: futures prediction scroll, in use, real scroll, 1 item, skill reward scroll. Seeing that his hacking skills had reached a proficiency level of 62, Zhou Yuchen nearly burst into laughter. It seemed that his 4 years of study had indeed been very useful. As for the skill reward scroll, Zhou Yuchen did not hesitate and opened it immediately. The system's lottery wheel began to spin rapidly. Stop! A flash of light passed, and a skill scroll, Culinary Mastery, appeared in Zhou Yuchen's item bar. Darn it! Zhou Yuchen exclaimed in disbelief. In the realm of all-encompassing simulation games, the fortunate acquisition of skill reward scrolls by players is indeed a stroke of immense luck. Such scrolls directly bestow skills upon their holders, akin to the enlightening experience described in martial arts novels. However, for Zhou Yuchen, whose culinary skills were already commendable, the reward of this particular skill seemed somewhat superfluous. Yet, better than nothing, Zhou Yuchen activated the scroll, and instantly, an abundance of recipes flooded his mind, encompassing nearly every cuisine on Earth. Gazing at the attribute panel that now displayed culinary arts, mastery level 99, Zhou Yuchen realized he might have underestimated this skill. The all-encompassing cultivation system employs exceedingly stringent standards for skill evaluation. Mastery level is considered to represent the pinnacle of the industry, while achieving a proficiency level of 90% or above is tantamount to being among the elite in the field. Consequently, Zhou Yuchen could rightfully be regarded as a culinary deity in this world, and what was even more astounding was his versatility, excelling in both Eastern and Western cuisines. It seemed he would never lack for delectable dishes in his lifetime. Taking out his phone, Zhou Yuchen checked the trends of crude oil futures online, finding them nearly identical to those in his mind, which put his mind at ease. The following morning, Shen Jingyun entered the hospital room just as Zhou Yuchen had finished taking little Yaya to the restroom. Upon seeing Shen Jingyun, Yaya beamed with delight, exclaiming, "Mommy, you finally came." Shen Jingyun took the little girl from Zhou Yuchen's arms, smiling. "What's this? Did you miss me after just one night apart?" Yaya nodded and whispered in her ear, "Mommy, I have a secret to tell you. I had a wonderful dream last night." Shen Jingyun inquired, "What kind of dream?" "Do tell." Yaya replied, "I dreamt that you and Daddy took me to the ferry amusement park, and we had such a great time." Shen Jingyun chuckled, "You little rascal. I see you're eager to visit the ferry amusement park, aren't you?" Yaya giggled. "Daddy promised that when I get better, he will take me to the ferry amusement park. Mommy, will you come with us, please?" Shen Jingyun responded, "Of course." Yaya exclaimed joyfully, "That's wonderful. Mommy and Daddy are going to take me to the amusement park." At 10 in the morning, Zhou Yuchen stepped into a real estate agency near Lijiang Garden. The agency was run by a young woman of similar age to Zhou Yuchen, who was stylishly dressed and possessed an attractive figure, her appearance scoring around 70 points in Zhou's eyes. He found her somewhat familiar and, upon glancing at the business card on the desk, remembered she was Zhang Xia, a former classmate from Yunhai University's finance program. Though they were in different classes, they shared the same major and attended lectures together almost daily. "You are Zhou Yuchen?" As the top scorer in the college entrance examination of Xinjiang province and an academic standout at Yunhai University, Zhou Yuchen was quite well known, and Zhang Xia recognized him almost instantly. Zhou Yuchen smiled. "Long time no see, Zhang Xia." She covered her mouth in surprise, exclaiming, "Oh my, it really is you." Gazing at the tall and composed Zhou Yuchen, Zhang Xia wore an expression of disbelief. Zhou Yuchen remarked, "I was only imprisoned for a year. There's no need for such astonishment." Zhang Xia assessed him and said, "I thought you had left Yunhai." Zhou Yuchen explained, "After my release, I lived in Suching for a few years and just returned to Yunhai the day before, planning to start my own venture here." Zhang Xia gave him a thumbs up. Expressing her admiration, "Zhou Yuchen, you are truly remarkable." Zhou Yuchen chuckled. "If I were remarkable, I wouldn't have been wronged and imprisoned." Zhang Xia cautiously asked, "Do you know how they are doing now?" Zhou Yuchen shook his head. "I've lost contact with everyone and know nothing." Zhang Xia responded indignantly, "What a scoundrel Luo Hao is, everyone knows that. We all understood you were wrong back then, but it's a pity there was no evidence. And your girlfriend, Su Xiaoya, is testifying for Luo Hao, which is truly disheartening. Anyway, let us not dwell on that. Zhou Yuchen, do you remember Professor Wu Jinhua?" Zhou Yuchen raised an eyebrow. "Of course. Wu Jinhua was a highly respected economist with considerable influence in the financial sector, enjoying a national-level stipend. He had a fondness for Zhou Yuchen, a diligent and academically gifted student, and had provided him with countless opportunities during the year and a half they spent together. Despite Zhou Yuchen being a learning prodigy, completing 4 years of university coursework in just over a year would have been impossible without Wu Jinhua's assistance. He had intended for Zhou Yuchen to take his graduate entrance exam early at the end of his sophomore year. But the incident involving Zhou Yuchen's altercation had derailed those plans. Zhang Xia revealed, after you were wrongfully imprisoned, Professor Wu was so distressed that he developed high blood pressure and was hospitalized. After finally being discharged, upon learning that the school had expelled you, he slammed the table in several meetings with the principal and even approached the national government's economic office. But it was all in vain. Zhou Yuchen, having traversed into this body after the former had been released from prison, felt a profound emotional connection. Learning of Wu Jinhua's efforts on his behalf moved Zhou Yuchen deeply, and memories of their interactions flooded his mind, filling him with respect and gratitude for the humorous yet meticulous old professor. With misty eyes, Zhou Yuchen inquired, "How is Professor Wu's health?" Zhang Xia replied, "He retired 3 years ago, and I'm not sure about anything else." Zhou Yuchen, since you're back, aren't you going to visit him? Taking a deep breath to steady his emotions, Zhou Yuchen responded, "I'll visit him once I've made something of myself, to prove that he did not misjudge me." Zhang Xia nodded, affirming, "That's the spirit. This is the Zhou Yuchen I know." Zhou Yuchen smiled, a sudden surge of determination coursing through him as he asked, "Zhang Xia, are you aware of the current situation regarding Su Xiaoya and Luo Hao?" Zhou Yuchen harbored an intense loathing for these two individuals. Luo Hao had nearly assaulted Su Xiaoya, and the former had bravely intervened, only to have Su Xiaoya turn against him, utterly ruining his life. That was not the end of it. While in prison, Luo Hao had continued to torment him, sending thugs to create trouble. Fortunately, with the aid of a martial arts expert in prison, Zhou Yuchen had managed to avoid their schemes. After his release, rather than remaining in Yunhai, he fled to Suqing to evade Luo Hao, having learned from fellow inmates that Luo Hao's father, Luo Haifeng, was a notorious figure with a band of ruthless men. If Luo Hao were to discover that he was out of prison, he would undoubtedly create significant trouble. Thus, hiding was the only option when one's strength was inferior to that of the adversary. Now, Zhou Yuchen dared to return to Yunhai openly, primarily because he had become a master of Xingyiquan. A mere 20 or 30 thugs would not pose a challenge for him. Zhang Xia informed him, Luo Hao is now the vice president of Haifeng Transportation Group, and Su Xiaoya is his legitimate girlfriend. Zhou Yuchen was taken aback. Legitimate girlfriend? Does Luo Hao have other girlfriends? Zhang Xia displayed a peculiar expression, saying, as far as I know, Luo Hao has at least 4 girlfriends. And there are many more women connected to him. I've heard he has a penchant for married women. Su Xiaoya is just one of the more inconsequential ones. Zhou Yuchen, you must be cautious and not act impulsively. The Haifeng Transportation Group has connections to the underworld. We do not need to confront them directly. Zhou Yuchen nodded and replied, I understand. Zhang Xia, have you not sought employment after graduation? Zhang Xia smiled wryly, saying, jobs are hard to come by now. And lacking connections, I had no choice but to open this agency to make ends meet. Zhou Yuchen inquired, and what about you? What do you do? Zhang Xia replied, like you, I am a freelancer, working for myself. She then asked, are you here to buy or rent a house? Zhou Yuchen responded, I wish to rent a larger apartment in Lijiang Garden. Do you have any listings? Zhang Xia exclaimed, oh my, you've really made it big. The best rentals in Lijiang Garden go for at least 400,000. Zhou Yuchen, I knew I was right about you. You are truly impressive. Zhou Yuchen chuckled, saying, I am merely renting, not buying. What is so impressive about that? It's quite an achievement, mind you. Most of our classmates cannot afford to rent. As they spoke, Zhang Xia accessed the listings for Lijiang Garden on her computer. Currently, there are only 3 apartments available for rent, she informed him. One large unit on the 12th floor measures 360 square meters, with a monthly rent of 88,000, non-negotiable. The other 2 are 177 square meters each, priced at 45,000 per month, and negotiable. Zhou Yuchen asked, do you have the keys? Zhang Xia replied, yes. To be honest, I've secretly visited that 360 square meter unit multiple times. And it's simply remarkable. If the owner weren't moving abroad, they surely wouldn't rent it out. Zhou Yuchen nodded, saying, then let's go take a look, shall we? Zhang Xia promptly produced the keys and said, of course, let's go. Upon exiting the agency, Zhang Xia noticed Zhou Yuchen driving a van and chuckled. Are wealthy people always so low-key? A person capable of renting in Lijiang Garden shouldn't be driving a vehicle lesser than mine. Zhou Yuchen clarified, this van is rented. It merely contains some personal items I brought from Sioux City. Zhang Xia responded, then let us walk, it's not far. Zhou Yuchen agreed. He found Zhang Xia's talkative nature quite endearing. During the 8-minute walk, she introduced their fellow finance classmates, and despite having been in the workforce for over 2 years, she had not adopted any negative habits. She neither looked down on those struggling nor boasted about those who were thriving. In essence, she was genuine. Zhou Yuqin silently resolved that once he achieved success in his entrepreneurial endeavors, he would certainly hire Zhang Xia for customer service. Soon, they arrived at Unit 1201 of Building 6. Zhang Xia, not expecting Zhou Yuqin to be able to afford it, refrained from elaborating and allowed him to explore the apartment on his own. The grandeur of the spacious unit was striking, embodying both comfort and style, perfectly aligned with Zhou Yuqin's aesthetic preferences. The living room was elegant and tidy, boasting a height of approximately 3.6 meters, well ventilated, with minimalist yet exquisite decor. The furnishings, carpets, sofas, and appliances were all top-tier brands, exuding luxury. The kitchen spanned around 40 square meters, equipped with 2 large refrigerators and all necessary cooking appliances. There were 5 bedrooms, 2 large and 3 small, adorned with imported wooden flooring, and all beds were from the renowned European brand Case. Zhou Yuqin recalled seeing Case's introduction online, noting that prices never fell below 50,000. Each of the 2 large bedrooms featured a spacious bathroom and shower area. Most satisfying to Zhou Yuqin was the expansive 50 square meter study, furnished with a large desk and a bookshelf capable of holding over 2,000 books, with excellent light penetration. The balcony was equally impressive, stretching over 12 meters in length. In his previous life, Zhou Yuqin had also been a successful individual, residing in a similarly large flat, albeit only 220 square meters, significantly smaller than this one. Zhang Xia initially anticipated that Zhou Yuqin would at least display astonishment or envy upon seeing such a splendid apartment. Yet he maintained a calm demeanor throughout the tour. In contrast to her own reaction when she first encountered the property, she couldn't help but feel a twinge of admiration for Zhou Yuqin. Not to mention, his composure and steadiness were qualities not commonly possessed. Zhou Yuqin, what do you think? She asked. It's excellent, he replied. Shall we go? Where to? To see the other 2 apartments. No need, I want to rent this one. Zhang Xia's eyes nearly bulged out in surprise. Zhou Yuqin, I need to reiterate, the rent for this apartment is 88,000 per month, non-negotiable, and requires a year's payment in advance, 1,056,000 in total. Zhou Yuqin's funds were entirely invested in crude oil futures, leaving him with just over 300,000. Renting this apartment, therefore, posed a challenge. However, Zhou Yuqin was undeterred. All he needed was to present his futures account to any bank, and within half an hour, he could secure hundreds of thousands in loans. Old classmate, rest assured, I can afford it, he assured her. Zhang Xia had to re-evaluate Zhou Yuqin, smiling wryly. Back in the day, your academic prowess left us all breathless. Now that we're in society, you remain just as exceptional. Truly, some people are just incomparable. Zhou Yuqin responded, I take that as a compliment. Zhang Xia rolled her eyes, saying, it was intended as such. Taking out her phone, she walked to the balcony and dialed the landlord. 5 minutes later, she returned, her expression grim. What happened? Did the landlord refuse to rent it to us? Zhou Yuqin asked. Zhang Xia replied, exasperated, the landlord decided yesterday to live in France, so this apartment is for sale only. For sale? Zhou Yuqin raised an eyebrow. How much? He was quite fond of the apartment's location and decor, and if the price was right, he would be interested in purchasing it. A firm price of 45 million, including a spacious storage room underground and 3 parking spaces, Zhang Xia explained. Zhou Yuqin calculated in his mind, barring any unforeseen circumstances, he should be able to earn around 100 million through crude oil futures. Purchasing this apartment would pose no issue, though it might limit his entrepreneurial capital. However, that was not an insurmountable problem. Once he acquired the apartment, he could secure a mortgage from the bank. With this in mind, Zhou Yuqin remarked, Zhang Xia, I heard that this large flat was initially priced at 100,000 per square meter when it first launched. Zhang Xia smiled. You certainly know how to use the word sell effectively. The Lijiang Garden opened 3 years ago at 100,000 per square meter. However, since early last year, land prices in Yunhai City have skyrocketed, with property values continuously rising. If the landlord weren't in a hurry to sell to buy a place in France, 45 million would not be feasible. If it were me, I'd sell for at least 50 million or hold on to it for another 2 or 3 years. Zhou Yuqin asked. Are you suggesting that 45 million is a reasonable price? Zhang Xia replied. It's not about reasonableness, it's a tremendous bargain. Zhou Yuqin, please don't tell me you intend to buy this apartment. Zhou Yuqin touched his nose and said, I have such intentions. Zhang Xia was immediately struck as if by lightning, feeling utterly disheartened. Previously, when Zhou Yuqin had revealed that he spent over 1 million renting a property, She was already astounded. After all, Zhou Yuqin lacked a university diploma and had a criminal record, making it exceedingly difficult for him to find employment after his release. Yet, against such odds, he managed to amass over $1 million. It was truly remarkable. However, it now seemed that this was no longer merely remarkable, but rather astonishingly so. In just 4 years, his net worth exceeded $45 million, which left Zhang Xia with an overwhelming urge to collide with a wall. Was this the prowess of a genius? It was simply too extraordinary. Do you truly intend to purchase this property? Zhang Xia, regaining her composure, asked once more, unsure if she had misheard. I genuinely wish to buy it. However, I require a favor from you. What kind of favor? Please inform the owner that I will need half a month, or at most, 12 days, to gather the $45 million to complete the transaction. If he is concerned, I can offer $300,000 as a deposit. Should I fail to provide the $45 million within 12 days, that $300,000 will belong to the owner. During this period, I would like to reside here. Zhang Xia pondered for a moment and replied, regardless of the circumstances, the owner stands to gain, so I believe he will agree. However, I do not quite understand why you need 12 days. Zhou Yuqin explained, we studied finance at Yunhai University. If we cannot apply our knowledge in the financial markets, wouldn't it be a waste? Zhang Xia suddenly understood, saying, I see. You have invested all your money in the stock market. Zhou Yuqin clarified, no. It is in crude oil futures. Zhang Xia, you are the first classmate I have encountered in the past 5 years. It must be fate. I wish to offer you a lucrative opportunity. I wonder if you dare to accept it? Being exceptionally intelligent, Zhang Xia replied, crude oil futures? Zhou Yuqin nodded, saying, entrust me with all your funds for trading, and in 12 days, I shall provide you with a 20% return. There are still 5 hours until the bank closes this afternoon, so you may contemplate this thoroughly. If you are unwilling to take this risk, simply consider that I never spoke. Zhang Xia remained silent for a moment, and then smiled. Is this a test of my trust in you? A 20% return sounds somewhat intimidating. Zhou Yuqin reassured her, no rush. First, let's finalize the property matter. All right. Zhang Xia called the owner again. After explaining Zhou Yuqin's payment method, the owner readily agreed. 30,000 for 12 days. Anyone would be able to wait for that. Upon returning to the agency, Zhang Xia printed 2 copies of the sales contract. Zhou Yuqin signed his name at the designated spot. But the owner is in France. How can he sign the contract? Will he return? No need. The true owner of this spacious apartment is his father. He is merely responsible for the rental and sale. I estimate that the old gentleman will arrive in half an hour. Indeed, half an hour later, a distinguished man in his 60s entered the agency. While the old gentleman reviewed the sales contract, Zhou Yuqin took the opportunity to examine the property deed he brought, confirming that the apartment had no ownership issues. After the old man signed, the 3 went to the bank, where Zhou Yuqin transferred the 30,000 to his account. I have decided to entrust you, this financial genius, with my investment in crude oil futures. After seeing off the old gentleman, Zhang Xia turned to Zhou Yuqin solemnly. Zhou Yuqin, intrigued, inquired, what makes you trust me so much? Zhang Xia shrugged. Firstly, our relationship as classmates, and secondly, you just paid 30,000. Zhou Yuqin, realizing her implication, understood that if he were a fraud, he would never have entrusted 30,000 to the old man without assurance that Zhang Xia would invest. Should she choose not to invest, he would incur significant losses. As for their past as classmates, while it might hold some weight, it was unlikely to be substantial, especially considering they hadn't seen each other in 5 years, and he had a criminal past. Zhou Yuqin asked, how much can you invest? Zhang Xia held up 2 fingers, saying, 2 million. Zhou Yuqin raised an eyebrow and chuckled. Were you feigning poverty earlier? Zhang Xia replied, that 2 million is my last reserve. If you lose, I will find myself on the streets. Zhou Yuqin regarded her thoughtfully. I will write you an IOU. Zhang Xia shook her head. No need. Trust is built on confidence. If you are indeed deceiving me, an IOU would be meaningless. Conversely, if you are genuinely helping me out of camaraderie, you would return my money even without one. Zhou Yuqin admired Zhang Xia's courage and wisdom. Her courage lay in her willingness to entrust him with 2 million for investment, while her wisdom was apparent in her refusal of the IOU. Instead, discreetly recording their conversation on her phone. Since entering the bank, Zhang Xia's phone had been continuously recording, with the transfer and the recording. Even if Zhou Yuqin wished to renege, it would be futile. Once legal proceedings commenced, the court would undoubtedly rule in Zhang Xia's favor, while maintaining their friendship. She had effectively protected herself. This old classmate exhibited considerable emotional intelligence. Zhou Yuqin earnestly said, thank you for your trust. In 12 days, I will return 240,000. Shortly thereafter, Zhang Xia transferred 2 million to Zhou Yuqin's account. It was now noon, and Zhou Yuqin invited Zhang Xia to a fine restaurant for a meal. After dining, they returned to the agency. Zhang Xia eagerly assisted Zhou Yuqin in moving items from the van into the new apartment. Upon seeing Zhou Yuqin's collection of over 300 books, which had clearly been perused countless times, Zhang Xia felt a profound admiration for him. No wonder he had succeeded. This was the reason. After Zhang Xia departed, Zhou Yuqin connected his laptop to the internet and accessed the Shatai Futures platform. Noticing that his earnings had reached over 7 million, Zhou Yuqin smiled slightly and promptly transferred the 2 million Zhang Xia had given him into his account, applying for leverage once again. However, this time he sought the maximum allowable leverage of 10 times, rather than the previous 5. Initially, Zhou Yuqin thought he would need to wait 6 hours for approval. Yet to his surprise, his application was approved in just 10 minutes, and no margin was collected. Zhou Yuqin speculated that the funds in his account played a crucial role. Without hesitation, he utilized the entirety of the 20 million to take a long position in crude oil. In truth, crude oil futures, like stocks, fluctuate back and forth. Unless substantial capital is involved, it is nearly impossible for prices to ascend or descend in a straight line. Should Zhou Yuqin choose to profit from these minor fluctuations, he could easily enhance his returns by over 30%. However, such actions might attract the platform's attention, risking his capture and subsequent dissection for research. Even the legendary investor can merely perceive the overarching trends. Yet those who possess the ability to discern the subtle fluctuations have been absent in the past, present, and will remain so in the future. Having successfully navigated the intricacies of crude oil futures investment, Zhou Yuqin shut down his computer and drove the rented van to the Xiaxin bookstore. Xiaxin bookstore stands as the largest chain bookstore in Xia country, replete with every genre of literature imaginable, both domestic and international. Zhou Yuqin made his way to the information section and procured 12 substantial volumes aimed at enhancing his skills in network hacking, including titles such as Advanced Linux Penetration, Counter-Hack Storm, and XSS Cross-Site Scripting Analysis. He believed that by diligently studying these tomes, he could elevate his hacking prowess to a masterful level. The bookstore owner regarded Zhou Yuqin's selections with a hint of surprise, but refrained from commenting. After completing the purchase, he placed the books in the van and headed straight to the hospital. "Why are you here so early today?" Upon glancing at his watch, he noted it was only 4 in the afternoon, and a flicker of astonishment crossed Shun Jingyun's lovely face. Aside from Shun Jingyun, a handsome young man sat in a chair by the bedside, holding an album as he appeared to narrate a story to the little girl, Xiaoya. The table was adorned with an array of fruits, a large bouquet of flowers, and a plush doll similar to the one Zhou Yuqin had just acquired. It was evident that these items were brought by this young man, who was likely either a relative of the Shun family or a suitor of Shun Jingyun. Zhou Yuqin remarked, "I have completed my matters and came early to spend some time with the little one." The previously drowsy Xiaoya perked up at the sound of Zhou Yuqin's voice, joyfully exclaiming, "Daddy." The handsome young man stiffened, casting a wary glance at Zhou Yuqin. Zhou Yuqin approached the bedside, gently caressing the little girl's face, and said, "My dear, let your mother rest at home. Daddy will keep you company, all right?" Xiaoya pouted and replied, "No, I want both Daddy and Mommy to be with me." Zhou Yuqin chuckled, "You are quite greedy." After planting a kiss on Xiaoya's forehead, he turned to the young man and inquired, "Sir, are you here to visit Xiaoya?" Shun Jingyun promptly introduced, "This is my colleague, Mr. Yang Xuelin, Deputy Director of the Yunhai Taxation Office, who has taken the time to see our daughter today. Director Yang, this is Mr. Zhou Yuqin, the father of my daughter." Upon hearing Shun Jingyun refer to Xiaoya as our daughter, Zhou Yuqin instantly grasped her intention. This Yang Xuelin must be a suitor of Shun Jingyun, and it was evident that she did not reciprocate his feelings. However, due to their colleague relationship, she was reluctant to outright refuse him for fear of straining their rapport. With Zhou Yuqin's arrival, she had cleverly adopted a more intimate tone to mislead Yang Xuelin into thinking their relationship was closer, subtly encouraging him to withdraw without confrontation. Zhou Yuqin couldn't help but admire Shun Jingyun's emotional intelligence. Indeed, upon hearing Shun Jingyun's introduction, Yang Xuelin's expression shifted slightly. "Greetings, Director Yang," Zhou Yuqin said as he circled the bed and extended his hand with a smile, casting a lingering glance at Shun Jingyun as he passed her. Yang Xuelin shook Zhou Yuqin's hand and remarked, "Mr. Zhou, after 4 years of working with Jingyun, this is my first time meeting you. You've certainly kept a low profile." Zhou Yuqin laughed heartily. "I was working out of town until recently." Yang Xuelin inquired, "What field are you in, Mr. Zhou?" "Finance," Zhou Yuqin replied. Concerned that Yang Xuelin might press further, Shun Jingyun stepped forward and linked her arm with Zhou Yuqin's, saying, "Xiaoya seems a bit restless in the ward. She wants to go outside for a walk." Zhou Yuqin paused, asking, "What did the doctor say?" "The doctor approved it. But we can only stay out for half an hour at most," Shun Jingyun answered. Zhou Yuqin nodded, "Very well. Director Yang, we shall continue our conversation another time. I will take the child outside to bask in the sun." Yang Xuelin said, "We have some matters to attend to at the taxation office. I should be on my way." Zhou Yuqin replied, "Then let us descend together." Jingyun, "It's a bit breezy outside. Please wrap Xiaoya in a coat." "All right." Shen Jingyun agreed. Before long, Zhou Yuqin was carrying Xiaoya while Shen Jingyun brought along a thermos of warm water as they descended the stairs with Yang Xuelin. After Yang Xuelin departed, Shen Jingyun turned to Zhou Yuqin and expressed her gratitude. "Thank you." Zhou Yuqin responded, "No need for thanks. I believe it would be best if we adjusted our forms of address. You may call me Yuqin, and I shall call you Jingyun. It sounds more intimate that way." Shen Jingyun nodded in agreement. "Okay." Xiaoya tilted her head, puzzled, and asked, "Daddy, aren't you supposed to call mommy wife, and mommy calls you husband?" Shen Jingyun was momentarily taken aback, seemingly unprepared for Xiaoya's knowledge of such terms, and asked, "Xiaoya, who told you that?" "Many of my classmates say so," Xiaoya replied. Shen Jingyun was at a loss for how to explain this to Xiaoya, casting a pleading glance at Zhou Yuqin for help. Zhou Yuqin gently explained, "Sweetheart, every family is different, and so are their ways of addressing one another. Think about how your grandparents refer to each other." Xiaoya pondered seriously and said, "It seems grandpa calls grandma teacher Dai, while grandma often calls grandpa old shun." Zhou Yuqin chuckled. "You see, not everyone refers to their spouse as husband or wife. However, my dear, you must remember that how daddy and mommy or grandpa and grandma address each other is not important. What truly matters is our immense love for you." Xiaoya nodded. "I love you both very, very much." Zhou Yuqin replied, "But your love for daddy cannot possibly surpass daddy's love for you." Xiaoya pouted, asserting, "No, I definitely love daddy more." The father and daughter playfully debated the topic, while Shen Jingyun walked behind them, her face adorned with a smile. The setting sun cast long shadows of the trio, stretching across the ground. Time flew, and within a week, Zhou Yuqin returned home from the hospital. Immediately retreating to his study, he powered on his computer and accessed the Shanghai Futures platform. Previously, he had set the selling price for crude oil at 43,035 yuan. And last night it had surpassed this value, with the stop price now set at 43,982 yuan. Gazing at the sum of 64,508,267 yuan in his account, Zhou Yuqin's face lit up with a radiant smile. After deducting the principal of 21.2 million yuan, his recent bullish operation had garnered him over 42 million yuan. Yet, this was not the end. He was poised to initiate a short position. Zhou Yuqin examined the exchange rate between the Chinese yuan and the US dollar, noting a difference of approximately 5% compared to before. Based on the foreign crude oil futures curve chart provided by his predictive scroll and the current exchange rate, he calculated that the peak price for crude oil was likely to reach 452 yuan, with a margin of error not exceeding 1%. To be prudent, he decided to set the short selling price at 445 yuan. To maximize his returns, Zhou Yuqin applied for a 10-fold leverage on the Shanghai Futures platform. This decision stemmed from the curve chart indicating that in the coming 4 days, the maximum fluctuation range for crude oil futures would not exceed 3%, implying a steady downward trajectory for prices. Any fluctuations would merely be the futile struggles of trapped capital. Suddenly, Zhou Yuqin's phone rang. "Hello, this is Zhou Yuqin." "Who is this?" "Greetings, Mr. Zhou. I am Zhuang Wenbin, the head of leverage review at the Shanghai Futures platform. How may I assist you today?" "Mr. Zhou, I am reaching out to confirm your recent application for a 10-fold leverage. May I verify that this request is indeed initiated by you?" "Yes, it is I." Within less than a week, the price of crude oil surged from 266 yuan to nearly 440 yuan. "I believe it has peaked, and I intend to apply for 10-fold leverage through your platform to short it." "Mr. Zhuang, is this action in compliance with regulations?" "Absolutely, it is permissible. I simply did not anticipate your candor. You have been forthcoming about your operations." "Ha. Mr. Zhuang, please do not follow my lead in shorting, as this is merely my personal opinion. Should my judgment prove erroneous, I would not wish to bear the responsibility for your potential losses. Extreme honesty is indeed impregnable. Zhou Yuqin speaks the truth only to ensure that his financial gains are justified, lest the Shanghai Futures platform grows suspicious. Our staff is prohibited from engaging in futures trading, as per regulations. Mr. Zhou, you are among our most esteemed clients. 10-fold leverage is granted, but it necessitates a margin of 15%. Is that acceptable?" "Yes, that is agreeable." "Very well, I shall expedite your approval." In less than 5 minutes, the Shanghai Futures platform sanctioned Zhou Yuqing's application. After deducting the 15% margin, Zhou Yuqing's available funds amount to 55 million, with 10-fold leverage totaling 5 billion. Without hesitation, Zhou Yuqing set the short price at 445 yuan. With 5 billion at his disposal, he could acquire 36 million barrels of crude oil. According to the chart in his mind, the earliest projection for reaching the price of 445 yuan is at 9:30 p.m. tonight. Hence Zhou Yuqing remained unhurried. After establishing the short price for crude futures, Zhou Yuqing closed his computer. A fleeting thought brought forth his attribute panel. Player, Zhou Yuqing physique, 14, normal is 10, spirit, 10, normal is 10, attribute points, 18 skills, Xingyi Quan, master level 15, hacking, proficient level 66. Culinary arts, proficient level 99, items, futures prediction scroll, currently in use, true scroll, 1 item. Understanding scroll, duration 30 days. The understanding scroll was a reward obtained by Chun Haoyu from Shun Jingyun's task. Having resolved his housing issues, Zhou Yuqing had little else to attend to, spending nearly all his time in the hospital room. He exhibited immense patience with Xiao Yeye, either narrating stories or engaging her in games, bringing endless laughter to the little girl. Shun Jingyun observed this with quiet acceptance of Zhou Yuqing's presence. Their relationship evolved from initial awkwardness to one of friendly banter. In other words, through this period of interaction, Shun Jingyun genuinely acknowledged Zhou Yuqing. Thus, the system's task was deemed accomplished. The system rewarded Zhou Yuqing with 5 attribute points and an understanding scroll, duration 30 days. The understanding scroll is a formidable item within the game, significantly enhancing a player's comprehension abilities. Regardless of how complex the knowledge, a mere glance suffices for complete understanding, along with the ability to apply it flexibly. This understanding scroll, coupled with Zhou Yuqing's near photographic memory, could be described as a tremendous boon. Due to his continuous presence in the hospital with the child, Zhou Yuqing had little time for reading. Thus he refrained from utilizing the understanding scroll. He planned to activate it after Xiao Ye's discharge for optimal effectiveness. Perhaps within half a month, his hacking skills could attain the master level. Just then, Zhou Yuqing's phone rang. It was a call from Shun Jingyun. He promptly answered. "Hello, Daddy, I have great news for you." Upon hearing Xiao Ye's sweet and clear voice, a smile involuntarily graced Zhou Yuqing's lips. "My dear, what is this delightful news? Do share. Guess what? If you get it right, Yeye will reward you. Then you must first tell Daddy what the reward is. Yeye will give you a kiss." "No, that reward is too meager. It must be at least 3 kisses." "All right, hurry and guess. I guess little Yeye will be discharged today, is that right?" Yesterday afternoon, the doctor conducted a comprehensive examination on little Yeye, and the results will be available this morning. Since you mentioned good news, it must mean the doctor has approved her discharge. "Oh, Daddy, how did you guess?" "Because Daddy is clever. Will you come to pick me up?" "That is a given. I shall be there immediately." After changing his clothes, Zhou Yuqing rushed downstairs and drove swiftly to the hospital in his van. Upon entering the ward, he found not only Shun Jingyun, but also Shun Chenggang and Dai Wan. During this time, Zhou Yuqing had frequently seen Dai Wan, but had seldom encountered Shun Chenggang. Their interactions summed to merely 4 brief meetings, with less than 5 exchanged words. However, compared to their initial encounter, Shun Chenggang's demeanor towards Zhou Yuqing had softened somewhat. At least he no longer regarded him with furrowed brows and disdain. Dai Wan remained gentle and amiable, speaking courteously, maintaining an excellent balance of distance, neither making Zhou Yuqing feel neglected nor overly familiar. In contrast to the forthright Shun Chenggang, Zhou Yuqing found this professor to be the more formidable challenge. Gaining her recognition and approval would likely not be an easy feat. Daddy, spotting Zhou Yuqing entering, Xiao Yeye, nestled in Shun Chenggang's arms, immediately reached out to him. Shun Chenggang, with a sigh, remarked, "Yeye, can't you let Grandpa hold you a little longer?" In a pitiful tone, Xiao Yeye replied, "Grandpa, you've held me for quite a while. I want Daddy to hold me." Shun Chenggang sighed again, conceding, "All right." Zhou Yuqing reached out to take Xiao Yeye into his embrace, saying, "My dear, don't you owe me a reward? I shall deliver it now." Xiao Yeye wrapped her arms around Zhou Yuqing's neck and pecked his cheek 3 times, akin to a woodpecker. Zhou Yuqing wiped the drool from his face, feigning annoyance. "You little rascal, did you intentionally slobber on my face?" "Ha! Daddy, you fell for it." With the prank successfully executed, Xiao Yeye's eyes squinted with laughter. Observing the playful interaction between father and daughter, Shun Chenggang quietly sighed. Soon, Dai Wan and Shun Jingyun had packed their belongings. "I'll handle the suitcase." Zhou Yuqing handed Xiao Yeye to Shun Chenggang while he carried one suitcase out. Shun Jingyun promptly followed, saying, "My car is in the underground parking lot." Zhou Yuqing replied, "I am aware. My van is parked right next to yours." Upon reaching the underground parking, Zhou Yuqing placed the suitcase in the back of his van, stating, "I will follow behind you to learn the way home." Shun Jingyun nodded in agreement. Observing the two, Shun Chenggang placed Xiao Yeye in the baby seat of Shun Jingyun's car, saying, "Teacher Dai, I will ride with Zhou Yuqing. Please look after the child." Dai Wan gently tugged at Shun Chenggang's arm and whispered in his ear, "Yuqing is a fine young man. You should temper your temper and not go too far." "Understood," Shun Chenggang replied, taking his seat in the passenger seat of Zhou Yuqing's van. The two vehicles drove out of the hospital, one after the other. Along the way, Shen Chenggang rolled down the window, lit a cigarette, and casually inquired, "What are your thoughts on Jingyun?" Zhou Yuqing, already sensing Shen Chengang's intentions were not benign, replied, "She is beautiful, has an excellent figure, and possesses a graceful yet resilient demeanor. She is decisive, wise, and embodies the perfect balance of softness and strength." Shen Chenggang turned to Zhou Yuqing with a sharp gaze, questioning, "Do you harbor inappropriate feelings for Jingyun?" Unfazed by Shen Chengang's imposing presence, Zhou Yuqing replied calmly, "With a woman of her allure, which man could resist? I am no saint. After spending considerable time with Jingyun, it is impossible not to have some feelings." Shen Chenggang chuckled in disbelief, saying, "You're quite frank. As a man, I am well aware of your little schemes." Zhou Yuqing raised an eyebrow, asking, "My schemes? Do enlighten me." Shen Chenggang sneered, "Using your connection with Xiaoye to win over Jingyun." Zhou Yuqing shook his head, asserting, "I have never thought of it that way." Shen Chenggang scoffed, "You have the intent but lack the courage. You were just claiming to be honest, yet you seem rather hypocritical." Zhou Yuqing responded, "Director Shun, it is best not to jump to conclusions without understanding a person. Indeed, I have developed a slight affection for Jingyun, but I will not pursue her until I achieve success in my endeavors." "Why is that?" Shen Chenggang inquired. Zhou Yuqing replied earnestly, "I am merely a former convict without a stable job. My only path to distinction lies in entrepreneurship. Though I have complete confidence in myself, confidence does not guarantee success. If Jingyun were to be with me and I were to fail, I would be harming both her and her daughter. I cannot be so selfish." Shen Chenggang gazed deeply at Zhou Yuqing before exhaling a puff of smoke out the window, stating, "You are commendable." Zhou Yuqing declared, "The day I win the 10 billion wager will be the day I pursue Jingyun. At that point, regardless of your approval or disapproval, I will not yield." Shen Chenggang fell silent, seemingly unmoved by his words. After a prolonged pause, he finally uttered, "Zhou Yuqing, I hope you succeed." Zhou Yuqing appeared surprised by Shen Chengang's dramatic shift in attitude. However, Shen Chenggang quickly added, "But I will never agree to let Jingyun marry you. You should understand why." Zhou Yuqing indeed understood. One was a former criminal, and the other a police chief. If their families were to intertwine, Shen Chenggang would undoubtedly be the subject of ridicule. After a lifetime of capturing criminals, it would be unbearable for anyone to accept that his daughter chose one. "I will find a way to resolve all issues. If I cannot, I will withdraw voluntarily." At this juncture, Zhou Yuqing paused, suggesting, "Director Shun, my previous thoughts were overly simplistic. Let us amend the wager. Even if I earn 10 billion within 6 months, Xiaoye will still bear the surname Shun until Jingyun is married." Shen Chenggang raised an eyebrow, regarding Zhou Yuqing intently. "Are you sure?" Zhou Yuqing took a deep breath, affirming, "Absolutely. Xiaoye is a little angel brought to me by Jingyun, and I hold a heartfelt gratitude towards her. I do not wish for my presence to bring any adverse effects to your family." Shen Chenggang felt a tremor in his heart, saying, "Zhou Yuqing, you are a true man." Zhou Yuqing smiled, replying, "Thank you for the compliment." Shen Chenggang also smiled, though his heart was filled with mixed emotions. The two fell into contemplative silence, each lost in their own thoughts. Half an hour later, the two vehicles came to a stop in front of Building No. 8 of Mingda Community. Zhou Yuqing exited the car and retrieved his suitcase from the trunk. Shen Chenggang took Xiaoye from Dai Wan's arms and headed upstairs. Xiaoye called out, "Daddy, Mommy and I live on the 3rd floor. Hurry up, don't get lost." Zhou Yuqing smiled, responding, "Got it." Upon reaching the 3rd floor, Shen Jingyun unlocked the door, allowing Zhou Yuqing to step into the home of mother and daughter for the first time. Shen Jingyun's apartment was modest, approximately 80 square meters, featuring 2 bedrooms, a living room, and a bathroom. The layout was somewhat outdated, but the decor was decidedly modern. The flooring, furniture, sofa, and lighting fixtures all boasted top-tier domestic brands, exuding an elegant yet cozy style, impeccably clean and tidy. It was evident that Shen Jingyun had invested considerable effort into renovating the place upon purchasing it. Chapter 19. Zhou Yuqing's Culinary Skills. "Daddy, this is our home. Can you live with us?" Xiaoye asked eagerly, gazing up at Zhou Yuqing after jumping down from Shen Chengang's arms. Both Shen Chenggang and Dai Wan's expressions changed simultaneously, and Shen Jingyun felt a wave of nervousness. Zhou Yuqing picked up Xiaoye and chuckled, "That might not be possible." Xiaoye pouted, tears welling in her eyes as if a storm were brewing. "Why? Don't you like Xiaoye anymore?" Zhou Yuqing quickly thought on his feet. "Because Daddy snores too loudly at night, and it would disturb your and Mommy's sleep." Xiaoye huffed, "Daddy is lying. At the hospital, I didn't hear you snore at all." Zhou Yuqing replied, "Sweetheart, to take care of you, I didn't sleep at all at night. If you don't believe me, I can demonstrate my snoring for you right now." Xiaoye exclaimed, "Okay, hurry and show me." Zhou Yuqing set Xiaoye down, instructing, "Go to the room and close the door. Let us see if you can hear my snoring." All right. Xiaoya seemed intrigued and dashed into the bedroom, shutting the door behind her. Zhou Yuqing took a deep breath, rubbed his vocal cords vigorously, and produced a tremendous sound that reverberated throughout the living room, causing Shen Qinggang, Daiwan, and Shen Jingyan to cover their ears. The sound persisted for about 15 seconds before Zhou Yuqing finally ceased. Shen Jingyun asked in astonishment, "How did you do that?" Zhou Yuqing explained, "I have practiced martial arts. My lung capacity is greater than that of an average person." Inside the bedroom, Xiaoya opened the door, her face a picture of shock. "Daddy, your snoring is louder than thunder. I was so scared just now." Zhou Yuqing inquired, "Could you sleep through that?" Xiaoya shook her head. "The sound is too loud. I definitely couldn't sleep." Zhou Yuqing stated, "Therefore, Daddy can only stay outside. However, I can come to play with Xiaoya every day, as my place is very close. With just one call, I can arrive in 5 minutes." Xiaoya asked, "Really? Can I come see where you live?" Zhou Yuqing affirmed, "Of course. It's not just Daddy's home, it's also Xiaoya's home." Upon hearing this, Xiaoya's eyes sparkled with joy. "That's wonderful. I have 2 homes now." Seeing Xiaoya's adorable expression melted Zhou Yuqing's heart. Daiwan chimed in, "Xiao Zhou, why don't you stay for lunch today? We can celebrate Xiaoya's discharge together." Zhou Yuqing nodded, "Sure. I'll cook." Daiwan was taken aback and asked, "Can you cook?" Zhou Yuqing humbly replied, "I can manage home-cooked meals." Shen Jingyan joked, "It won't be some dark culinary disaster, will it?" Zhou Yuqing shrugged and said, "It shouldn't be as grim as you imagine." Daiwan insisted, "You are our guest, so you cannot cook. How about this? Jingyun and I will handle the kitchen while you entertain Xiaoya." Zhou Yuqing shook his head, stating, "Xiaoya has never tasted my cooking, so let me take charge." With that, he headed straight into the kitchen. Shen Jingyan remarked, "Mom, Dad, please watch the kids. I'll assist him to prevent him from setting the kitchen ablaze." 10 minutes later, Shen Jingyun emerged from the kitchen, her face a canvas of astonishment. Daiwan inquired, "Weren't you going to help him with the cooking? Why are you back?" Shen Jingyun chuckled ruefully, "The skill gap is too vast. I couldn't be of any assistance." Daiwan was taken aback. "Is he really that good? I must see for myself." Upon entering the kitchen, she found Zhou Yuqing donned in an apron, deftly handling a perch. With swift precision, he severed the fish's head, then expertly filleted it, halting just before the tail, carefully removing all the bones. He fashioned the perch into diamond-shaped pieces. The entire process took less than 2 minutes, executed with a clean and unhesitant finesse. Daiwan even sensed an aesthetic quality in his movements. "Are you preparing squirrel fish?" Zhou Yuqing nodded. "Squirrel fish is crispy on the outside, tender on the inside, and sweet and sour. I believe little one will adore it." Daiwan gave him a thumbs up. "I had wanted to make this dish for Xiaoya, but failed miserably due to my lack of knife skills. Your technique is impressive, rivaling that of 5-star chefs. Perhaps I have a natural talent for it." While at the hotel, I secretly observed many chefs at work and later studied videos online, which has yielded some success. Zhou Yuqing replied while slicing potatoes with remarkable speed. Daiwan could only catch glimpses of his rapid movements. In the time it took to exchange a single sentence, he had expertly dealt with an entire potato. Unable to resist, Daiwan approached and inspected a few potato shreds, noting that each was uniform in thickness and width. "Incredible," she thought, silently giving Zhou Yuqing her admiration. Little did she know, this was Zhou Yuqing's first time cooking after achieving a mastery level in culinary skills. Initially apprehensive, he felt a surge of confidence as soon as he grasped the knife, transforming his abilities compared to before. An hour later, Zhou Yuqing presented 6 dishes and a soup at the table: sweet and sour potato shreds, stir-fried cabbage, stir-fried meat, squirrel fish, deep-fried prawns, 9-turn intestines, and tomato mushroom soup. Each dish was visually stunning, particularly the squirrel fish, which resembled a work of art. Shen Jingyun exclaimed, "Just by appearance, I can tell these dishes will be delicious. Yu-chun, if you opened a restaurant, you'd surely prosper." Zhou Yuqing replied, "I cannot bear a lifetime in the kitchen." Xiaoya tilted her head, gazing at the squirrel fish for quite a while, then remarked, "Daddy, this squirrel is so beautiful. Can we not eat it?" Zhou Yuqing laughed. "This is a fish, not a squirrel." Xiaoya retorted, "No, Daddy, you're mistaken. This is clearly a squirrel." Zhou Yuqing picked up his chopsticks, offering a piece of fish to Xiaoya. "Sweetheart, just try a bite, and you'll see." Xiaoya opened her mouth and took a bite. Her eyes instantly sparkled. "So delicious." Daiwan commented, "Of course it's delicious. This is a dish served at state banquets. Little Zhou, I didn't expect you to excel not only in academics, but also in culinary arts. It seems Xiaoya will be quite fortunate." Zhou Yuqing replied, "As long as Xiaoya enjoys the food, that is all that matters. Let us dig in. The dishes will taste less delightful if they cool down." "All right, I'll start with your sweet and sour potato shreds," Shen Jingyan said, picking up a portion. Upon tasting, her eyes lit up. Zhou Yuqing's potato shreds could be aptly described as tangy, crispy, and and delicious. Sweetheart, haven't you always disliked potato shreds? Come, try your daddy's version. It's simply divine, Shun Jingyun encouraged. Really? Xiao Yeye cast a doubtful glance at Shun Jingyun, but ultimately couldn't resist, and reluctantly took a bite. Her eyes widened again, and she exclaimed, Mommy, I want more. Shun Jingyun smiled, of course. Chapter 20. You gave me an angel. Seeing the mother-daughter duo enjoying their meal so heartily, Shin Shingang and Dai Wan also picked up their chopsticks, sampling each of the 6 dishes and sipping the tomato mushroom soup, lavishing praise on Zhou Yuchen's culinary skills. Since Shun Shingang had to work in the afternoon, no one drank alcohol. Perhaps due to Zhou Yuchen's exceptional cooking, by the end of the meal, all the bowls and plates were empty. Even the tomato mushroom soup was finished. Xiao Yeye looked down at her little belly and exclaimed, Mommy, something's wrong. My belly has become so round and big. Shin Jingyan chuckled, that's because you ate too much. Zhou Yuchen affectionately patted her little face, saying, Jingyun, when do you plan to send Xiao Yeye to kindergarten? Before Shin Jingyun could answer, Xiao Yeye chimed in, tomorrow. Zhou Yuchen smiled. You're that eager for school? Xiao Yeye nodded vigorously. I have many good friends there who play with me. Zhou Yuchen said, but Daddy and Mommy can play with you too. Xiao Yeye scrunched her face in disdain. Playing with you is no fun at all. Zhou Yuchen was astonished. Yeye? Didn't you say in the hospital that you love playing with me? Why the change at home? Xiao Yeye giggled. I was just worried you wouldn't keep me company. Zhou Yuchen burst into laughter, scooping Xiao Yeye up and planting a big kiss on her cheek. You clever little girl. Dai Wan, somewhat concerned, asked. Is it all right for Xiao Yeye to start school so soon after being discharged? Shin Jingyan responded, Mom. The doctor said Xiao Yeye is completely recovered and is just like any other child. She can go to school. Xiao Yeye clapped her hands in delight. That is wonderful. I can go to school. Zhou Yuchen said to Shin Jingyun. In that case, from tomorrow onwards, let me take care of picking her up and dropping her off. Shin Jingyun nodded, okay. Seeing Zhou Yuchen voluntarily take on the responsibility of school runs greatly alleviated Shun Jingyun's stress. And although Shun Shingang and Dai Wan did not vocalize their joy, they were exceedingly pleased. Previously, when Xiao Yeye attended kindergarten for 3 months, the logistics of drop-offs and pickups had been a significant worry for Shin Jingyun. The elderly couple wanted to help, but Shun Shingang was even busier than Shin Jingyun. Dai Wan had time, but her driving skills were less than commendable. Any mishap during the journey could lead to significant trouble. Shin Jingyun had been hesitant about hiring a nanny, but now, with Zhou Yuchen, her own father, taking charge, it was undoubtedly a better alternative. After Shin Shingang and Dai Wan left, Zhou Yuchen spent some time playing with Xiao Yeye. Noticing she seemed a bit tired, he carried her around the living room, gently coaxing her to sleep. 5 minutes later, Zhou Yuchen gently placed the sleeping Xiao Yeye on the bed. He carefully tucked her in with a light blanket and cautiously retreated, saying to Shin Jingyun, I will head back now. Once Xiao Yeye wakes up, please bring her over to my place to familiarize her with the home. From now on, I will pick her up every afternoon, and you can come directly after work. Shin Jingyun replied, all right, as Zhou Yuchen changed his shoes and opened the door to leave. Shin Jingyun's soft voice suddenly reached him. Zhou Yuchen? He turned to look at her. She said gently, thank you. Zhou Yuchen was momentarily taken aback, then chuckled softly. Xiao Yeye is also my daughter. After leaving Shin Jingyun's home, Zhou Yuchen went to a nearby mall, purchasing a substantial amount of seafood, vegetables, and various meats, filling both refrigerators in his kitchen. Since moving into the spacious apartment, he had yet to cook. With Shin Jingyun and Xiao Yeye coming over this afternoon, he certainly could not allow the mother and daughter to leave hungry. After spending 2 hours in the kitchen, Zhou Yuchen received a call from Shin Jingyun. He promptly rushed to the community entrance to welcome the two of them into his home. Wow, Daddy, your place is huge. It's like a grand palace. Xiao Yeye exclaimed in awe. Zhou Yuchen asked, do you like it? She nodded eagerly, exclaiming, I love it so much. Shin Jingyun was equally astonished by Zhou Yuchen's luxurious apartment, remarking, the rent must be quite expensive. Zhou Yuchen replied, a bit. I'm currently cooking in the kitchen, so feel free to explore. By the way, the large bedroom on the left is reserved for the two of you. You can rest there if you get tired from playing. Shin Jingyun gave him a meaningful glance and said, got it. Shortly after, Zhou Yuchen heard Xiao Ye's joyful cries from the kitchen. A smile spread across his face. A few days ago, he had overheard Xiao Ye mention that she adored the characters from the 36 Flower Fairies. However, those plush toys were exceedingly expensive, and Shin Jingyun had only bought her 2. Zhou Yuchen, confused, checked his phone and learned that these so-called flower fairies were characters from an animated series, each representing a flower and beloved by little girls. The Mamiya Group, claiming to be the leading toy manufacturer in the summer country, quickly acquired the rights to the flower fairies, producing toys that flew off the shelves, each set selling for an astounding 10,000 yuan. Individually, each fairy cost 400 yuan, a staggering price. Nevertheless, the demand for these toys remained insatiable. Zhou Yuqin had searched numerous toy stores to finally buy Xiaoya a complete set. "Daddy, are the 36 flower fairy plush toys a gift for me?" Xiaoya asked, clutching a peony fairy and looking up at him with wide, expectant eyes. Zhou Yuqin smiled and replied, "Of course, they are for our most adorable Xiaoya." Overjoyed, she jumped up and exclaimed, "Daddy, I love you so much. Lower your head. I want to give you a gift." Zhou Yuqin bent down and asked, "What gift?" Xiaoya leaned in and planted a big kiss on his cheek, saying, "This is the gift. Do you like it?" After pondering for a moment, Zhou Yuqin replied, "I would like it even more if I could receive a few more kisses." "Okay." Xiaoya wrapped her little arms around Zhou Yuqin's neck and showered him with kisses. Zhou Yuqin laughed heartily. Once the affectionate moment ended, Xiaoya excitedly dashed off to play with her plush toys. A while later, Shun Jingyan entered, saying, "Are you really buying a 10,000 yuan toy? Do you have money to burn?" Zhou Yuqin paused for a moment, then responded, "I merely wish to make up for my absence over the past 3 years." Shun Jingyun's expression shifted slightly as she asked, "Are you resenting me for not telling you about the child?" Zhou Yuqin turned to her and earnestly said, "No, I do not resent you. In fact, I am grateful. I appreciate that despite knowing I had been imprisoned, you still chose to give birth to Xiaoya. Other women might have opted to terminate the pregnancy." With that, Zhou Yuqin's face lit up with a radiant smile. "You know what? You have given me an angel." Upon hearing his words, a wave of emotion surged within Shun Jingyun. "I should have told you sooner." Zhou Yuqin replied, "It's not too late now." Shun Jingyun nodded, affirming, "Yes, it is not too late." They exchanged a glance, both breaking into knowing smiles. Half an hour later, after preparing the meal, Zhou Yuqin went to the bedroom to call Shun Jingyun and Xiaoya for dinner. Seeing Xiaoya had scattered the 36 flower fairy toys all over the floor, Zhou Yuqin chuckled, "Sweetheart, you really know how to play." Shun Jingyun chimed in, "That's because you bought too many." Zhou Yuqin quickly clarified, "I mean, it seems I bought too few. There are still many empty spots on the floor." Shun Jingyun was left speechless. This afternoon's meal consisted of 3 dishes and a soup: beef stew with radishes, mashed potatoes, stir-fried celery with meat slices, accompanied by a tofu soup. Gazing at the tofu in the soup resembling cow hair, Shun Jingyun asked, "Is this the renowned Wensi tofu served at state banquets?" Zhou Yuqin affirmed, "Yes. Huaiyang cuisine emphasizes lightness and the preservation of original flavors, ensuring balanced nutrition, making it ideal for children." Shun Jingyun quipped, "With the squirrel fish for lunch and Wensi tofu for dinner, what will be next?" Boiled cabbage and Buddha jumps over the wall. Zhou Yuqin laughed. "As long as you wish to eat it, I can make anything." Shun Jingyun gave him a thumbs up, saying, "You are truly impressive." Zhou Yuqin's culinary skills had left Shun Jingyun in deep admiration. In the midst of their conversation, Xiaoya had already finished the Wensi tofu soup and exclaimed, "Daddy, I want more." Zhou Yuqin picked up the bowl, teasing, "You little glutton." Xiaoya shyly stuck out her tongue, looking adorably bashful. After dinner, Zhou Yuqin and Shun Jingyun took Xiaoya for a stroll around the community. Spotting a few children playing on the slide, Xiaoya excitedly said, "Mommy, I want to play on the slide with them." Shun Jingyun smiled, "Go ahead." With a cheer, Xiaoya dashed over. Before long, she was happily playing with the other children. Laughter ringing through the air, Shun Jingyun gazed at the surrounding greenery and lawns, remarking, "The environment here is indeed much better than where I live." Zhou Yuqin replied, "If you wish, you and Xiaoya could move here." Shun Jingyun's eyes sparkled with intrigue as she playfully asked, "Are you suggesting cohabitation?" Zhou Yuqin replied nonchalantly, "There are 3 rental units in this community. I meant you and Xiaoya could reside in one while I rent another." Shun Jingyun inquired, "What exactly do you do for a living? You seem quite wealthy." Zhou Yuqin shook his head, saying, "I only have 2 million yuan but owe 19 million yuan to others, 10 million of which is high-interest debt. However, I am confident that in 3 days, I will repay all of it and purchase this property valued at 45 million yuan." Upon hearing this, Shun Jingyun immediately deduced Zhou Yuqin's profession, stating, "Finance." Zhou Yuqin praised her, saying, "You are quite astute. I am currently involved in crude oil futures." Shun Jingyun frowned slightly and remarked, "You are gambling." Zhou Yuqin replied, "Everyone in the finance profession is essentially gambling." Shun Jingyun gazed intently at Zhou Yuqin and asked, "What happens if you lose?" Zhou Yuqin's voice grew somber as he responded, "For years ago, when you first met me, I had less than 100 yuan to my name. If I lose, I will simply return to that impoverished state." Confused, Shun Jingyun inquired, "Why must you pursue this path?" After a prolonged silence, Zhou Yuqin finally said, "I lack connections and capital. If I wish to start a business, I must exhaust every means to earn my initial fortune." Shun Jingyun suggested, "Wouldn't it be better to find a stable job?" A hint of bitterness crept into Zhou Yuqin's smile as he replied, "It has been 5 years since I was imprisoned. Throughout this time, I have never returned home." "Do you know why?" Before she could respond, he continued, out of fear. "I am not boasting, but since my school days, I have always been the exemplary child in the eyes of others. In elementary school, middle school, and high school, I consistently achieved top marks, bringing pride to my parents. And my sister regarded me as her idol. But now, I am no longer the high-achieving student of Yunhai University. I am a convict serving a year for intentional injury. You can imagine the scrutiny my parents faced after my incident, transforming me from an admired child into a cautionary tale. If I were to return now, the ordeal would resurface, and my parents would once again endure public scorn. I can endure any humiliation or rebuke, but I cannot bear the thought of my parents being shamed because of me. That is my bottom line. Therefore, only through entrepreneurial success can I redeem myself and restore my parents' respect. As he spoke, Zhou Yuqin's voice quivered, yet his tone was resolute, his gaze unwavering, radiating determination. Shen Jingyun was taken aback by the heavy burden he bore. Feeling a surge of compassion, she softly asked, "Do you miss them?" Zhou Yuqin trembled. An overwhelming wave of longing surged within him. This emotion stemmed from his past, yet he felt it deeply. Tears that had been brimming in his eyes finally cascaded down his cheeks. "I apologize. I must return," he said, completely breaking down. Not wishing to reveal his vulnerability, he lowered his head and hurried away. Watching Zhou Yuqin's forlorn figure, Shen Jingyun sighed softly. After a while, the exuberant little Yaya rushed over and asked, "Mom, where's Dad?" Shen Jingyun replied, "Dad has gone home. We should return as well." Little Yaya inquired, "Which home?" Shen Jingyun, somewhat exasperated, said, "Of course, our previous home." Little Yaya pouted and asked, "Can we go to Dad's?" "No," Shen Jingyun responded. Seeing little Yaya's crestfallen expression, Shen Jingyun's heart softened. "During the week. You can stay at Dad's on Friday and Saturday, but not during school days." Little Yaya's eyes lit up as she eagerly nodded. "Okay." Shen Jingyun took out her phone and called Zhou Yuqin. To her surprise, the phone rang nearby. Zhou Yuqin appeared, holding a bag of cherries, smiling at the mother and daughter. At this moment, his mood had completely recovered. "Dad!" Little Yaya exclaimed, running toward him with her short legs. Concerned she might fall, Zhou Yuqin swiftly moved like the wind, catching her in his arms. "Dad, I have good news. Mom agreed that I can stay with you on Fridays and Saturdays." "Really? That's wonderful," Zhou Yuqin said. "Oh, Dad, what did you buy?" "These are cherries. You and Mom can try them when you get home. If you both like them, I will buy them often." Little Yaya planted a kiss on Zhou Yuqin's cheek and said, "Thank you, Dad. You are the best dad in the world." Standing beside them, Shen Jingyun quipped, "A pound of cherries costs over 200 yuan. This bag must be at least 1,000. Zhou Yuqin replied, "Money is not an issue. As long as Yaya enjoys them, that's what matters. Come, let me take you to the security office to register the license plate." Before long, the security office registered Shen Jingyun's license plate. Chapter 22. Zhuang Wenbin's plea for help holding little Yaya. Zhou Yuqin escorted the mother and daughter to Mingda community before returning home. After taking a shower, he entered his study, opened his computer, and logged into the Shatai Futures platform. It was 9 o'clock sharp, and crude oil futures had just begun trading. As in recent days, the oil prices surged forward without pause. Within 20 minutes, the price Zhou Yuqin had set at 445 yuan was breached, and he shorted a total of 12.36 million barrels of crude oil. About half an hour later, the oil price surpassed 448 yuan. At that moment, shocking news broke globally. Two major oil-producing nations in Asia, under the mediation of the United States, signed a peace agreement, halting a war that everyone believed was imminent. This news obliterated the upward trajectory of crude oil futures, causing prices to plummet from 448.82 yuan, free-falling to 350 yuan, leaving countless individuals and corporations that had bet on rising oil prices completely devastated. In the comments section of the Shatai Futures platform, numerous investors began lamenting their losses. "It's over, my 3.8 million has been liquidated. 3.8 million? I secretly invested over 20 million without my wife knowing, and now it's all gone. Brothers, I'm on the rooftop. See you in the next life." The United States meddled in affairs, and now we're the ones fighting at home. "My wife wants a divorce. What should I do? Urgent." This morning, Zhuang Wenbin, who had been approved for 10 times leverage by Shatai Financial Company, was shocked to see the crude oil prices actually reversing. When Zhou Yuqin transitioned from a long to a short position, he had secretly mocked him, only to realize now that the most foolish one was himself. Unable to resist, Zhuang Wenbin checked Zhou Yuqin's trading records. Good heavens, shorting at 445 yuan, and in just half an hour, he made 120 million. This operation is simply incredible. The more impressive Zhou Yuqin's performance was, the more regretful Zhuang Wenbin felt. If he had heeded Zhou Yuqin's advice and had his wife short crude oil, perhaps they would have achieved financial freedom with this one move. Now, however, all 6 million of his capital was trapped. Individuals like Zhuang Wenbin, who worked in financial institutions, typically engaged in futures and stock trading. To avoid violating company policies, they would allow their family members to operate while they directed from afar. Given the wealth of information they accessed compared to the average person. Fortunately, his wife was cautious and only used 5 times leverage. Otherwise, they would have faced liquidation by now. What should I do? Should I sell? Zhuang Wenbin found himself ensnared in a dilemma. According to the current crude oil prices, should they plummet by another 50 yuan, his investment of 6 million would be entirely obliterated. If he chose to sever his ties in a desperate bid for survival, he would incur a loss of approximately 4 million. Yet, if a fortuitous turn of events were to occur, leading to a rebound in prices, he would be left with an unbearable sense of regret. In this moment of indecision, a thought struck him. Why not consult Zhou Yuchen? Closing the door to his office, Zhuang took out his phone and dialed Zhou Yuchen's number. "Hello, Mr. Zhou," he greeted. Zhou Yuchen, recognizing the importance of fostering a good relationship with the chief of leverage review, had saved Zhuang's contact in his phone. "Congratulations, Mr. Zhou. Your judgment was entirely accurate. I presume you've made quite a profit this time?" Zhou Yuchen, aware that Zhuang could access his trading records, humbly replied, "It was merely a modest gain." Zhuang, displaying utmost sincerity, confessed, "Mr. Zhou, to be candid, my family has also invested in crude oil futures, utilizing 5 times leverage, and we are currently trapped, facing substantial losses. If crude oil were to decline by another 50 yuan, we would lose our entire principal." Zhou Yuchen immediately grasped the reason behind Zhuang's call and responded, "I believe the decline will be significant. A further drop of 50 yuan is certainly plausible." Zhuang quickly inquired, "Do you think the price of crude oil will fall below 300 yuan? Zhou Yuchen affirmed, "The likelihood is exceedingly high. Were I in your position, I would withdraw immediately, augment my principal, and short crude oil with 10 times leverage. Perhaps I could recoup my losses." After a moment of contemplation, Zhuang asked, "Mr. Zhou, at what price would you set to sell your positions?" Knowing that his trading actions could not remain concealed from Zhuang, Zhou Yuchen candidly replied, 305 yuan. "I tend to be cautious. Despite forming a judgment, I prefer to err on the side of conservatism." Zhuang acknowledged, "Your approach is indeed prudent. I shall consider your advice." "Thank you." Zhou Yuchen chuckled, "Not at all. What I do is but conjecture. Even I harbor little confidence in its accuracy. You would do well to proceed with caution." After ending the call, Zhuang closed his eyes, contemplating for a while, and ultimately resolved to place his faith in Zhou Yuchen. He instructed his wife to sell their crude oil long positions immediately and poured all of their assets, an exact total of 8 million, into the market, utilizing 10 times leverage to purchase a substantial number of short positions, setting the same target price of 305 yuan as Zhou Yuchen. With that, he thought, "If I fail, I shall perish." Once the transaction was completed, Zhuang exhaled deeply, hoping that Zhou Yuchen's judgment would prove correct. "Hello, are you all right?" Shortly after speaking with Zhuang, Zhou Yuchen received a call from Shen Jingyan. Confused, he asked, "What could possibly be the matter?" Shen cautiously replied, "I noticed that crude oil futures seem to have plummeted." Zhou Yuchen suddenly understood. It was likely that Shen had been monitoring the news regarding crude oil futures after hearing about his involvement. Concerned for his well-being upon discovering the severe drop, she had reached out. This thought warmed his heart. "Rest assured, prior to the decline, I had converted my positions from long to short. Not only did I avoid losses, but I also made a considerable profit." "That's good to hear. Has Xiao Ye gone to sleep?" Shen inquired. "She may have exhausted herself. She fell asleep within 5 minutes of getting into bed. At her age, being able to eat and sleep well is paramount." What began as a simple greeting turned into a conversation lasting over half an hour, concluding only around 11 o'clock at night. After hanging up, Zhou Yuchen set his phone down, a smile gracing his lips. Looking up at his computer, he noticed the small icon for Hello Communications blinking incessantly in the lower right corner. In his previous life, the instant messaging realm in Xia country was nearly monopolized by a certain small penguin. However, in this world, 2 companies were vying for dominance. One was Hello Communications, represented by a little white bear, and the other was IQ Communications Group, symbolized by a small duck. Both messaging applications offered similar functionalities and had comparable daily active users. In their bid for market share, they competed fiercely, yet neither could claim outright victory. Like many others, Zhou Yuchen had registered for both applications. Upon opening the Hello app, he discovered a message from Wang Jie urging him to log into the National Martial Arts Forum promptly. This forum was established by a large community of martial arts enthusiasts in Xia country to discuss their craft, and Zhou Yuchen was a frequent visitor, though he rarely posted. Upon logging into the forum, he noticed a post that had risen to the top. The title piqued his interest, as it claimed to disclose the Tai Chi visualization method personally authored by the founder of Wudong, Zhang Sanfeng. How intriguing, he mused. Recognizing the tendency of such forums to feature esoteric posts, often cobbled together from Taoist or Buddhist theories, designed to attract attention and earn forum points. Opening the post, he found 3 images, the first 2 pages densely packed with text, and the last featuring a Tai Chi diagram. Calm as water, clear water symbolizes the heart. A gentle breeze stirs not, the surface remains undisturbed. Alone in the bamboo grove, I longingly play my lute. The heart should be tranquil, the spirit should be solitary. When heart and spirit unite, the essence should follow. In the interplay, remain undisturbed amidst myriad changes. The entire Tai Chi visualization method appeared reminiscent of techniques found in fantasy novels for cultivating one's spirit. And Zhou Yuchen even suspected he had encountered similar teachings in a book from his previous life. However, the paper's yellowed hue and the use of traditional characters conveyed a sense of ancient authenticity. Upon finishing the text, Zhou Yuchen's gaze settled on the Tai Chi diagram. Suddenly, a notification from the all-purpose development system echoed in his mind. Congratulations, player, you have discovered the Taoist method of entering a meditative state. Entering a meditative state? What is that? Zhou Yuchen immediately attempted to contact the system, but it remained unresponsive, as if in slumber. What a predicament, he thought, resolutely activating the Tai Chi visualization method with a real scroll. Before him on the computer screen appeared a line of text. Item, Tai Chi visualization method era, early Ming dynasty function, enhances mental acuity, nurtures body and mind, enabling ordinary individuals to enter a meditative state through visualization of the Tai Chi diagram. 1 hour of meditation equates to 6 hours of deep sleep. The final sentence of the real scroll's description captured Zhou Yuchen's interest. Knowing that an individual typically spends about 1/3 of their life sleeping, mastering this Tai Chi visualization method could significantly reduce sleep time and, by extension, prolong life. Zhou Yuchen's face brightened with excitement as he continued to read. The post's author, after sharing the 3 images, left a note. Taoist meditation and Buddhist Zen are fundamentally aimed at achieving a meditative state, thereby enhancing one's vitality and spirit. I have practiced the Tai Chi visualization method for 6 months, and 3 months ago, I inadvertently entered a meditative state for an hour. Upon awakening, I felt invigorated and refreshed, indicating the authenticity of this Tai Chi visualization method. Perhaps due to my limited insight and excessive distractions, I was only successful this once. I now share the Tai Chi visualization method with all, hoping that fellow practitioners may achieve success. The comments section has amassed thousands of layers, and if one were to describe it in a single word, it would be chaotic. There are all manner of opinions expressed. Nonsense. This is undoubtedly a fabrication. For the sake of points, people are willing to say anything. The original poster is quite astute, refraining from mentioning the matter of cultivation techniques. Taoist meditation is genuine. Buddhist Zen is authentic, yet the Tai Chi visualization method is false. The verdict is pronounced. The majority of comments are filled with vitriol directed at the poster, reflecting disbelief in the authenticity of the claims. Sensing the overwhelming malice, the poster hastily deleted the post. Fortunately, Zhou Yuchen, with his remarkable memory, retained the incantation for the Tai Chi visualization, and the image of the Tai Chi diagram was indelibly etched in his mind. Zhou Yuchen sent a message to Wang Jie, informing him of his intention to experiment with the Tai Chi visualization method. Wang Jie did not respond, likely having already retired for the night. Ever since Wang's wife gave birth to their son 2 years ago, he seemed to have transformed entirely. Not only does he cook for the family daily, but he also no longer goes out at night, epitomizing the model of a devoted husband. Zhou Yuchen often teased him about this, but with the arrival of little Yeye, he now fully comprehends Wang Jie's transformation. Were he in Wang Jie's position, he would likely behave similarly, for there exists nothing more paramount than a child. Shutting down his computer, Zhou Yuchen settled cross-legged on his bed, silently reciting the incantation while visualizing the Tai Chi diagram in his mind. Time slipped away, and he found himself entering an extraordinary state, where a Tai Chi diagram spun endlessly before him, as if he himself had ceased to exist. Caught in a liminal state between slumber and wakefulness. If he were asleep, he would not be able to see the diagram. If awake, his consciousness seemed completely entranced. Thus, he disregarded everything else, fixating solely on the diagram. After what felt like an eternity, the Tai Chi diagram finally came to a halt, and Zhou Yuchen awakened. Opening his eyes. Ding. Congratulations, player, for enhancing your mental strength through the cultivation of the Tai Chi visualization method. You have been awarded 3 attribute points and 1 lottery opportunity. Congratulations, player, your attribute points have exceeded 20, meeting the conditions to unlock the system store. Would you like to open the system store? Upon hearing the system's notification, Zhou Yuchen promptly accessed his attribute panel. Player, Zhou Yuchen physique, 14, average person 10, mental, 103, average person 10, attribute points, 21 skills, Xingyi Quan, Master level 15, Hacking skills, Proficient level 68. Culinary arts, Proficient level 99, Tai Chi visualization, Mental cultivation technique. Items, Futures prediction scroll, currently in use. Understanding scroll, duration 30 days, during this period. Zhou Yuqin had refrained from using his attribute points to enhance his physique and mental acuity, in anticipation of unlocking the system store. The store contained an array of peculiar items, accessible upon spending 20 attribute points. Had he known he would traverse into this world with the system, he would never have set the unlocking condition so high. Agreeing to open the system store, a golden light enveloped him, and the word system store appeared beneath his attribute panel. With a mere thought, Zhou Yuqin activated the store, and a plethora of items materialized, rotating in a circular display. With each revolution, the types of items transformed. I seek nuclear fusion technology materials. Zhou Yuqin silently wished, and the wheel immediately halted. Before him lay an enormous tome titled New Nuclear Fusion Technology, priced at 100,000 attribute points. Good grief, that is exorbitant, Zhou Yuqin exclaimed inwardly. Since his arrival in this world, his total attribute points barely amounted to 50. The system, however, absurdly priced the new nuclear fusion technology at 100,000 points. He suspected he would never accumulate such a sum in his lifetime, let alone in 10 lifetimes. I desire lithography machine development technology materials. A flash of light revealed another hefty book, titled Lithography Machine Development, priced at a mere 8,000 attribute points, far more reasonable than the nuclear fusion technology. Chapter 24. The system store is quite the dilemma. Zhou Yuqin speculated that perhaps Earth had yet to develop nuclear fusion technology. While it had successfully created lithography machines capable of fabricating 2 nanometers chips, the former is non-existent and thus commands a higher price, while the latter is readily available, making it more affordable. To validate his hypothesis, he inquired about cancer treatment drug development materials, which exceeded 80,000 attribute points, while other drug development materials already existing on Earth were priced at only a few thousand points. Zhou Yuqin felt confident in his conclusions, though the attribute points required for items in the store were excessively high. At the current rate of earning points, even a century of effort would not yield 1,000 points. Zhou Yuqin was certain there must be a method to acquire substantial attribute points. Otherwise, the system store would be a mere trinket. What could it be? After much contemplation, he could not discern a solution. Frustrated, he opted for the lottery. The spinning lottery wheel promptly appeared before him. Stop. The wheel halted, shimmering with light, and an item materialized in his inventory. Loperamide development technology. Damn. Zhou Yuqin felt utterly disheartened. What was loperamide? It was a medication for treating diarrhea. There were likely over 80 varieties of similar medications worldwide. For Zhou Yuqin, the development of such a drug held no utility. He had not anticipated that items from the system store would also appear in the lottery. Had he known, he would not have amassed points to unlock the system store in the short term. Comparatively, he would have preferred to draw various functional scrolls. However, considering the potential to eventually draw extraordinary items like nuclear fusion technology, Zhou Yuqin felt somewhat reassured. Closing the system, Zhou Yuqin took out his phone, glancing at the time. It was not yet 2 o'clock. This meant he had only been in meditation for an hour, yet he felt invigorated and mentally sharp, devoid of any drowsiness. If he could substitute meditation for sleep in the future, he would gain an additional 5 to 6 hours each day, significantly enhancing his mental acuity. Reflecting on this, Zhou Yuqin felt a sense of gratitude. He was fortunate to have seen Wang Jie's message. Otherwise, he would have missed such a remarkable mental cultivation technique. Zhou Yuqin poured himself a glass of water and returned to his study, retrieving a hefty tome on hacking, anticipating that little Yaya would attend school the following day. Granting him ample time to study, Zhou Yuqin chose to utilize the understanding scroll. Instantly, he felt as though a refreshing wave of ice-cold water surged through his brain. His mind became more active, and his thoughts sharper, allowing him to resolve numerous questions he had previously encountered in his studies almost instantaneously. Without wasting any time, Zhou Yuqin dove into earnest study, continuing for over 3 hours. It was only when he turned to the final page that he realized dawn had broken. Opening his attribute panel, Zhou Yuqin discovered that his hacking skills had reached an impressive 80% proficiency. This meant that within the span of less than 4 hours, his expertise had surged by 12%, an exhilarating achievement. After stretching and changing into athletic attire, he made his way to the community square to practice. The square was already bustling with over 20 individuals engaged in various forms of exercise. Most participants were elderly, with a few middle-aged individuals in their 40s. While not a single young person was present, some were jogging, others practicing Tai Chi, some performing Bajuanjin, and a few dancing. The expansive square showcased at least 4 or 5 distinct forms of exercise. Zhou Yuqin surveyed the area, particularly focusing on the elderly individuals practicing Tai Chi and Bajuanjin. He noted that their movements resembled the popular online routines designed for health and fitness, lacking any lethal prowess. This was understandable. After all, it was improbable to encounter hidden masters of martial arts in reality. Redirecting his gaze to a corner on the eastern side, he faced the rising sun and assumed the three-body posture. As a master of Xingyi Quan, Zhou Yuqin's execution of this stance, though visually similar to that of ordinary practitioners, was fundamentally different. He emanated a sense of stability and gravity. His upper body stood tall like a pine, seemingly piercing the heavens, while his feet were firmly planted like mountains, embodying a profound connection to the earth, a stance that conveyed an aura of immense strength. After standing for approximately half an hour, Zhou Yuqin exhaled deeply, releasing a long breath that lasted a full 3 minutes. Upon opening his eyes, he noticed the elderly man who had been observing him for 20 minutes and smiled, inquiring, "Sir, you've been watching me for quite some time. Is there something you wish to discuss?" The elderly gentleman appeared to be around 70, with graying hair and a gaunt face, yet his spirit was vibrant. His eyes gleamed with a sharpness reminiscent of a knife, exuding an air of authority akin to a seasoned tiger. Judging by his presence, it was evident that this gentleman was no ordinary individual. He likely held a significant position in the military before retiring. "Young man, you are practicing the three-body posture of Xingyi, correct?" The elder's use of young man to refer to Zhou Yuqin left a favorable impression on him. Many elders tend to refer to younger individuals as youth, which often carries a condescending tone, making Zhou Yuqin feel somewhat uncomfortable. However, the term young man conveyed equality and respect. "Indeed, I am practicing the three-body posture of Xingyi," Zhou Yuqin affirmed, giving the elder a thumbs up. "Before my retirement, I witnessed some soldiers proficient in Xingyi performing this posture, but none could match your execution." "How so?" The elder scratched his head, pondering for a moment before replying. "It's just a feeling, without any solid basis." Zhou Yuqin smiled and replied, "Once the three-body posture reaches a certain level, one begins to focus on the essence rather than mere form. The reason you find them lacking is that their cultivation is still shallow, and they have yet to develop their own unique essence." The elder raised an eyebrow, intrigued, and asked, "So, you have indeed cultivated your own essence?" Zhou Yuqin chose not to respond directly, instead saying, "You may judge for yourself." "My apologies, sir, but I must return home to prepare breakfast for my little girl." The elder inquired, "Will you come here to practice every morning?" Zhou Yuqin nodded, affirming, "Yes." A smile crept across the elder's face as he replied, "Then I shall see you tomorrow." "Very well," Zhou Yuqin agreed before turning to leave. As he walked away, the elder murmured, "It seems this young man is unaware of my true identity. Old Zhao, hurry up and practice Tai Chi." An elder called from a distance. The elder waved his hand in acknowledgement, responding, "Coming right away." Had Shun Qinggang been present, he would have recognized this elder as Zhao Shenghua, the commander of the Yunhai military region. Although retired, his reputation in the military remained formidable. Every year during the National Day Parade, Zhao Shenghua was invited to observe from a prominent position atop the Yindu City Tower, situated remarkably close to the center. His son was even more distinguished, being the esteemed Zhao Yanjing of Yunhai City. It is worth noting that Yunhai City holds a status in Xia country akin to that of the former Shanghai, and to become a prominent figure there, one would typically need to hold at least the position of deputy leader. Chapter 25. The first day of school. Unaware of the elder's distinguished status, Zhou Yuqin returned home to prepare 3 baskets of beef soup dumplings, followed by a pot of wincy tofu soup. The beef had been minced the previous afternoon, and to ensure his little girl could digest it easily, he chose tenderloin, finely chopped to a pulp. Although this would slightly compromise the texture, it was necessary for her young age. As for the wincy tofu soup, it was a request made by Shun Jingyun during their phone conversation the night before. The little girl had expressed her fondness for it multiple times upon returning home. Zhou Yuqin, eager to fulfill her wishes, devoted himself to the task. 40 minutes later, the dumplings and soup were complete. Zhou Yuqin placed the wincy tofu soup into a thermos and carried a large bag containing the steaming dumplings down the stairs. Soon, he arrived at Shun Jingyun's door and knocked. Creak. The door opened, revealing a naturally beautiful face devoid of makeup. Shun Jingyun welcomed him inside, saying, "You're here quite early." "Yaya isn't up yet." Zhou Yuqin removed his slippers, replying, "No problem. I'll take care of little Yaya while you eat and prepare for work." Shun Jingyun, surprised, exclaimed, "And you made a portion for me as well?" Zhou Yuqin rolled his eyes and replied, "Of course, when I cook, I naturally prepare for 3. Shun Jingyun smiled. "Then thank you, Mr. Zhou." Following their phone conversation the previous night, their relationship had progressed significantly, allowing for a more casual exchange of words. Zhou Yuqin asked, "May I enter the bedroom?" Shun Jingyun quickly replied, "I think I should go in instead." The bedroom contained many of Shun Jingyun's personal belongings. making it inappropriate for Zhou Yuqin to enter. Zhou Yuqin shrugged, saying, "I'll head to the kitchen." When Shen Jingyun emerged with the groggy little Yaya, Zhou Yuqin had already set the beef soup dumplings and wincy tofu soup on the table. "Daddy." Upon seeing Zhou Yuqin, little Yaya immediately opened her arms wide. Zhou Yuqin approached and lifted her, planting a hearty kiss on her cheek, exclaiming, "Sweetheart, I made your favorite wincy tofu soup." Little Yaya's eyes sparkled with delight as she exclaimed, "That's wonderful. I want soup." Shen Jingyun interjected, "First, go wash up." "Got it," little Yaya pouted, secretly sticking her tongue out at Shen Jingyun. Zhou Yuqin couldn't help but smile. After washing up, the three of them gathered at the table to eat. "Daddy, what kind of dumpling is this? It's so delicious." Little Yaya bit into the dumpling's skin, savoring a bite with squinted eyes. "These are beef soup dumplings," Zhou Yuqin explained. "I want to eat this again tomorrow," little Yaya declared. Zhou Yuqin shook his head, saying, "You can't have them every day. Tomorrow morning, I'll prepare something else that's just as good as the beef soup dumplings." Little Yaya's face lit up with anticipation at this promise. Shen Jingyun praised, "Yuchen, your culinary skills are truly impressive. If you opened a breakfast shop, you would undoubtedly earn a fortune." Zhou Yuqin replied, "You've already mentioned opening a shop several times yesterday. Quickly, it's time to eat. You still have to go to work." Shen Jingyun bestowed a broad smile upon Zhou Yuqin, then devoured a whole basket of beef soup dumplings and savored 2 bowls of wincy tofu soup, thus shattering her long-standing breakfast record. There was no denying it. Zhou Yuqin's culinary creations were so delectable that even the most esteemed chefs from 5-star hotels would pale in comparison. Anyone would succumb to their allure. After finishing her meal, Shen Jingyun addressed Chen Haoyu, saying, "I shall take my leave now. Please see Xiaoya to school." Zhou Yuqin gave an affirmative hand gesture, assuring her, "Rest assured." Xiaoya chimed in, "Goodbye, mommy." "Goodbye, my darling," Shen Jingyun said, planting a kiss on the little girl's cheek before grabbing her bag, changing her shoes, and hastily departing. Zhou Yuqin noticed that Shen Jingyun's bag appeared somewhat worn, and he mentally noted it. 10 minutes later, having completed breakfast with Xiaoya, Zhou Yuqin promptly headed to Yunhai Talent Kindergarten. Due to heavy traffic, the brief 10-kilometer journey took nearly half an hour. Particularly near the kindergarten, vehicles were completely immobilized. Zhou Yuqin had no choice but to park at the roadside, carrying Xiaoya for over 100 meters before finally entering the school. Under Xiaoya's guidance, they arrived at the entrance of classroom 6. A fashionable woman in her 20s stood there, warmly welcoming the children. Zhou Yuqin had heard Shen Jingyun mention that this striking lady was Xiaoya's homeroom teacher, Miao Yulan, who had often shown care for both mother and daughter. Once, during a heavy downpour, Shen Jingyun had arrived over an hour late due to work commitments, and Miao Yulan had waited with Xiaoya in the classroom, demonstrating exceptional dedication. "Xiaoya, who is this?" Miao Yulan inquired with a smile. Xiaoya proudly replied, "Teacher Miao, this is my daddy." Zhou Yuqin extended his hand, saying, "Hello, Teacher Miao. I am Zhou Yuqin, Xiaoya's father." Miao Yulan hesitated slightly, recalling previous encounters with unscrupulous parents who had attempted to exploit such situations, but ultimately shook Zhou Yuqin's hand, saying, "Hello, Mr. Zhou." Zhou Yuqin had no intention of taking advantage and withdrew his hand gently, expressing gratitude. "Thank you for taking care of them these past few months. I am back working in Yunhai now, and I will be responsible for picking Xiaoya up from school on time in the future." Miao Yulan replied. "Xiaoya's mother works hard while also caring for her child. It is indeed a tough task. Your return to Yunhai is truly beneficial for her." Zhou Yuqin nodded, "Indeed. Teacher Miao, I have your number. I will send you a text shortly to share my mobile number. Please feel free to contact me directly if there are any issues regarding the child." Miao Yulan agreed. "All right." Zhou Yuqin affectionately ruffled Xiaoya's hair, saying, "Go on, sweetheart." Xiaoya replied with a soft shouldering her little backpack as she entered the classroom. Zhou Yuqin nodded at Miao Yulan and turned to exit. Nearby, several parents, having overheard the exchange between Zhou Yuqin and Miao Yulan, began to murmur amongst themselves. "Is he the husband of that most beautiful mother? He doesn't seem particularly impressive." As the saying goes, a good woman marries an ugly man. It holds true in this case. That is not entirely fair. Xiaoya's father may look ordinary, but he possesses a commendable physique and demeanor. I believe a man's appearance, physique, and charm are not paramount. What truly matters is his financial capability. Yes, Zhou Yuqin is dressed quite plainly. He must be a loser. Have you not noticed the most significant issue? Shen Jingyun's daughter carries her mother's surname, not her father's. Oh my, could this Zhou be a son-in-law? Given Shen Jingyun's exceptional beauty, she was quite renowned among the parents in Xiaoya's class. Nearly all were aware of her. Many affluent male parents, eager for a glimpse of Shen Jingyun, willingly undertook the responsibility of transporting children. Initially, everyone assumed Shen Jingyun was a single mother. But the sudden emergence of Zhou Yuqin surprised them, inevitably giving rise to whispers and speculation. Miao Yulan disapproved of the parents' gossiping, but felt powerless to intervene, opting to feign ignorance. In truth, she was somewhat intrigued by Zhou Yuchen. Shen Jingyun's beauty and grace were such that even Miao Yulan, herself a beauty, found herself envious. It was astonishing that such a flawless and stunning woman had married a seemingly ordinary man like Zhou Yuchen, which left Miao Yulan quite astonished. She was eager to discover what exceptional qualities Zhou Yuchen possessed to have won Shen Jingyun's affection. Had Miao Yulan known that Zhou Yuchen was merely an unemployed drifter with a criminal past, her astonishment would likely have morphed into sheer shock. Chapter 26. A rival weighing over 200 pounds. Hey, Yuchen, have you seen the news? Last night, crude oil prices plummeted by over 20%. What is going on with you? As Zhou Yuchen stepped out of the school gates, he received a call from Wang Jie. It was evident that he had seen the news about the sudden drop in oil futures and was concerned. Don't worry, Jie Ge, I'm fine. Cut the nonsense. I've seen online reports that most domestic investors in oil are trapped, with at least half facing liquidation. Brother, money can be lost, but life is irreplaceable. You mustn't do anything rash. Zhou Yuchen felt both touched and amused, replying, Jie Ge, I'm not lying to you. Recently, I went long on crude oil and made several million. Just yesterday, I shorted it, and now I've made quite a bit more. I expect to exit the oil futures by tomorrow, and I'll definitely treat you to a lavish meal. Wang Jie, hearing this, exclaimed excitedly, Wow, you're incredible. Be honest, how much are you making this time? Did you use leverage? Zhou Yuchen chuckled. Using leverage is a given. I should have made enough to purchase the current flat I'm renting. How much is your flat worth? Wang Jie inquired. 45 million. I've already paid the deposit. After a prolonged silence, Wang Jie finally cursed. Zhou Yuchen, you rascal. You must treat us. Zhou Yuchen laughed. Of course, that essay must. Jie Ge, let me share another piece of news. The Taiji visualization method announced on the forum last night is genuine. Wang Jie gasped. You successfully entered a meditative state. Zhou Yuchen affirmed. I meditated for an hour, and upon awakening, I felt revitalized and full of energy. Since 2 a.m. today, I have not felt the slightest bit of fatigue, and my mind is exceptionally clear, with thoughts sharper than usual. Wang Jie envied. My dad was right. You are a martial arts prodigy. Not only do you grasp Xingyi quickly, but you can also master such an esoteric visualization method with ease. It's simply astounding. Yuchen, you're not going to develop a spiritual essence and ascend, are you? Zhou Yuchen chuckled. What spiritual essence? What ascension? Jie Ge, have you read too many fantasy novels? Essentially, this Taiji visualization method is merely a technique to induce deep sleep, enhancing mental acuity and energy levels. It's not of much use beyond that. Wang Jie remarked. Achieving that alone is quite remarkable. I must practice it well tonight. Zhou Yuchen replied, I wish you success. Wang Jie's phone call seemed to be the prelude. And soon after, Wu Xiongfeng, Zhang Xiao, and Zhang Hao successively called to inquire about the matters concerning crude oil futures. In order to reassure these three investors, Zhou Yuchen provided detailed explanations. Understanding that the validity of the scroll was limited to 1 month, Zhou Yuchen wasted no time. After purchasing some groceries on the way home, he immediately began his studies. The realm of hacking is immensely vast and extraordinarily challenging. Without the comprehension scroll and at least 6 months of dedication, it would likely be impossible for Zhou Yuchen to master it. However, now he merely needed to finish reading the book, and with his near photographic memory and extraordinary comprehension skills, he could easily grasp the material. Aside from a lunch break, Zhou Yuchen devoted nearly all his time to studying. By mid-afternoon, he finally completed the art of hacking. Rubbing his slightly throbbing head, he felt a profound sense of accomplishment. Upon checking his attributes, he discovered that his hacking skills had reached an impressive 85 proficiency, an increase of 5% since the morning. One should not underestimate this 5% improvement. As one progresses in any skill, making advancements becomes increasingly arduous, especially when transitioning from 99 proficiency to mastery, which is a formidable challenge. What Zhou Yuchen needed to do now was to maintain a calm demeanor and await the day when everything would fall into place. Xiaoya finished school at 4:30 p.m. And after a brief wash, Zhou Yuchen headed to the school. By this time, a considerable number of parents had gathered at the school gate. Exiting his vehicle, Zhou Yuchen took out his phone to check the news. Brother Sure, Miss Shin may not come to pick up the child this afternoon. Your roses might have been in vain, remarked a slender man to a rotund individual beside him. The latter, Shi Kailang, was the president of Kailang Clothing Company, worth billions. His son, Shi Feng, was in the same class as Xiaoya. Shi Kailang was a widower. His wife had tragically passed away during childbirth, just last month. While picking up his child from school, he had fortuitously encountered Shen Jingyun and was instantly captivated by her beauty. After some investigation, upon learning that she was a single mother, he immediately launched an aggressive courtship. Today, He had purchased 999 roses, intending to openly pursue Shin Jingyun in front of all the parents. Even if she did not acquiesce, it mattered not. Sure, Kailang believed that sincerity would eventually win her heart. The slender man was Zheng Qian, another parent from class 6. Earlier that morning, he had chanced upon Zhou Yuchen and, upon discovering that he was the father of Shun Jingyun's daughter, had made a mental note of him. How do you know Miss Shin isn't coming? Sure, Kailang inquired, puzzled. Zheng Qian gestured toward Zhou Yuchen, stating, Brother Sure, do you see that man? He is Zhou Yuchen, the father of Shin Xinyue. Sure, Kailang's expression shifted. Isn't Shin Jingyun a single mother? How suddenly is there a husband? Zheng Qian explained. A child's father does not equate to a husband. Haven't you investigated? Shin Jingyun is unmarried. However, given the current situation, your prospects seem rather grim. The saying the early bird catches the worm applies. With a daughter between them, Zhou Yuchen holds a significant advantage over you. What does he do? Sure, Kailang asked. Zheng Qian shrugged. Judging by his attire and the vehicle he drives, his circumstances appear rather modest. Sure, Kailang scrutinized Zhou Yuchen, disdain evident on his face. His outfit likely costs less than 200 yuan, and that van looks like it's been around for years. It wouldn't fetch 1,000 yuan. No wonder Shin Jingyun hasn't married him. With conditions like these, no woman would choose him. Brother Sure. The pressing issue remains. What will you do now that Miss Shin isn't coming? Zheng Qian prompted. Sure, Kailang responded coldly, no matter. I will first gauge this Zhou Yuchen to see what sort of person he is. With that, he strode towards Zhou Yuchen, followed closely by Zheng Qian, who was eager to witness the unfolding drama. Are you Zhou Yuchen? A booming voice reached Zhou Yuchen's ears. He looked up to find a rotund man who appeared to be around his age, yet his size was at least double Zhou Yuchen's, likely weighing no less than 200 pounds. Who are you? Zhou Yuchen asked, sensing the arrogance emanating from the man, whose gaze held a condescending air. I am Sure Kailang, the president of Kailang Clothing Company. My son, Sure Fong, is in the same class as your daughter, and I share a good rapport with Jingyun. Oh, Zhou Yuchen replied, feigning nonchalance. Mr. Sure, do you know me? Of course. You are now quite the celebrity at the school. What do you mean? Jingyun is the most beautiful single mother in our class, if not the entire school. Countless individuals desire to pursue her. Now that you have suddenly appeared, naturally, everyone is paying attention. Zhou Yuchen finally understood. He was facing a rival. You must also be among those pursuing Jingyun, correct? A charming lady attracts noble suitors. As long as Jingyun remains unmarried, I have every right to pursue her. Am I correct, Mr. Zhou? There is no need for you to test the waters. Although we share a daughter, we are indeed not married. However, from what I know of Jingyun, she likely holds no interest in a man weighing over 200 pounds. Mr. Sure, I advise you to shed 40 kilograms of fat before formally pursuing Jingyun. The surrounding parents erupted in laughter at Zhou Yuchen's remark. Sure, Kailang felt his pride wounded and, filled with rage, retorted, I'm merely a bit overweight, unlike you, who drives a dilapidated van and wears shabby clothes. Daring to pursue Jingyun, you are akin to a toad wishing to eat swan meat. In disputes, the true measure of skill lies not in eloquence, but in emotional steadiness. The one who falters first in composure loses their edge. Sure, Kailang's fury led Zhou Yuchen to assess his fighting spirit as lacking. Mr. Sure, you may have forgotten that I share a daughter with Jingyun, thus the toad aspiring to eat swan meat is certainly not me. At this juncture, Zhou Yuchen paused, regarding Sure Kailang with a peculiar gaze before jesting. Before me stands a toad far fatter than a pig. Not only would he be unable to eat swan meat, but he likely can't even leap. The laughter grew even louder. In his previous life, Zhou Yuchen was a tech enthusiast with mediocre verbal skills. Even after becoming a CEO, he hadn't improved much. However, in this world, he was a seasoned debater, his words razor sharp. Sure Kailang, merely a privileged heir with a mind full of empty boasts, had only ascended to the presidency of the clothing company due to his father's unfortunate accident that left him in a vegetative state. Otherwise, he would have needed at least another 20 years to reach such a position. Zheng Qian, unable to contain himself, interjected, Mr. Zhou, I heard your daughter's surname is Shun. You aren't the son-in-law of the Shin family, are you? Zhou Yuchen shot him a glance, retorting, is your hearing impaired? I have not even married Jingyun, so how can I be considered a son-in-law? Even if we were to marry in the future, the name and surname of our child would have nothing to do with you. By the way, who are you? Zheng Qian replied, I am Zheng Qian. Our 3 children are in the same class. Zhou Yuchen responded with an O, saying, so you are Mr. Zheng. My apologies, I thought you were Mr. Sure's subordinate. Upon seeing his elder brother falter, the younger one barked a few times to express loyalty. Little did they know, they were all parents. What does it mean to bark a few times? Isn't that clearly insulting Zheng Qian by calling him a dog? The onlookers exchanged knowing smiles. Zheng Qian's face darkened as he said, Mr. Zhou, Don't you think your words are a bit excessive? Zhou Yuchen replied, Mr. Zhang, some hats are best not worn. If the children were to discover that their father is akin to a dog beside a classmate's father, what do you think they would think? One may lack wealth and power, but one must never lack dignity and pride. Zhang Qian, furious, pointed at Zhou Yuchen and shouted, Who are you calling a dog? Zhou Yuchen feigned confusion, asking innocently, Did I say that about you? A parent in the crowd shouted, Did you step on his tail? Can he not be upset? Laughter erupted among the crowd. Just then, the school bell rang. The gatekeeper opened the door, and parents rushed in to pick up their children. Seizing the moment while those around had dispersed, Shi Kailing approached Zhou Yuchen, threatening, Kid, do you know what it means for trouble to come from your mouth? Zhou Yuchen chuckled, then quickly resumed a serious demeanor, his eyes flashing with a coldness more frigid than Siberian winds, and said, Shi Kailing, bring forth any means you wish. Do not hesitate. Furthermore, the name Jingyun is not yours to utter. If I hear it again, I will cut out your tongue. With that, Zhou Yuchen patted Shi Kailing's plump face and shot Zheng Qian a glare before heading towards the school. Shi Kailing was taken aback by the murderous aura emanating from Zhou Yuchen, feeling as though he had plunged into an icy abyss. Zheng Qian felt similarly. Zhou Yuchen's glare had sent chills down his spine, as though he were prey under the gaze of a predator. After a considerable time, the two regained their composure. Zheng Qian, still shaken, remarked, Brother Shi, that Zhou Yuchen's gaze is rather terrifying. I feel as if he has killed before. Shi Kailing nodded in agreement, saying, I share that sentiment. I will have someone investigate his background in the coming days. We are porcelain. There's no need to clash with a hardened stone. Zheng Qian concurred. In reality, Zhou Yuchen had merely employed a technique from traditional martial arts, known as the gaze technique. This technique possesses no substantial power but relies on an intense stare to intimidate the opponent. It proves ineffective against resolute individuals, yet can instill profound fear and unease in those like Shi Kailing and Zheng Qian, whose resolve is weak. For some naturally timid and cowardly individuals, such intimidation could even be fatal, a phenomenon not unheard of during the Republican era. Meanwhile, Zhou Yuchen entered the campus and dialed Xin Jingyun, inquiring about Shi Kailing. After much contemplation, Xin Jingyun could not recall the name. It was only when Zhou Yuchen described the man as a heavy-set individual with a son named Shi Fang that she recognized him, admitting she indeed knew Shi Kailing, though their relationship was far from that of even ordinary friends. Indeed, Xin Jingyun could hardly remember his name, so how could there be any connection? Shi Kailing's repeated mentions of Jingyun had been mere bluster. Zhou Yuchen arrived at the classroom door and waved to his daughter, Xiaoya. She immediately dashed out, exclaiming joyfully, Daddy, you came so early. Zhou Yuchen greeted Miao Yulan, then lifted Xiaoya into his arms, saying, I have been waiting outside for quite a while. If the school had not been closed, I would have entered earlier. Xiaoya planted a kiss on Zhou Yuchen's cheek, cheerily declaring, Daddy is the best daddy in the world. Zhou Yuchen replied, That is only natural. The father and daughter shared a laugh. Chapter 28. A vast chasm upon exiting the teaching building. Zhou Yuchen unexpectedly encountered Shi Kailing and Zheng Qian. He halted, once more employing the gaze technique. Shi Kailing and Zheng Qian felt as if Zhou Yuchen's gaze was akin to the edge of a blade, causing them to instinctively avert their eyes. Humph! As he brushed past them, Zhou Yuchen let out a cold snort. The sound reverberated like thunder in their ears, startling them into a shudder, prompting them to hasten their pace. Zhou Yuchen's actions were deliberate, aimed at intimidating them to prevent any future trouble. His greatest regret had been choosing Xingyi Quan as his initial skill, which had cost him 4 years, yet now he recognized its undeniable utility. Upon returning home, Zhou Yuchen instructed Xiaoya to play with her flower fairy toys in the bedroom while he busied himself in the kitchen preparing dinner. As he arranged 4 dishes and a soup on the table, Xin Jingyun returned from work. Upon hearing the commotion, Xiaoya dashed out from the bedroom, showering Xin Jingyun with affection. Zhou Yuchen remarked, Ladies, dinner is ready. You may wash your hands and eat. Xin Jingyun glanced at the spread on the table and asked, You want to be making dinner for us every afternoon, will you? Zhou Yuchen replied, Why not? Xiaoya and I arrive home at 5, while you come home at 6. The hour in between is just right for cooking. Xin Jingyun countered, But that would be too much trouble for you. Zhou Yuchen waved his hand dismissively, saying, It's just a meal. It's no trouble at all. Xiaoya chimed in, Mommy, I really like what Daddy makes. Xin Jingyun retorted, What do you mean? Are you implying that my cooking is inferior? Xiaoya pondered for a moment and admitted, It seems that Daddy's cooking is indeed better. Xin Jingyun was left speechless. After dinner, Xin Jingyun voluntarily washed the dishes and tidied the kitchen. Zhou Yuchen understood her intent and offered only a few polite remarks before allowing her to proceed. Once she finished in the kitchen, the 3 of them took Xiaoya downstairs to play on the slide. Taking advantage of Xiaoya's absence, Xin Jingyun inquired about Shi Kailing. Zhou Yuchen recounted the entire encounter, to which Shun Jingyun responded, Yuchen, I'm truly sorry for the trouble my issue has caused you. Zhou Yuchen reassured her. It's nothing to worry about. If anyone is to blame, it is your beauty. As the ancients said, a graceful lady is a gentleman's desire. You, however, have transformed into a fairy. It is only natural that you attract admirers. Shun Jingyun playfully asked, would you pursue me then? Without a moment's hesitation, Zhou Yuchen replied, no. Shun Jingyun was taken aback and pressed. Why not? Zhou Yuchen responded, before I answer that, you must first answer me a question. If one day we fell in love, would you be willing to sever ties with your father to marry me? Shun Jingyun, somewhat displeased, said, I do not understand your meaning. Zhou Yuchen spoke solemnly. Generally, when a man assesses a woman, he considers 4 aspects: appearance, figure, demeanor, and character. With your looks, Shun Jingyun, you score a perfect 100 in the first 3 aspects. As for your character, if I were to describe it in a few words, it would be gentle yet strong, graceful and poised, truly embodying the essence of an exemplary wife and mother. It is difficult for any man who interacts with you, myself included, to resist your charm. Upon hearing this, Shun Jingyun couldn't help but chuckle, remarking, you always appear so calm and composed. I didn't realize you had such a talent for flattery. But how does this relate to my question? Zhou Yuchen replied with a wry smile. I mention this to convey that my lack of pursuit is not due to your inadequacies, but rather the stark disparity in our statuses. Do not forget, you are the daughter of the vice mayor and chief of police of Yanhai City, while I am merely a former convict. Should you marry me, your father would instantly become the laughingstock of the political and law enforcement circles in Yanhai, unless you are willing to sever your father-daughter relationship. Shun Jingyun was taken aback, her body trembling, and her expression shifting dramatically. Zhou Yuchen's words struck her like a heavy blow, leaving her feeling profoundly uncomfortable. After spending some time together, she had acknowledged a budding affection for Zhou Yuchen, and she sensed that he harbored feelings for her as well. However, she had never delved deeply into the implications of their situation until this moment, realizing the immense chasm they needed to bridge. Is there no other way? Shun Jingyun's question hung in the air, but she soon sensed something amiss and quickly glanced at Zhou Yuchen. Indeed, he was regarding her with a teasing expression. Flustered, she hastily explained, do not misunderstand. I merely asked out of curiosity. Zhou Yuchen reassured her, rest assured, I am self-aware. To resolve our predicament, I must first clear my name, ensuring that my criminal record is expunged. Secondly, I need to achieve entrepreneurial success and become a renowned young businessman. By that time, people will perceive this as an inspiring story, and it will not cast any negative shadows. Shun Jingyun replied, but that is quite challenging. I do not believe so. Zhou Yuchen countered confidently, raising an eyebrow. When I was released from prison 4 years ago, I had not a single penny to my name. I traversed from Yanhai City to Sucheng in just a day and night. Compared to that, what are these current challenges? With a chuckle, he recited a famous verse from his previous life. The snow and wind pressed upon me for 4 to 5 years. Yet I laugh as if the wind is light and the snow is like cotton. No one supports my aspirations, yet I tread through the snow to the mountain peak. The unwavering spirit and ambitious zeal expressed in those lines left Shun Jingyun in awe. Observing her astonishment, Zhou Yuchen extended 3 fingers and declared, Jingyun, I need 3 years to resolve these 2 issues. If, by then, you have yet to find your other half, I hope you will grant me the opportunity to pursue you. Unable to withstand Zhou Yuchen's piercing gaze, Shun Jingyun turned her head elsewhere. After a moment, she said, I will seriously consider it. This response was undoubtedly an affirmation. Zhou Yuchen chuckled, very well. Little Yaya had played on the slide until she was drenched in sweat. Concerned she might catch a cold, Shun Jingyun decided to take her home. As they departed, little Yaya turned back repeatedly, her pitiful expression tugging at Zhou Yuchen's heartstrings. Chapter 29. The hacker duel. With an hour until the opening of crude oil futures, Zhou Yuchen opened his computer and began browsing the news. Soon, a particular piece of information caught his attention. The virtual currency Turcoin, after experiencing a 6-month surge, suddenly plummeted, dropping from 620 to 151 in just 12 hours. Experts suggested that the abandonment of Turcoin might foreshadow the failure of virtual currency issuance. Having traversed this world for 4 years, Zhou Yuchen encountered news about virtual currency for the first time and promptly gathered information on Turcoin. He discovered that this currency emerged 2 years prior, akin to Bitcoin from his previous life, initially valued at mere cents before skyrocketing to hundreds of dollars. The difference lay in Turcoin's larger supply and its rapid explosion in value. At its peak, it surged by 6,000% within 24 hours, equivalent to rising from $1 to 60. In comparison, this time it had merely dipped by 300%, which was hardly significant. Now, Zhou Yuchen contemplated whether to seize the opportunity to buy in during Turcoin's decline. It was important to note that approximately 800,000 Turcoins had been mined thus far. Based on the development trajectory of Bitcoin in his previous life and the current growth rate, it would take at least 2 more years to reach its peak, indicating vast potential. Even if he misjudged and Turcoin failed to achieve the same explosive success as Bitcoin, it would not matter much, as its current price was exceedingly low. Acquiring 10,000 coins would cost less than 10 million Xia yuan. Should he succeed, even if the price were merely half of Bitcoin's former value, it would be enough to elevate Zhou Yuqin to billionaire status. Having made up his mind, Zhou Yuqin entered the international Turcoin trading platform. The platform charged a staggering management fee of 5% per transaction, but its security was top-notch. After completing the registration, Zhou Yuqin linked his bank card and spent 9,800 yuan to purchase 10 Turcoins. With global players offloading Turcoins, acquiring them was relatively easy. However, all of Zhou Yuqin's funds were tied up in crude oil futures, leaving him with little capital for purchases. Fortunately, by around 2 a.m. the next day, crude oil futures were expected to reach 305 yuan per barrel. Once he sold the futures, Zhou Yuqin would instantly become a billionaire, making it effortless to acquire thousands of Turcoins. Taking a deep breath to calm his emotions, Zhou Yuqin picked up a book titled Program Attack Code from the shelf and began to study it earnestly. Every skill ultimately converges to a common path. This book contained at least 2/3 of the content similar to what he had read previously, and Zhou Yuqin finished it in just 3 hours. Yet his experience only increased by 1%. It appeared that he needed to apply theory to practice. Zhou Yuqin opened a webpage and entered the Xia Country Hacker Technology Forum. This forum was a gathering place for elite hackers, comprising fewer than 1,000 members, all of whom were highly skilled. With some free time, Zhou Yuqin often visited the forum and occasionally accepted tasks to identify system bugs. In less than 4 years, he had saved 400,000 primarily through this work. Upon entering the forum, he noticed a vibrant red banner indicating a post pinned by the forum administrator. The content was straightforward, calling on all top hackers within the forum to unite in an assault on the official website of the Eastern Japan government. 3 days prior, the official website of Xia Country had been attacked by dozens of hacker organizations from Eastern Japan. A fierce cyber battle ensued. Despite their desperate defense, they could not withstand the onslaught of the adversaries, resulting in a 5-minute shutdown of the government website. This was seen as a profound disgrace by domestic hacker elites, prompting the formation of an alliance of white hat hackers from Xia Country to jointly launch an attack on the Eastern Japan government's official website. After over 20 hours of intense conflict, the White Hat Alliance of Xia Nation still had not managed to breach the official website of the Eastern Archipelago. Zhou Yuqin, with a combined age of over 60 years across his past and present lives, had long since shed the impetuousness of youth. Yet, when faced with matters of national dignity, he resolutely joined the White Hat Alliance, typing code furiously to launch an attack on the Eastern Archipelago's official site. Zhou Yuqin possessed a remarkable hacking proficiency, rated at 86% mastery, placing him among the elite in the world. His involvement had an immediate impact. 2 hours later, Zhou Yuqin uncovered a minuscule vulnerability within the Eastern Archipelago's official website. In ordinary circumstances, this flaw would scarcely be of concern. If discovered, it could be easily patched. However, on a battlefield brimming with thousands of top-tier hackers, this seemingly trivial weakness transformed into a critical chink in the armor. Such a small flaw, no matter. Our numbers and strength will prevail. Let us wield our metaphorical hammer and widen this gap. Thus, Zhou Yuqin led the hackers of the White Hat Alliance in a fervent charge toward the vulnerability. The Eastern Archipelago's defenders reacted swiftly, rushing to rectify the breach. A fierce tug-of-war ensued for 2 hours, culminating in the White Hat Alliance finally overcoming the defenses of their adversaries, seizing control of their servers, and planting the flag of Xia Nation on the official website of the Eastern Archipelago. The forum erupted with jubilation. We have triumphed. Ha ha ha. Vengeance is ours. How exhilarating. I wonder if those from the Eastern Archipelago will dare to look down upon us again. Who is this master named Yuechen? To detect such a minute flaw is extraordinary. Our successful takeover of their server is chiefly due to Yuechen's efforts. I dare say, Yuechen's skills rank among the finest globally. We eagerly await your appearance in the forum. In an instant, the posts urging Yuechen to reveal himself amassed over 600 replies. The name Yuechen was a pseudonym adopted by Zhou Yuqin, combining characters from his name and that of Xiaoya. In response to the collective summons, Zhou Yuqin merely smiled faintly. Instead of appearing, he discreetly withdrew. Engaging in activities that target another server is best kept clandestine. Should it become widely known, the repercussions could be severe. Zhou Yuqin had no desire to attract the scrutiny of cyber regulators. Glancing at his attributes, he noted that his hacking skills had risen by 4%, reaching a mastery level of 90%. which delighted him. Seated cross-legged upon his bed, Zhou Yuqin practiced the Taiji visualization method, perhaps due to his excitement. He had previously entered a meditative state in just over 10 minutes. This time, it took him over half an hour. As the clock struck 3 in the morning, Zhou Yuqin gradually opened his eyes, his earlier fatigue swiftly dissipating, leaving him revitalized and brimming with vigor. He could not deny the effectiveness of the Taiji visualization method. With half an hour remaining before the closing of crude oil futures, he opened the Xiaotai futures trading platform, only to discover that his crude oil had been completely sold, with a substantial sum now reflected in his account. Haha, my first pot of gold has arrived. With a vigorous shake of his arm, a radiant smile spread across Zhou Yuqin's face. In total, he had short-sold 955 barrels of crude oil, earning 143 yuan per barrel, resulting in a staggering profit of 176.7 billion. After deducting the platform's fees, Zhou Yuqin was left with 15.2 billion yuan. Per their prior agreement, this sum included 10.5 million for Jiang Hao, 6 million for Wu Xiongfeng, and 2.4 million each for Wang Jie and Zhang Xia. Calculating the figures, Zhou Yuqin had turned his initial investment of 2 million into nearly 12.8 billion, instantly elevating him to the status of a billionaire. Without a moment's hesitation, Zhou Yuqin transferred a portion of his wealth to his bank account and then accessed the international Tether currency trading platform. In just a few hours, Tether had plummeted by over $20, now priced at $124, equivalent to 855 yuan. Zhou Yuqin deposited 10 million into his Tether account, intending to purchase Tether in its entirety. Alas, reality proved less favorable than his aspirations. Other investors were also keenly capitalizing on Tether's dip, with their purchase prices far exceeding 855 yuan. Rather than dismay, Zhou Yuqin felt a surge of encouragement. This indicated that many investors or institutions were optimistic about Tether's future. Otherwise, they would not engage in such a seemingly unwise investment. Determined, Zhou Yuqin set his purchase price at 900 yuan, the highest in the entire Tether market. Many investors speculated that Zhou Yuqin had mistakenly entered an incorrect figure, seizing the moment to rapidly liquidate their Tether holdings. Before long, Zhou Yuqin acquired 11,000 Tether, constituting 1/8 of the total supply. To avoid negatively impacting the market, he refrained from further purchases, understanding that the capital market is driven by profit motives. Many protagonists in online novels often depict characters who, with minimal investment, acquire vast quantities of virtual currency and amass immense wealth. However, such scenarios are implausible in reality. Financial institutions do not operate like altruistic benefactors. They would never labor to expand a market without holding virtual currency, as it equates to sewing garments for others. Having secured his Tether, Zhou Yuqin re-entered the Xi'an Nation Hackers Forum in search of tasks posted by various tech companies. Most tasks involved identifying vulnerabilities in their own products, with rewards ranging from several hundred to over 100,000 yuan, contingent upon one's skill level. To enhance his hacking abilities, Zhou Yuqin selected a particularly challenging task with a reward of 300,000 yuan. An hour later, he exploited a vulnerability in a script to successfully breach a tech company's server. He then sent an email detailing the flaw and the remedy, leaving his bank account number as well. At 5:30 a.m., Zhou Yuqin arrived at a small square to practice Xingyi Quan. He began with 30 minutes of the Santi posture before transitioning into his punches. His footwork was agile, and his movements powerful. Each strike produced a sound akin to rushing water, resonating with an imposing aura, punctuated by occasional explosive sounds in the air. As the saying goes, a sound is worth 1,000 gold. Zhou Yuqin's strikes produced not just singular sounds, but a continuous rhythm of forceful impacts. After completing the 5 elements fist of Xingyi, Zhou Yuqin shifted his form to practice the 12 shapes of Xingyi. This series imitates the postures of 12 different animals, simple to learn but difficult to master. Zhou Yuqin had only learned 3 forms. The remaining 9 were imparted to him by an all-encompassing nurturing system after he achieved mastery. In a mere 12 minutes, Zhou Yuqin embodied the soaring grace of the dragon, the ferocity of the tiger, the agility of the monkey, the precision of the swallow, and the cunning of the snake, occupying a 10-meter radius with his presence. Zhou Yuqin became increasingly exhilarated, completely oblivious to the fact that he was in a public space. When he finally ceased his practice, he was startled to find himself surrounded by over 10 elderly individuals, all gazing at him with expressions of astonishment. Goodness, I've made quite a scene. Zhou Yuqin felt a twinge of headache. A gentleman, who had exchanged a few words with Zhou Yuqin the previous morning, approached with a hearty laugh, giving him a thumbs up and saying, "Young man, your boxing skills are truly remarkable. If I'm not mistaken, you were practicing the 5 elements boxing and the 12 forms of Xingyi just now." Zhou Yuchen nodded in affirmation, replying, "Indeed. I am Zhou Yuchen. May I ask your name?" "I am Zhao Shenghua, but you may call me Old Zhao." Zhou Yuchen chuckled. "I think I'll stick with Zhao Laosher." "Haha. As you wish. Young Zhou, I've heard that traditional martial arts encompass 3 types of strength, Ming Jin, and Jin, and Hua Jin. In the past, I witnessed a master of Ming Jin perform, and at least one of his 3 punches produced a sound like an explosion. Yet, it seemed that every punch you threw just now cracked the air. Does this imply you have mastered in Jin?" "I have indeed mastered in Jin," Zhou Yuchen acknowledged, having reached an unparalleled level of Hua Jin after becoming a master of Xingyi. However, he preferred to keep such achievements modest and private. Zhao Xinghua's interest was piqued. "What is the utility of this in Jin?" Zhou Yuchen explained. "Ming Jin injures bones, while in Jin harms the internal organs. For instance, one can smash a watermelon with Ming Jin, but within Jin, the skin remains intact while the flesh is ruined. In essence, it is a subtle and insidious force, lacking in grandeur." An elder interjected, "Young Zhou, could you demonstrate for us old folks?" The others looked on with eager anticipation. Zhou Yuchen shrugged. "The essence of strength is intangible. I cannot exhibit it." Zhao Shenghua suggested, "Isn't it simple? Just use in Jin on a watermelon." A middle-aged man, who had just approached, raised his hand and called out, "I have a watermelon in my car. I'll fetch it right away." Without delay, he hurried off. Moments later, he returned, cradling a watermelon weighing about 10 pounds. He placed it on the ground and stepped back 3 paces, gesturing for Zhou Yuchen to proceed. All eyes turned to him. "All right, I'll give it a try." Zhou Yuchen picked up the watermelon, channeled his Jin, and lightly tapped it, saying, "Done." "What?" The crowd looked bewildered. Zhao Shenghua pointed at the watermelon and asked, "Is that it?" Zhou Yuchen nodded. "Yes, you may cut it open to see. I have a knife." The middle-aged man declared, clearly prepared, as he pulled a fruit knife from his pocket. Though short, it was sufficient. Zhao Shenghua took the knife from him, indicating for Zhou Yuchen to place the watermelon on the ground. With a decisive slice, Zhao Shenghua split the rind, and the watermelon exploded, its red flesh appearing as though it had been shredded. "My goodness! Incredible! Is this the power of Jin? Just a tap, and the flesh is in such disarray. I am truly impressed. Who says traditional martial arts are ineffective? They should have a match with young Zhou." The crowd buzzed with excitement. Zhao Shenghua looked at Zhou Yuchen with admiration, saying, "Young Zhou, you've truly opened our eyes today. Indeed, masters reside among the common folk." Zhou Yuchen replied modestly, "Zhao Laosher, you flatter me. It is merely a trivial skill." The middle-aged man squatted down to examine the watermelon closely, then stood up and asked, "Mr. Zhou, have you ever considered competing in a tournament?" Upon hearing this, Zhou Yuchen immediately waved his hand. "Not at all." The man produced a business card from his pocket. Introducing himself, "I am Min Jia, the deputy director of Yunhai television station. Recently, we have been hosting a martial arts tournament, inviting numerous masters to compete. But they failed to even surpass ordinary MMA fighters, disappointing countless viewers. Mr. Zhou, with your impressive skills and traditional martial arts background, would you not consider taking the stage to vindicate our traditional practices?" Zhao Shenghua cast a meaningful glance at Min Jia, but remained silent. Zhou Yuchen accepted the business card with a smile, stating, "Director Min, during the Republic of China era, traditional martial arts were referred to as guoshu. If I were to describe guoshu in one phrase, it would be to kill, not to perform. I have watched your station's martial arts championship. Your rules are overly restrictive for the sake of competitor safety. Key areas such as the eyes, throat, back of the head, heart, and groin are crucial targets for us. Yet you prohibit strikes to these zones. Frankly, such competitions are akin to childish play." Min Jia frowned. "Mr. Zhou, what you describe is killing, not competing." Zhou Yuchen shrugged. "Thus, experts in guoshu are fundamentally unsuitable for any combat competitions, as a single misstep could result in fatalities." After saying this, Zhou Yuchen picked up a stone from the ground, placed it in his palm, and began to rub it vigorously between his hands, transforming it into powder that flowed through his fingers. Witnessing this, everyone gasped in astonishment. The ability to grind a stone to dust with one's palms, what force would that unleash upon a person? As the demonstration concluded, Zhou Yuchen clapped his hands together. Addressing Min Jia, "I appreciate your kind intentions, but as for the tournament, I think I will pass. I have no desire to spend the next few decades in prison due to a miscalculation." Min Jia chuckled wryly. "Mr. Zhou, you are the most formidable martial artist I have ever encountered, bar none. Indeed, someone like you is not suited for competition." Zhao Shenghua remarked, "Young Zhou, I believe you should consider enlisting in the military." Zhou Yuchen sighed. "Let us not go there. I wouldn't even pass the political review, let alone serve. Besides, I am content with my life now and have no desire to leave my precious daughter." Zhao Xinghua's pupils constricted. "Have you ever been incarcerated?" Zhou Yuchen replied, "During college. I was framed by a wealthy heir and spent 10 months inside." "Curious. Zhao Shengguo inquired. What was the reason? Zhou Yuqin shrugged. To put it simply, I saved someone, only to be falsely accused of intentional harm. Zhao Shengguo frowned. Isn't that a classic case of ingratitude? Who was that person? How shameless. Zhou Yuqin paused. Zhao Laoshe. Do you truly believe me? Without hesitation, Zhao Shengguo affirmed. Yes, I do. So do I, another chimed in. The crowd echoed their trust in Zhou Yuqin. After all, given his skills, if he intended to harm someone, they wouldn't even have a chance to call the authorities. Zhou Yuqin felt deeply moved and clasped his fists, expressing, Thank you all, esteemed elders. It's getting late. I must return home to prepare breakfast for my little girl. We shall meet again tomorrow. Very well, until tomorrow, they replied in unison. Upon returning home, Zhou Yuqin quickly washed up and made his way to the kitchen to prepare pork and shrimp wontons. He first kneaded the dough and rolled it into square wrappers, then retrieved the pre-prepared pork, shrimp, and cabbage from the fridge, finally chopping them to create the filling. He mixed in eggs and soy sauce, ensuring it was well combined before wrapping the mixture in the wonton skins and placing them into boiling water. In order to preserve the authentic flavor of the filling, Zhou Yuqin refrained from adding any seasonings. 10 minutes later, the fragrant wontons emerged steaming hot. Zhou Yuqin poured them into an insulated container and hurried towards Shun Jingyun's home. Today, little Ye had risen quite early as Zhou Yuqin entered the house. She had just finished her morning routine. Daddy, what delicious food have you prepared for me today? Little Ye asked, her eyes sparkling with anticipation as she gazed at the insulated container in Zhou Yuqin's hands. It's pork and shrimp wontons. Do you like them? Zhou Yuqin replied. After a moment of contemplation, Ye responded, If they taste good, I will like them. If they don't, I won't. Zhou Yuqin burst into hearty laughter, exclaiming, What a clever little girl. The wontons, meticulously crafted by the world's finest chef, were indeed a culinary delight. As Shun Jingyun and little Ye savored their meal, they showered it with praises. After breakfast, Shun Jingyun headed off to work, while Zhou Yuqin took little Ye to school. Once he dropped her off at kindergarten, Zhou Yuqin proceeded to the Summer Country Commercial Bank, where he transferred 5 million and 6 million to Wu Xiongfeng and Wang Jia's accounts, respectively. When they had lent him the money, no formal promissory note was made, and out of gratitude, Zhou Yuqin generously offered them a 10% return. Upon receiving the bank notifications, both men promptly called Zhou Yuqin. Upon learning that Zhou Yuqin had made a profit of 100 million, they accepted the money and lavished him with compliments. Shortly thereafter, Zhang Xia arrived at the bank accompanied by the elderly gentleman from last time. In no time, both parties signed the purchase agreement, and Zhou Yuqin transferred the remaining 44.7 million to the gentleman's account. With the financial matters resolved, the three of them proceeded to the Yunhai City Housing Management Bureau to handle the property transfer. Zhang Xia, leveraging her connections, managed to finalize the transfer in less than 20 minutes. Chapter 32. A profound profit of 100 million after bidding farewell to the elderly gentleman. Zhou Yuqin gazed at the property certificate in his hands and remarked with a smile, After more than 4 years, I can finally call myself a homeowner. Zhang Xia retorted, This property is worth as much as 10 ordinary people's homes. Zhou Yuqin, I am particularly curious about how much you actually earned this time. Zhou Yuqin held up a finger and replied, Not much, just a single figure. Zhang Xia covered her mouth, her face a portrait of disbelief as she exclaimed, Goodness, you managed to earn 100 million in less than 2 weeks? That's incredible. Since handing over 2 million to Zhou Yuqin, Zhang Xia had been closely monitoring crude oil futures. When oil prices plummeted unexpectedly, she was engulfed in panic. It was only after discovering that Zhou Yuqin had taken a short position that she was able to relax. Upon receiving a call from Zhou Yuqin that morning, Zhang Xia had been speculating about the profits he had garnered from the crude oil futures. She believed that earning 50 to 60 million would be truly remarkable. Little did she expect that he had actually made 100 million. Zhou Yuqin shook his head, saying, If I were truly skilled, I wouldn't have sold at the price of 305 yuan. Zhang Xia paused, confused, and asked, What do you mean? Zhou Yuqin explained, I just checked the current oil price. It's 295 yuan per barrel. In other words, in just a few hours, I missed out on over 10 million. Zhang Xia replied, That's sheer greed. Although I don't usually engage in futures or stocks, I've heard that one should not be overly ambitious. That it's better to secure profits. Zhou Yuqin nodded, acknowledging, You are correct. Let us head back to the bank so we can settle the accounts. As for the brokerage fee, let it go, he suggested. Absolutely not. The fee is what it is. If you want to accept the brokerage fee, I want to give you a single cent of this too. For million, Zhang Xia insisted. Zhou Yuqin was well aware that Zhang Xia was merely being polite. After all, the property cost 45 million, and even 1% of the brokerage fee would amount to 450,000, surpassing what he had earned her. If you don't pay me, how will I survive? He joked. Fine then, our standard brokerage fee is 3%, but I'll charge you only 1%, which is 450,000. Agreed. In no time, they returned to the Summer Country Commercial Bank. Zhou Yuqin transferred 3 million to Zhang Xia's account and simultaneously issued an anonymous check for 5 million. Zhou Yuqin, your arithmetic skills must have been honed by a physical education teacher, Zhang Xia remarked. It's 85 million, not 3 million. Zhou Yuqin chuckled. That's the brokerage fee. I'm giving you 2%. I can't let my old classmate suffer. Zhang Xia was taken aback and blurted out something that left Zhou Yuqin both amused and bewildered. You're not trying to pursue me, are you? Zhou Yuqin rolled his eyes and replied resignedly. My daughter is already over 3 years old. Wait, you're married? Zhang Xia exclaimed in surprise. Zhou Yuqin clarified. Having a daughter and being married are two different matters. Zhang Xia raised her thumb in admiration, saying, impressive. I want to be polite then. To be honest, I was just planning to buy a house with my boyfriend. Your 130,000 has solved my immediate dilemma. Thank you, old classmate. Shall I treat you to a meal? Perhaps another day. I still have debts to settle, Zhou Yuqin replied. Be careful. Those in the loan business are not to be trifled with, Zhang Xia cautioned. Zhou Yuqin reassured her with a smile, rest assured. After Zhang Xia departed, Zhou Yuqin took the check to find Jiang Hao, returning to the same Muay Thai gym as before. Jiang Hao had been waiting there for him. Upon seeing Zhou Yuqin, Jiang Hao greeted him with a smile. Brother, you must have made quite a fortune. Zhou Yuqin nodded, just enough to buy a house. Here's 5 million. Jiang Hao took the check, glanced at it to confirm its validity, and returned the promissory note to Zhou Yuqin. A 10-day return of 5% is practically usury. Brother, if there are future opportunities for profit, don't forget about me. I can still manage to come up with 20 to 30 million, Jiang Hao said. Jiang Hao, the financial market is fraught with uncertainties. No one can predict its twists and turns. If I hadn't acted swiftly and changed my course, I wouldn't have just been repaying debts. I might have found myself on the rooftop last night, Zhou Yuqin responded. Jiang Hao seemed to resonate with his sentiments, saying, after hearing you were getting into crude oil futures, I've been keeping an eye on it too. Goodness, it's not something for the average person. The price fluctuations are immense, transitioning from a rise to a plummet in the blink of an eye, leaving investors with no time to react. It's far more ruthless than our loan sharking. Such is the nature of the financial market, Zhou Yuqin remarked. After a brief conversation, Zhou Yuqin took his leave. While maintaining a polite demeanor with the ostentatious underworld figure, he felt a sense of aversion within. Jiang Hao exuded an inexplicable air of superiority, speaking without boundaries and displaying a certain audacity. As the saying goes, one can glean the whole from a fragment. His reckless style in business could lead to disastrous consequences. Zhou Yuqin resolved to distance himself from Jiang Hao in order to avoid any potential entanglements. After grabbing a quick bite, Zhou Yuqin visited the Summer Country Bank and transferred 10 million to his mother, Su Xiaowan. Although Zhou Yuqin had not been in touch with his family over the years, he consistently sent money to his mother each month. Now that he had purchased a spacious flat and possessed several million in savings, he could be considered successful and felt it was time to return home. As for the changes in his character, Zhou Yuqin could attribute them to the trials and tribulations he had faced in society, which had tempered his once sunny disposition into one of greater composure. In a civil servant community in Zhenjiang, Su Xiaowan, who was washing dishes in the kitchen, heard a notification sound from outside and called out, Lao Zhou, could you check my text messages? It might be from the school. At the age of 48, Su Xiaowan, a Chinese language teacher at Zhenjiang Primary School and the mother of Zhou Yuqin, possessed an enduring beauty, radiating a mature and gentle aura. She and Zhou Qingjian, her husband and a college classmate, had been together since their freshman year. Had it not been for this bond, Zhou Qingjian, who was of average looks and abilities, might not have had the fortune of marrying someone as beautiful as her. Unfortunately, Zhou Yuqin had inherited more of his father's traits. Had he taken after his mother even slightly, he would undoubtedly be an exceptionally handsome young man. Got it, Zhou Qingjian said, placing down his newspaper and glancing at Su Xiaowan's phone. It's not from the school. Oh my heavens, how much is this? Su Xiaowan rushed out of the kitchen and inquired, what money? Zhou Qingjian looked up at her, his eyes filled with astonishment. 10 million. Just now, a message from the bank indicated that someone transferred 10 million to your account. Impossible, Su Xiaowan exclaimed, swiftly snatching the phone from him. Her heart racing as she stared at the 8 zeros on the screen, utterly bewildered. Lao Zhou, could this be a bank error? Did you not see? It's a transfer. He replied. It means someone's account number is similar to yours, and they made a mistake while inputting it. The likelihood of a bank making such an error is far less than that of winning the lottery. They exchanged glances, both falling into a contemplative silence. After a moment, Su Xiaowan pondered aloud. Could it be Xiao Chun? But how could he have so much money? Zhou Qingjian lit a cigarette and replied somberly. That rascal has been out of prison for over 4 years, neither returning home nor contacting us. If it weren't for the money he sends to your account every month, I would think he had perished. Su Xiaowan shot him a glance. You know how proud he is. He is just like you in that regard. Zhou Qingjian exhaled a puff of smoke and declared, this matter must be clarified. We should go to the bank and explain that someone mistakenly transferred 10 million to your account. If it truly was an error, we will return the money. If it is indeed from that rascal, at least we can ascertain his whereabouts. Su Xiaowan nodded affirmatively. All right, let us go. They changed their clothes and were about to leave when Su Xiaowan's phone rang with an unfamiliar number. Hello, this is Su Xiaowan. Who is this? There was a moment of silence on the other end. A premonition stirred within her, and she excitedly exclaimed, is that you, Xiaochun? Mama, Zhou Yuchen. Sitting in a van, called out with difficulty, his eyes turning red as tears streamed down his face. After 5 years, including his time in prison, he had not heard his mother's voice. The pent-up longing of 5 years shattered Zhou Yuchen's emotional defenses, causing him to sob uncontrollably. Xiaochun, you finally reached out to me. Su Xiaowan wept, her hand trembling as she held the phone. Zhou Qingjian leaned in, equally overwhelmed with emotion. After a while, Zhou Yuchen steadied himself and asked, Mom, how have you and Dad been all these years? How is Xiaoqing? Su Xiaowan took a deep breath and responded, your father and I are well. Xiaoqing was admitted to Qingjiang University 2 years ago, ranking 11th in the province. Xiaochun, where have you been all this time? Why haven't you come home? I went to work in Sioux City after my release, Zhou Yuchen replied. Recently, I returned to Yunhai to start investing. Mom, I don't have the face to see you and Dad. Zhou Qingjian abruptly snatched the phone from Su Xiaowan. What do you mean you don't have the face to see us? Have you done something shameful? Dad, I don't want you to be embarrassed because of me. Zhou Yuchen replied. Zhou Qingjian insisted, it's clear to anyone that there were issues with that situation back then. You are not to blame. You just made a poor choice in a woman driven by greed. Thankfully, her true colors were revealed early on. Otherwise, marrying her and having children would have been a real disaster. By the way, do you still send money to your mother every month? Yes, Zhou Yuchen confirmed. At least you have some conscience, Zhou Qingjian remarked. But what is this about 10 million? I made some money from investments and transferred 10 million to you. Zhou Yuchen explained. Some money? Zhou Qingjian pressed. How much is some? About 120 million, Zhou Yuchen replied. Zhou Qingjian's expression changed, and he said sternly, don't treat your mother and me like fools. What kind of investment yields 120 million? Where did your principal come from? Xiaochun, let me tell you, your mother and I have always stood by you, regardless of the court's verdict. But if you engage in illegal activities for money, that would truly disgrace our family. At Zhou Qingjian's words, Su Xiaowan, unable to contain herself, exclaimed, you be quiet. Our son has finally called, and what are you doing? I'm just worried he might be heading down the wrong path, Zhou Qingjian retorted. Zhou Yuchen chuckled lightly. Dad, rest assured, this is all clean money. I've been trading in crude oil futures lately. As for the principal, I borrowed over 10 million from a few friends, using 10 times leverage, which is how I made over 100 million in profits. Think about it. If this money were dirty, I would only give you cash, not risk a bank transfer. That would be courting disaster. Zhou Qingjian raised an eyebrow. That makes sense. Step aside, Su Xiaowan said, reclaiming the phone and pushing Zhou Qingjian aside. Xiaochun, since you're back in Yunhai, does that mean you plan to develop your career there? Exactly, Zhou Yuchen affirmed. Su Xiaowan continued, the housing prices in Yunhai are exorbitant. I'll return the 10 million this afternoon, use it to buy a house, and settle down. Zhou Yuchen laughed. Mom, don't worry about it. I've already bought a house. This money is for you and Dad to enjoy. You shouldn't go to work anymore. You can retire early and travel whenever you please. It's time for me to repay your kindness. If you wish to show us your gratitude, then return home as soon as possible, Su Xiaowan urged. Zhou Yuchen pondered for a moment and replied, Mom, I can come back next Saturday or Sunday. However, there is something I need to inform you and Dad about in advance. What is it? Su Xiaowan asked. Gritting his teeth, Zhou Yuchen said, you have a granddaughter who is already over 3 years old. What? Su Xiaowan gasped in shock. Zhou Qingjian was equally stunned. After a long pause, Su Xiaowan regained her composure and asked, Xiaochun, are you married? Zhou Yuchen forced a smile. No, I only found out recently. He briefly recounted his situation with Shun Jingyun, and upon hearing this, Su Xiaowan inquired, what are your plans? Jingyun is a wonderful girl. Once my career is established, I will pursue her earnestly, Zhou Yuchen stated. Su Xiaowan furrowed her brow. Aren't you already a billionaire? Isn't that a successful career? Jingyun's father is Shun Qinggang, the deputy mayor of Yunhai and the director of public security. I bet him that within 6 months, I would amass a fortune of 10 billion. When the time comes, he will no longer oppose Xiaoya changing her surname to Zhou. As for Jingyun and me, we shall take it one step at a time. Zhou Qingjian, and Su Xiaowan exchanged a glance, both revealing expressions of concern. Shen Qinggang, the chief of police, holds a position of great power. While Zhou Yuqing has a criminal record, if the roles were reversed, they too would not consent to their daughter marrying Zhou Yuqing. Moreover, the Shen and Zhou families are not well matched. To marry Shen Jingyun, Zhou Yuqing undoubtedly faces numerous obstacles. Su Xiaowan remarked, 10 billion in 6 months? How is that possible? Zhou Yuqing confidently replied, without any capital, I earned over 100 million in less than half a month. Now that I have capital, 10 billion in 6 months is surely achievable. Su Xiaowan conceded, that is indeed the case. When can I meet my granddaughter? Zhou Yuqing pondered for a moment and said, I will have a good talk with Jingyun and bring Xiaoya home next week. Jingyun is a reasonable woman. She should agree. Su Xiaowan exclaimed with joy, that's wonderful. Zhou Qingjian leaned closer to the phone and said, when the time comes, please bring Zhou Qing along as well. She is in her 2nd year at Qingjiang University, majoring in computer science. Zhou Yuqing replied, all right, please provide me with Zhou Qing's phone number, and I will visit her tomorrow. Chapter 34. Purchasing a luxury car. The three conversed for over half an hour before reluctantly ending the call. Su Xiaowan sat on the sofa, covering her face as she wept uncontrollably. For years, she had been consumed with worry and longing for Zhou Yuqing. At last, the clouds parted, revealing the moon. Not only would she see her long-missed son, but she would also meet her granddaughter for the first time, which brought Su Xiaowan to tears of joy. Thankfully, her health was good, free from heart issues. Otherwise, her excitement might have triggered a heart attack. In stark contrast, Zhou Qingjian wore a broad smile and said, you, crying when you couldn't see your son, and now that you can, you're still crying. I am at a loss for words. Su Xiaowan retorted, do you think everyone is as heartless as you? When our son returns, if you dare to scold him, I will stand against you. Zhou Qingjian assured her, that will certainly not happen. I must behave well to leave a good impression on my granddaughter. Su Xiaowan huffed and shot him an exaggerated eye roll. The successful investment in crude oil futures brought joy not only to Zhou Yuqing, but also to Zhuang Wenbin, a junior leader at Xiaotai Financial Company. Upon confirming that Zhou Yuqing had indeed set the selling price at 305 yuan, Zhuang Wenbin took a bold gamble, liquidating all his funds to short-sell crude oil with 10 times leverage. For 3 days, he struggled to eat or sleep. Now that the results were in, Zhuang Wenbin not only avoided losses, but gained over 2 million. In a phone call, he continuously expressed his gratitude to Zhou Yuqing. Zhou Yuqing said, Zhuang, please don't mention it. I have one question that intrigues me. We barely know each other, having exchanged only 2 phone calls. Why do you trust me so much? If my judgment were incorrect, you would be facing ruin. Zhuang Wenbin chuckled. During this crude oil futures surge, those who could resist greed and sell their positions were less than 1 in 1,000. The number who transitioned from long to short positions is even more rare. Perhaps it was your performance that astounded me. Zhou Yuqing feigned a sigh. Unfortunately, I am still too conservative. Zhuang Wenbin replied, that is your strength. Mr. Zhou, I have already categorized you as a 3A client at Xiaotai Financial Company. Should you uncover any investment opportunities in the financial market in the future, simply give me a call, and I can approve leverage of up to 30 times. Utilizing his authority at Xiaotai Financial Company to repay Zhou Yuqing's kindness, Zhuang Wenbin's plan was undoubtedly astute. For Zhou Yuqing, this benefit was one he would gladly accept. As Xiaotai Financial Company is one of the largest brokerages in the nation, capable of offering exceptionally high leverage in both the futures and stock markets. Should he have another opportunity to obtain predictive insights, 30 times leverage would enable the capital-deficient Zhou Yuqing to reap substantial rewards. After ending the call, Zhou Yuqing took a taxi to Yunhai Auto City. Next week, he would be heading home and needed to purchase a luxury car to make a statement. Without hesitation, he chose the Mercedes-Benz dealership. In his previous life, after achieving entrepreneurial success, he had purchased 6 cars, with the last being a Mercedes Maybach. He had driven it for less than a week before his untimely demise. Thus, his visit to buy a Maybach could be seen as a continuation of that legacy. In many online novels, protagonists often face disdain from salespeople at car dealerships, only to turn the tables dramatically. However, in reality, most salespeople at dealerships maintain a commendable level of service, particularly those representing top-tier brands like Mercedes. Upon entering, Zhou Yuqing was warmly greeted by a beautiful female salesperson. Hello, sir. I am Huang Jejia, and it is a pleasure to assist you. Her smile exuded warmth and comfort. Zhou Yuqing scanned the area and directly inquired, do you have any Maybachs? Huang Jejia's eyes lit up, and her smile widened. Yes, we do. Please follow me. Soon, Zhou Yuqing followed her to the Maybach display area at the far east. There, more than 10 various models of Maybachs stood elegantly. Sir, are you interested in a sedan or an SUV? The S680 sedan. Hearing that Zhou Yuqing desired the most expensive Maybach model, Huang Jejia fresh to the job for less than a month, nearly fainted with excitement. We have three S680s in stock, black, white, and silver. If you prefer another color, we can expedite shipping from abroad. Huang Jejia pointed towards the three Maybach S680s ahead. Zhou Yuqing's gaze settled on the black vehicle. Its elongated body and dignified, majestic appearance captivated him. Upon opening the door and stepping inside, he noted the luxurious and opulent interior, crafted from only the finest materials, devoid of any unpleasant odors. The design was exquisite, with meticulous attention to detail and comfort. May I take it for a test drive? Zhou Yuqing asked, thoroughly pleased with the Maybach. Of course. Huang Jejia was about to agree when suddenly recalling something. She paused and said, I apologize. I need to call my supervisor. Zhou Yuqing smiled. Go ahead. Huang Jejia made a call, and in less than a minute, a plump woman in her 30s hurried over. Upon seeing Zhou Yuqing standing by the car, a fleeting look of disappointment crossed her eyes, but her smile remained radiant. Sir, I am Zhang Yaxin, the sales manager of this dealership. It is an honor to assist you. Are you interested in test driving this Maybach S680? Zhou Yuqing glanced at her, then at Huang Jejia, saying, Ms. Zhang, you aren't here to steal the sale, are you? Zhang Yaxin paused. You misunderstand. I would never compete with Jejia for a sale. In truth, Zhang Yaxin had indeed come to claim the sale, as the Maybach had always been her exclusive domain, a fact not lost on the seasoned staff, but overlooked by the newcomer. Huang Jejia. Although Zhou Yuqing was unfamiliar with Huang Jejia, he could not bear to witness a young girl being bullied before him, as long as it was not a matter of snatching orders. Ms. Zhang, may I take the car for a test drive? Is that acceptable? Zhou Yuqing inquired. Zhang Yaxin replied, Sir, the price of this Maybach is approximately 3.5 million. Are you certain you wish to test it? Zhou Yuqing furrowed his brows. His cold gaze fixed on Zhang Yaxin as he retorted, Are you worried that I cannot afford it, or that I might damage your vehicle? Zhang Yaxin felt a pang of anxiety under his scrutiny and quickly clarified, That is certainly not my intention. Zhou Yuqing's expression softened slightly. As long as that is the case, may I proceed with the test drive? Zhang Yaxin nodded, yes. Jejia, please attend to this gentleman well. Of course, Sister Zhang. Huang Jejia responded. Watching the two depart, Zhang Yaxin exhaled a sigh of relief, contemplating the sharpness of Zhou Yuqing's gaze. On the road, Huang Jejia expressed her gratitude. Thank you, sir, for your help just now. Although her time in sales had been short, she could discern the nuances of the situation. It was evident that Zhou Yuqing had just aided her in securing her interests. Otherwise, Zhang Yaxin might have intercepted the deal. Zhou Yuqing waved his hand dismissively. I am not a saint, but I also do not wish to see unpleasantness unfold around me. You should be cautious in the future to avoid being undermined. Huang Jejia nodded, I understand. Chapter 35, Changes among old classmates arriving at the test drive area. Zhou Yuqing maneuvered the Maybach for several laps. The vehicle exhibited remarkable comfort and handling. Upon exiting the car, a voice of surprise suddenly reached his ears. Are you Zhou Yuqing? Turning, Zhou Yuqing beheld a tall, handsome young man in his 20s, possessing striking features and an extraordinary demeanor. Beside him stood a woman of similar age, her figure alluring, clad in a miniskirt that revealed her fair thighs. While her beauty was not quite on par with Shin Jingyun, she would still score a respectable 80 points. However, her allure likely surpassed that of the conservatively dressed Shin Jingyun in terms of attracting attention. Are you Go Wenguang? After a moment of recollection, Zhou Yuqing finally recalled the name of the individual before him. During their university days, Go Wenguang had been an exceptionally diligent student, with the top 2 ranks in examinations consistently occupied by Zhou Yuqing and him. However, Zhou Yuqing's scores were invariably above 98, rendering Go Wenguang's achievements less remarkable by comparison. Zhou Yuqing had difficulty recalling Go Wenguang primarily because he had never regarded him with much significance. Go Wenguang raised an eyebrow, indeed. Zhou Yuqing, have you always been in Yanhai? I just returned a week ago, Zhou Yuqing replied. Wenguang, why don't you introduce me to this handsome fellow? The woman beside him, intrigued by Zhou Yuqing's test drive of the Maybach, inquired. Go Wenguang introduced. This is Zhou Yuqing, my university classmate. Zhou Yuqing, this is my girlfriend Zhao Xiangshan, a graduate student in finance at Qinjiang University. Zhou Yuqing? Zhao Xiangshan exclaimed in surprise. Is he the super scholar you mentioned, who was expelled from Yunhai University for assault? Go Wenguang quickly interjected. Shanshan, please refrain from speaking carelessly. Zhou Yuqing, I apologize. Shanshan is quite forthright and means no offense. Zhou Yuqing, noticing Go Wenguang's suppressed anxiety, replied coolly, I have indeed served time. There is no shame in disclosing that. I have matters to attend to, so I shall not impede your test drive. As he turned to leave, Go Wenguang grasped his arm. Zhou Yuqing, don't go. It's been a while since we last met. I have much to discuss with you. Zhou Yuqing halted, stating, perhaps another time. I genuinely lack the time now. Go and Guang maintained a smile. Just a brief conversation. It won't hinder